0.77.
Yeah.
That is higher than the second place multiplier, and for good reason. They won 5 out of their 8 group stages, went perfect yesterday. These are the favorites, and Enigma, when you have the onus and responsibility of being the favorite, sometimes it's hard to execute. This team made it look easy.
They did, and I think, again, it just becomes terrifying to look at when you consider, you know, okay, we thought, oh, maybe we've got a different conversation here because they struggled in solos and a little bit slow coming into group stages, and then they take that break midway between games in day one, and then they all of a sudden come back and have just figured out the recipe for success, and it just sums up who they are. If there is a slight weakness to their game at all, they snuff it out. They find the root cause, they assess that situation, then they execute the perfect remedy, and it's just terrifying for everyone else on the map because as soon as you think you have them against the wall, as soon as you think you have them cornered, they come out and put 4 maps together.
Yeah, and frankly, we talked a little bit about them being a point sponge.
Yeah.
I mean, teams like Omit, literally the threshold team, 14th place on our leaderboard. They came in at much lower than the threshold we assumed because this team soaked up all the points, but they made it here. I saw on Twitter they may have changed up their strategy a little bit, maybe looking to get Teenix maybe a bit more in the mix. Dan, I want you to talk to me about this squad and what they could bring to the table.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of teams kind of learned over the course of yesterday that maybe this sort of play style of having 2 Slayers and 1 Anchor is a little bit outdated because some of our top teams, what they're doing, they're rolling as a death ball. They are just racking through the lobby. I had a chance to kind of talk with some of the gaming gladiators. Unfortunately, one of our teams sent home, and they said, yeah, it took us until our last 2 maps to realize we just needed to all stack together. And so I have to imagine this Omit squad, they were one of those teams, we saw Tenix a lot, sitting in a lighthouse trying to snipe while the 2 other players kind of roam around the map. I think they're going to play together. They're getting aggressive. Tenix, I know he loves bringing something new to the meta, loves bringing something fresh. Maybe we can see that here today on the map.
It's grand finals, high risk, high reward. Yeah. You gotta do it. Teenix had 11 kills through 8 games. Yes, an Anchor, yes, a roll. That's just frankly not enough. Same with that Vitality squad, 13 kills for their Anchor, which was Stevo. So watch out for those 2 teams to shift things up. But speaking of a team that was doing very well, at least by 1 player, we gotta talk about the X Factors playing today. Dongi and Knight. Enigma, start with that Dongi team.
Well, one of the terrifying things about this SGP Syndicate is they actually agree around the theory of not playing together at all. They just allow Intex and Believe to sit as some sort of double anchor and send Dongi off to superstar the map. He just absolutely world stars this thing, drops 51 of the 100 kills that his side actually have. And for me, if they can just find a way of having Intex and Believe be those perfect anchors and see the end placings, I think that this side are a real dark horse to take everything today.
Man, this team has really come together. There were so many question marks around this Syndicate squad. I think even all of us in the talent booth were like, they're either going to be really hot or really cold.
Yes.
And it has all come together nearly entirely on the back, at least in the slaying department, of course, of Dongi. Truly an X Factor. Another big X Factor, another big question mark that also has paid off, Twisted Minds. Dan, talk to me about Knight and his ability to get kills on the map, but also stay alive for his team while Aiden and Z-Smith do their thing.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up because that's exactly what we think we're all thinking when you bring in Knight. But I think Aiden said it best when he says, we've won literally hundreds of thousands of dollars with Knight in Resurgence tournaments over the past of Call of Duty Warzone. So if you already have that team, Ken, bringing in somebody like Knight in an event as prestigious as this, that is exactly the right move you want to do. And I think he fits into their system well. You got Aiden and Z-Smith who are just pinging around the map. They're looking to be able to fly and fry, baby. And you got Knight who just says, hey, I'm going to stay alive, because if there's anybody in this lobby who knows this map like the back of their hand, it is Knight on your screen.
Yeah.
This guy does nothing. When I say this, I mean it. Nothing but play Resurgence. Okay? He just never touched a big map. He's never clicked a button in his life. He's only ever loaded in here. He knows every single pixel. And I got to imagine that is what puts them here in our 5th seed.
I think that is a very fair assessment. Frankly, brilliantly done. I'm really excited about this Twisted Mind squad. Obviously, 5th coming in from group stages, a really strong seed. They could have done a lot better, too. Had a couple chalk games. Same with Syndicate. Same with Guild. Talk to me quickly about Guild here. 7th seed coming in and had a couple bangers, and everything else was eh.
Yeah, that sums them up pretty much perfectly there. I mean, the thing is with this squad as well, it comes together. We mentioned the controversy a little bit around that, but it's like, okay, well, you've managed to get yourself through there in 7th. Wars, Vision, AJ. We thought the roles were going to be more around allowing AJ to go off and spring around the map. He was one of the big slayers last year in the World Series, stunned everyone on the world stage, and then comes here, okay, can you repeat that? Actually, it turns out that it's going to be Vision who's your big slayer. Picks up 41 kills out of the 88 for the team, and just showing every bit that he He is the player that we looked at last year when he was running with Jukis and Lennon. Unlucky to be dropped, and definitely the player that is popping off this year.
Guild looking strong, every team looking strong. Folks, quick math for you. Average score through 8 games, through group stages, 130 points. But if you take out the Falcons, 111. Woo! A lot of ground to make up. We are about to get into our very first map of Rebirth Island. The grand finals is here, gentlemen. I'm going to let you all take it away. Have a great cast and have some fun with it.
Hey, thank you so much, my man. Fantastic conversation at the top of this show. But like Gold said, STC Arena, let me hear you! It is match number 1 of Grand Finals of the Esports World Cup Call of Duty Warzone.
And we are not expecting it to start slowly. Every single day has gone quick, and Levi will fall, and Zix will be traded, and Limax finds another as Mood falls, and we are off to a banger here in map 1. Straight away, everyone contesting, but there's also going to be Team Destroy right around the corner.
I love this. We are kicking it off nice, hot, and spicy. I had a chance to interview Zeppa. He knew that this contest was going to happen between Na'Vi and Team Zix, but maybe you were not expecting Team Destroy to enter this mix, because look at this, Enigma. They've already gained control on top of that control center and are sitting here. You got Limax down below trying to stay alive, trying to play their life. And we got a note here. This is a kind of shift for Team Destroy. They're normally landing top prison. Hey, they come finals, they're bringing something a little different.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the things, right? If you've gone away and assessed who has actually made it on through, and you think, actually, we can smoke that squad, or you're just aware that control center's hotly contested and you intend to third party the situation, you can prosper. And that's exactly the theory that Team Destroy are coming in with. And JTech here on our screens just under a little bit of pressure. It's just the two of them still up for now as Tennox has fallen, still has 5 seconds on his resurgence time. Spaniards trying to apply pressure. You can see them trying to set up the kill box here, and JTech's lying in wait.
Pushes on out. Daga, you're trying to make something happen. A quick little dolphin dive gets out of harm's way, but look who's coming in from behind. It's Method 6. JTech, though, is able to make the trade, fly on through, and it looks like for now it's pretty solid until you have another team who's starting to fly on in. Look who it is, it's Fnatic.
It is, and they are ruthless. Hunt JTech down, and Skullface will clean him on up. Tennox has just got a float here. He's got 5 seconds until Elo's back in, and another 15 until his third returns. So Almond, Skullface, and Noobs will take control here momentarily of headquarters, but they will be contested because Twisted Minds are beginning to arrive.
I don't know what's going on in this area, but we are getting a lot of our top teams starting to fly on over. Aiden getting in some nice tags on the Almond. He's come up here to the top. You have to be careful because you got 2 members of Fnatic nearby. He's going to slide on in, though. He sees Noobs. Noobs tries to make his way out of the window, but you're not getting out in time. Aiden with the confirmation on the elimination. Twisted Minds. We know they love to kind of land over here at this factory location. They love to play harbor, but today looks like they're looking to expand their region of dominance as they've made their way up to headquarters to find some eliminations.
Well, someone who hasn't found any eliminations just yet is going to be Soka, but we're not very surprised because this is how this Falcon squad play. Put Soka over by the stronghold, let him provide all the information, and just send Shifty and Biffle on their way. And they want control center, and they're going to be up against a couple of players here from Team Zix, and as they just breach and clear, Shifty actually loses his life as Hamoud picks one up, but Biffle's on the hunt after this. He wants to trade out his teammate, he wants revenge, he lands a couple of bullets, but it's just not going to be enough. The chase is on.
Hamoud trying to do their best to stay out, but it is just so hard to get away from Biffle. Was regarded as the best Warzone player of all time. I think it's hard to disagree with that with the performance of late, especially with his 2 teammates. As well, we're getting close to the end of zone number 1, Enigma, and we already have 1 team out of the map, Team Izun.
Yeah, and looking at the rest of that list as well, there's a couple of walking wounded around here. This pace has been absolutely electric, and so have the crowd going nuts for their Falcons lineup and some of their home turf players. Na'Vi on our screens right now, and this is a side that keep getting themselves to that end game. They keep putting themselves in the correct position, but it's whether or not you could close that out. But a couple of players who haven't struggled closing a few things out, Oki, Wiz, Prodigy, they have been going nuts throughout groups.
We've seen, obviously, SGP kind of run this bio area before, but it looks like we're out of groups now, Enigma. We are into finals. It is a whole brand new group of teams that are playing different, and maybe they thought they had the opportunity to kind of hold down this area, but Abwiz not gonna let it happen. They are playing as a unit. They are playing together, maneuvering around the map. You can see they're split up a little bit, right? You have Oki and their teammate along here at this industry side. Last player over there at that ammo shack by the buy station. Either of them go on down, you're absolutely going to be able to get them back in the mix very quickly.
And it feels like We are quietening down for just a moment. Finally, a second to breathe. I say that. Skullface wants to get aggressive and find Climax and absolutely snaps. Finds him and cleans him on up. Just going to take a quick look at our kill leaders here. Fnatic leading the way on 8, but who's just behind them? It is, of course, the Falcons on 7.
Acá te eliminaron ya.
Yesterday, they said, you know, even if we land kind of that stronghold area, are there going to be even any teams near us to find those eliminations? Looks like they found them here today to start it. Almond from Fnatic has made their way up to the lighthouse. Team Destroy, though, over here in the living quarters, trying to make their way around. Potential for a little bit of engagement around some of the teams near them, because look, Twisted Minds, they're right below them. If you are able to look down at this building, you may be able to take them on out, but for now, the Twisted Minds kind of going on through, maybe deciding the next path.
And they love to play up through this factory harbor side to the Twisted Minds, but as they push on up, they're actually going to have company from Drake. And the thing is as well, Team Destroyer not far away, so they want to clean this up nice and quickly. You don't want to risk a third-party situation, but bullets to the side of Aiden means he has to slip on away, and Drake actually escapes just narrowly enough. So as Team Destroyer come to third part of this is going to get messy real quick, as Factory often does.
Yeah, so many levels in this building. It's kind of hard to figure out where you want to play. A nice suppression mine from Knight will hopefully give them maybe some info if somebody pushes down those stairs. But this is sort of a nice little area. Goji likes to use this word, and I'm going to steal it for now. It's a quagmire on the map. Okay. It's just this area of quicksand that it's so easy to get stuck in at Factory just due to all of the different nooks and crannies teams can kind of hide out in. So you have to kind of make this decision. Do we want to sit here? Do we want to try and take team fights? Or are we going to use this as a position that we can start moving around the map?
Team Destroy taking the top of Factory. And have a moment to breathe, but we know that Twisted Minds are right around the corner, potentially looking to play up through this. The thing is, the circle currently is so wide, it's impossible to assess anyone's situation, so the Falcons are just going to get aggressive. And Biffle will find Stuo, and Biffle snaps onto Patsuka. There's the first confirmed, there's the second, and his teammates are going to try and hunt down the third.
I mean, we saw C4s get touched a little bit ago, and you're seeing Thermites come into play. Biffle showing us exactly how you're supposed to use those. Catches 2 of them, cleans on up, and that is a full wipe for Vitality. Taken on out, and I'm also seeing Omit has exited the lobby as well. In our group stages yesterday, we were sometimes seeing all of the
team de Teno. Lo sacaron.
Lo eliminaron. That is not the case. Look at the flying on in. Destroy looking to be aggressive.
And that's going to be another team off the board.
Valieron ya.
Down 4 teams already out. You're completely correct.
Bien, por lo menos llegar a la final.
Throughout the other days, but I think that a couple of teams are feeling comfortable about themselves and are beginning to just get a little bit ruthless around the map. A squad that's actually got a bit of a quieter region of the map is going to be your team AbWiz. They're just going to tuck themselves on over towards Dock, lay low, and consider endgame rotations because the zone is pulling off towards this northeastern side.
Yeah, they're sitting on 5 eliminations currently. The Falcons still over here at Control Center on 12 right now, tied with SGP Syndicate for the top kills in the lobby as Shifty just hits some insane shots from across the map onto Hamoud. Looking down below here, can they manage to find any more? I'm looking at Twisted Minds and Destroy right now. I feel like every time we come back on over here, they're still at Factory, which is only the very edge still in zone. So I don't know what your kind of game plan here is as this gas is going to start encroaching.
Well, the thing is, one of them has got to engage the other quickly and get rid of them because whoever doesn't spot the opposing team is going to be in big trouble. You're likely going to get shots in the back. And the thing is, we also have Team Heretics not far away, and Team Fnatic are considering rotating off from headquarters towards Factory. So all of a sudden, this could turn into a 3-4 battle, and Na'Vi actually want a piece of it as well. We have 5 teams potentially squeezing all around that.
You can see on over to the Falcons. They're continuing to kind of make their way around the map on this left side. They could potentially get gate kept by AbWiz if they're not careful, though. So you kind of want to take a little bit of opportunity. Shifty will be able to hit this loadout, get his gun, start feeling a little bit confident. Has an idea that Oki's around here. Maybe flies down below. Can you find the shots? You can. Oki getting taken out. Biffle there for the assist. Prodigy maybe can try and come on help out, but Oki will get full confirmed as the Falcons look to push on forward. You might be able to split them. You see Prodigy in the smoke. The shots from Biffle connect. The armor crack is there, but it's just not enough. They'll be able to get away just in time. Prodigy, on the other hand, has to make their way down to the tunnel. AbWiz have to make their way over to Industry. They are split right now, Enigma. The Falcons are looking to hunt.
One of the things we were asking about Team Abwiz is that you largely were avoiding the big sides early on in the game. How would you cope if Falcons decided to change their route and change their route they have? Instead of playing out through factory, they decided to push dock and industries, and they're on the hunt. And Hisoka will find Abwiz and actually going to interrogate as well to pour more salt into the wound. However, a huge circle pull up next, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be rotating on off towards Harbor, and we are not very far away from seeing a lot more of these sides bleed on down. Resurgence is, of course, closed at this point, so every death here is like a dagger to the heart.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we are going to start seeing just the game kind of come to a crawl. Everybody wanting to get, of course, those very, very solid placement points. You can see the crowd, they're excited. They want to see some of these teams finish up towards the end, especially if you are Team Zix, your Team Falcons. You're feeling good about this team. We can see Crims in the kill feed going big, but on your screen it's Twisted Minds, who is starting to eliminate Na'Vi. Interrogation will come on in, give them the information they need on where potentially the rest of that squad is.
Well, there's not much left of them, to be honest. They've been absolutely run on over. We're going to get a look on over Chem, and we have our Team Falcons beginning to assess the next rotation towards Harbor, where we have 2 or 3 different sides all set up. But let's actually flick back towards Prism, because Fnatic have a lot of company. It's actually going to be Gil. Skullface will find the knock. It's actually Crims as well coming on in. This is Team Zix. It's a 3-team party, and Skullface wants all of it. Skullface actually going to be backed on off, so can Allman provide a little bit of coverage? He's trying to finish off Crims as well. That is finally confirmed, but how do you play this out from here? Because you've just lost your teammate. There is no resurgence. You need to play yourself a safe position, and I really agree with this top Prism play.
I definitely agree with that. Fnatic making the right call after losing Skullface on the outside. They take the top of Prison. You have 2 members of Team Zix below them. You can see Hamoud and Zix a little bit split, trying to figure out where do they want to play on this side, but you got Fnatic above them, looking to also try and make some moves. But SGP Syndicate, Enigma, they're also laying in wait. If any of these Prison teams move too quickly, you can absolutely get caught in the crossfire. And look who has an angle on Fnatic. It is Hisoka looking down at past teammates, Noobs and Almond.
The thing is here as well, as you just said, so many teams have got to rotate now. We've just spotted that there are so many squads outside of the zone. Soka doesn't get the confirm, by the way, but then Biffle will finally get that finish onto Noobs. So you are down to 1 player if you are that Fnatic side, looking a little bit rough. Soka just continues to ring out those car 98k shots. C4 goes out. He doesn't have the range on Hamoud, and everywhere else those rotating teams are getting cut to bits, and bye-bye Team Zix. Soka's got his 5th.
We are so close to getting into our top 5, but look at the kill feed right now. Team Destroy getting wiped off the map by the Twisted Minds. Well, I don't know if it matters, Enigma. Hisoka, Car 98 in hand. He is literally just shooting fish in a barrel right now, as he has entire vision of the rest of this zone. And look where the zone is pulling. It is all in the favor of Team Falcons.
It is indeed. It moves on up towards Water Tower. So how does everyone else assess? There aren't many trios left in this. Heretics have their 3, Falcons and Twisted Minds, and just 1 player left from Team Abwiz. And Biffle is on 10 kills, already 22 for the Falcons as they continue to just run wild here at the Esports World Cup.
1.4x multiplier is in effect right now, folks. So this Falcons with the 22 eliminations is feeling good, but Twisted Minds, they're not too far behind with the 19, but Soka is going to be the one. He finds 2. Biffle starts flying on out. It is a flurry of eliminations, but I believe all 3 members of Falcons are potentially down. Can you go and clean them up? Z-Spit is taken on out. Knight, you're the only one left alive. Hisoka has been able to manage to stay up, makes their wrap back into chemistry. 2 members from Twisted Minds still out here. Knight does find Camps, brings them on down. Top 3 situation.
How is Soka still alive? Backs on off, trying to use the Spaniards as bait for the Twisted Minds lineup. And Methods and Dark are just going to get real close on top of this water tower and try and look on out over. Soka has to move because otherwise the gas will bring him down. Again, just trying to play his life. Has the 7, wants the next placing at least, and is begging the other 2 teams to engage each other.
Yeah, Hisoka just wants to hang her, but look at this. The Heretics, they're shooting down at Hisoka. That is going to give Twisted Minds all of the information they need. They know where Hisoka is. They know where Heretics are. They don't really have to do anything, but the zone is going to start shrinking. Hisoka trying to maybe loot some of these extra caches around here. Maybe you can find a loose gas mask. Has started trying to make his wrap out through Generator. You're seeing some loose shots coming on in, but he hits the buy station to get the revive off. keeping the team alive, it's going to be Shifty. Heretics look to the sky. Maybe you can bring them on down, but that's 2 players going on down in. This is all on to Shifty right now. He has to 2v1 against Z-Spit and Knight. They know exactly where he is. They take it on down. Twisted Mind.
Damn, Aidan, el team de Aidan. Diablo, clochete. Durísimo.
They waited. They assessed. They gained the information. They let everything else unfold out in front of them and then activated at the right moment to clean up the Spaniards, to see things on through. But actually, the play from Hisoka to wrap into the gas will get you that second place for the Falcons and the extra 0.3 on the multiplier of what was a game with over 20 kills. So although Twisted Minds take the victory, Team Falcons will definitely be walking away from that one very, very happy.
Well, it's actually Twisted Minds and Falcons had the exact same elimination. So that play is insane because Hisoka being able to buy Shifty on back, yeah, you get the 1.7, but Twisted Minds being able to clutch on up, 2 of them sitting below that water tower and being able to find Shifty as he flies on in. That will net them a
No sé qué carajo tiene el team de Falcon, cabrón, que siempre que rotan terminan casi en las mejores zonas. Es como si los cabrones tuviesen trampa de cómo se va a cerrar el mapa o qué sé yo, papi. Una leche cabrona. Las partidas anteriores también la misma mierda. Los cabrones le meten duro. El team de este cabrón le mete duro, duro. Dímelo, Jerome. Tivo. Brr. No sé, papi, porque el team de Hisoka está bien duro. El Team Falcon, el que tiene a Bifu, y a Hisoka, y creo que el otro es Shifty. Hey.
Congratulations, guys. Smith, I'll come to you first. Are we kind of starting to see the beginning of a bit of a hometown rivalry? We got Twisted Minds, we got Falcons. Like, what are you thinking?
I mean, it seems that way a little bit. I love it. I love the competition. I love the crowd going back. It's makes everything 10 times better out here.
It definitely does. It brings that energy, doesn't it, Aiden? Speaking of energy, you're the man that's full of beans all the time. How are you feeling right now? How did that game go? Talk us through those final moments.
I think the best way to, we're just playing confident, and I'm trying to just pretend I'm at home. We were all frying at the start of the game, and then these 2 just clutched up, man. Their chemistry was looking unmatched, so we're just going to keep
mano, el Team Falcon ayer ganó los 4 juegos, los cabrones. Se fueron invictos.
How's it going, man? Mr. Resurgence, how are you feeling? You know what? Speaking of how you guys are feeling, what were the nerves like coming into today? Were there any? What was the preparation like? Talk us through that.
We were so excited to have a clean slate. Priority yesterday was qualifying. Today we knew, like, all right, everyone's at the same position, so let's just come out and play the game we know how to play.
You definitely did that. Congratulations on the first win of the day. Hopefully there'll be more of those to come. We can't wait to see it. And for now, we're going to go back to the studio to continue our first day of the finals.
Ooh, there it is, the STC Arena getting loud. What an exciting game, number 1. Twisted Minds going big. You got the pin on, and I'll tell you what, that might be their lucky charm.
Telling you can't sleep on Twisted Minds. They got the fan base behind them as well in the crowd, rivaling those of the Falcons, and that end game was incredible from the side of Twisted Minds. They were struggling to find that high ground for the whole time. They had SGP above them, Guild were fighting against them, heading into that final circle. They had Heretics above them the whole time. Falcons and a barrage. What the heck was happening there?
That Falcons play, man, they're going for gold, right? They're going for everything. That barrage comes down one of the streaks. It was either a mortar, I think it was a mortar if I'm not mistaken, and it took down 2 of them.
Right. And I mean, 2 or 3, but somebody, you saw them taking the self-res, but Hisoka getting away. But
that's
credits to that, we had pointed out for Team Falcons, they switched up a little strategy, right? They were rotating towards the control side, which we even saw Team Heretics in that landing. But in these final zone moments, this was absolutely insane for Hisoka to get this res off right here. And I mean, with Z-Smith too, having to fight Heretics from atop, they were set up off the break, but like they said, they fragged out early, they were set up, but the whole entire time for Twisted Minds, they were sticking together.
But the fact that Hisoka gets his teammate back up in that moment.
I mean, how often do we see this? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I know the casters were talking about it, right? He's trying to pick up some money. He's trying to bring his teammate back in. There is no universe in which you actually expect him to sprint that deep into the gas to get to that buy station and bring his teammate back
one
in.
universe.
One universe.
Apparently so. Doctor Strange found the universe. That's the one we're in. Hisoka found him. He brought his teammate back in. And I'll tell you what, Falcons almost clutched that from the jaws of defeat, but they didn't make it happen.
And imagine if they did. But regardless, clutching or not taking game number 1, they still secure a second place because of that revive. They also get 22 plus eliminations around there anyways. Not official, of course, but I believe that's the number that I heard. I think at one point Biffle was on like 10, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember hearing 10.
Yeah, I heard 10 as well.
He single-handedly, because we were talking about that, we're like, whoa, Biffle's just roaming out here. Hisoka was obviously sniping in the distance, but he cleared out control. I think he destroyed Navi. He ended up destroying Heretics. Like, everybody was cleared out.
It's the whole thing from the two of, or from Falcons when we talked about it yesterday. Their whole pathing was from Stronghold in towards living quarters, maybe even trickling over towards the living quarters or headquarters.
Mira, dímelo, bestiólogo, que hay.
They see the plethora of teams just fighting in there, and they move over towards where it's not as bright.
Desde New York, activo.
And I do wonder whether that change in strategy somewhat is because they wanted to take Team Prodigy out of the play. Abwiz out of the play, right? Because we saw that massive fight from them between Falcons and Abwiz. They win that fight, despite the fact that Team Abwiz had the high ground in that situation. And they know that, again, Team Abwiz were a really high-level team during the group stage, so taking them out is super important.
Yeah, we did see that engagement between the first and the second place teams from group play. Hisoka was marking and finding out where everyone was, but that engagement was
Ese team de Bifo, Hisoka y Shifty, también pillo.
Where did he come from? He stayed alive because both Prodigy and Wiz had to disengage after Hisoka had marked them.
But I don't know if you caught that, by the way, in the replay. Shooting
Sí, papi.
bodies, right?
Los tres están rotísimos.
And you know what? That's Call of Duty.
Super rotos están.
The trash talk in, but they're backing it up, Simo.
It's just the whole thing that yesterday, you know, Falcons were
El Hisoka es el más roto de todo.
The fact that he's telling them, hey, it doesn't matter, we're still the #1 team over the #2 team. It's just the fact that Falcons just continue to dominate. And in this moment, Hisoka was an absolute
with the car,
force
with
to be
carry,
reckoned with.
Everything, yeah.
You had the car 98. I think Dan said a fish in a barrel. He just kept on raining hell on these players. And this right here, the Hisoka, just chipping away at Fnatic, making it so hard for them to stay alive.
And then you also had the double down too right after that with the barrage. And then all of a sudden we're like, where is Hisoka going? Well, now Shifty's airborne, and now you have top 2 for Biffle and Co. And man, making it happen for the Falcons. But again, Twisted Minds, when I saw Aiden off the rip, off the start of this game, and he was flying and frying, I knew Twisted Minds was in for a treat.
No, ayer estábamos partiendo, papi. Estábamos bien activos. De verdad que sí.
Top is going to be Twisted Minds. I thought Falcons would still be in first, but it seems like Twisted Minds have it. I'm ready to get game 2
Sí, Twisted Minds. Chacho, si hicieron más kill que ellos, que Team Falcon. Todito. Yo ninguno los he visto, pero yo he visto que así gente que dice, hacho, este tipo un duro. Yo he escuchado mucho de Biford, de Hisoka no tanto.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a case of can anyone keep up with the Falcons, because the problem is if they don't win, they still set a ridiculous pace, and it turns out Twisted Minds can do exactly that here in map 1. Still a long way to go yet, but there is that gap you're talking about, and if you're looking at that as the rest of these players, the rest of these teams on this very stage, you are a little bit worried that you've got to pick up the pace.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have banger games. That's kind of what we come down to. It's not going to be close. You're not going to get to the top by just barely edging out another team. You have to create a skill gap in the lobby compared to you and some of these rest of the squads. And that is exactly what Twisted Minds and the Falcons have been able to do. The thing that's scary to me, as much as we've talked about, you know, the Falcons and momentum and them getting hot, a lot of those same things can be said about this Twisted Minds teams. I know Aiden and Z-Smith, especially when they are feeling themselves, they will move around the map. We saw it day 1 in solos with Z-Smith, who everybody else has 4 or 5 kills on the map. We go over to Z-Smith, he has 11.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely cooking. And to be honest, again, was very unlucky not to find himself still up in the end game there. However, none of that matters. Into map 2. The teams fly
Lo que le está
on in
pasando
again.
mucho al
Well,
team
of
de
course, it
tenis
is
es
busy straight
que
away off the
Es que están jugando esto separado. Tienen que jugar juntos. Si tú miras a los otros teams, ellos juegan agajados del mango. Si él no juega así con los panas, si juegas así, los kills se hacen solitos. No tienen ni que estar puchando ni nada. Porque todo el tiempo puedes hacerte el party.
Very quickly, you could have one of these other teams like Falcons or Twisted Minds just collapse on you. The third party is a very real threat right now.
It is, indeed. You start to put yourself in a difficult spot, and honestly, I'm trying to think back. Is Living Quarters often hotly contested? I don't often feel so unless you begin to become worried about a team from Stronghold, and right now the only squad out there is going to be Falcons and Cams. Absolutely, Reed 6 has more confidence. Oh, nearly! Hamu just does enough to bring down the Spaniard, and that will be the saving graces there for Team Zix, because that looks like a very worrying situation. If he falls there, they're completely out of this.
Yeah, really
Casi
solid
los
timing
parta
there
los
from
dos.
Hamu to kind of fly on in.
Duro,
That was
duro.
almost becomes a 1v3 from Cams by themselves.
Papi,
And
mira,
if you would be Team Zix going out in fashion like that,
el
you
team
would
de
definitely
Aidan,
be feeling
papi,
a
está
little
partiendo.
dejected at that mark. But let's look on over. Team Vitality, a rough game number one for them. They need to kind of make something happen, but look who is nearby to them as well. It's fellow EU folks. It is, of course, Team Abwiz.
Yeah, and they're just playing around Industries here and continuing to be a thorn in that.
No sé si ustedes conocen el team este, al cabrón streamer este Joey. O Jowo.
Just let things slide and fires off some bullets. Moving on towards Guild, we know that they like to contest this prison. We know that they often end up in a fight with Team Izund. It's often back and forth, but right now it looks like the guys from Britain are coming out on top.
Sí, papi. Y todos juegan bien. Esta gente no son una chata.
When you got a Guild that's moving around prison like this, holding a couple different of the levels, it is no surprise that they are finding those eliminations. Back on the other side of the map, though, we have SGP Syndicate, who maybe might be taking this fight. Doggy flies around the corner. Patsuka will be able to find him. Stuo with the assist as well from up top. Will get taken on out as they fly on through. Believe is taken on down. We're starting to see some of these breacher drones maybe creating some space. Hopefully some self-revives go off. You can get the teammates back on up. That would be a huge ream to the other side of the map. We were starting to see Na'Vi go against.
Es que la idea de este juego es jugar así, para ganar. Tú juegas así, los streamers se encojonan. Te consigues para el streamer y tú juegas estaqueando, papi, y ellos se van a encojonar porque no van a poder. Pero es que esa es la idea del juego. La idea del juego es jugar así.
Dagger down into the ground. Method Sick also cleaned on up, so Cam's going to be by himself for a moment.
Oh, but Falcons on the other side of the map, starting to see Zizix and Hamoud taken on out, bringing them on down. The Falcons getting aggressive over on that side of the map. You have Omit, maybe a little of a lackluster game number one, trying to be able to kick-start the car here in game number two. Strongholds looking a little bit of alive here, as we do see Team Destroy, we're getting put in a little bit of a blender early on. Looks like Stronghold has been their POI to try and regain on, but I don't know if that's the best decision, Enigma, when Falcons are waiting nearby.
I mean, if I'm VOD reviewing my tournament and I'm thinking Stronghold as a landing place to recover against the Falcons, I've got a couple of questions about your decision making. But anyway, moving on over towards our Puerto Ricans, the surprise squad for me, who managed to get on through this Omit lineup, but they will not have been surprised in their own performances as they try and contest around this factory region, which will be quite busy, by the way. You've got Twisted Minds here, you've got the new Icons here, and a couple of players from the Heretics still lingering around.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, that Factory can kind of become this area that you can find a lot of teams trying to sit on, and it feels like Twisted Minds is really finding a lot of success moving back and forth from that POI. SGP Syndicate, though, we do see Donkey get taken on out, barely staying alive, and just at the last moment, Believe we'll be able to stick the res, but you have to do it quickly because Oki is nearby, looking to get a little bit of an aggressive take here, but it looks like a smoke will give them the space they need to wrap back on out. But on the outside, AB Wiz, they were trying to get active in that fight, but it seems like somebody is starting to bring it to them. Well, it's none other than Fnatic.
Papi, esa gente se mueve súper bien.
drops the PA on the roof, maybe to catch another player, but none of the members of Fnatic are up there. You just have Skullface down in the showers.
That might have been a bunker buster that comes on down, by the way, and it's going to be causing some grief for Fnatic because not only do you get the initial impact, but you get this gas as well that lingers around and causes all of the aerial denial. The thing is as well, with no friendly fire, apologies, coming into that, you can then push into it yourself. I'm surprised by the lack of aggression there out of Team Abwiz. I expected them to fly at that, but they're just going to let Fnatic escape for now. Fnatic runs into more trouble as he tries to put plates in and has company, and he's going to turn, and he's going to try and burn, and he finds one, but he gets landed on as well. There are multiple players here as Noobs tries to spring on over the top. King AJ's trying to provide the support, but he takes bullets in the back as well. Got to be careful because Wars is in a gunfight and Vision's out of here.
Skullface making the great escape, and Noobs coming down from the to assist.
Chacho, para poder llegar ahí nosotros tenemos que dejar de trabajar y dedicarse a esto todos los días, como esta gente.
To regroup as a squad and start to win that fight, and I think that's a perfect example of that. Skullface did such a good job of staying alive from these literally 2 or 3 different fights from different teams, and is able to play their life, not only play their life, find an elimination as well, and then create space for their squad over at Prison.
Indeed, but well, Levi just decides to punch on through Prison and find King AJ napping in a corner, apparently. Na'Vi looking to take control of the central landmark in the map. It looks like Dawn's actually going to push towards the west side, so maybe we're talking somewhere like a headquarters for the end of this, but Biffle will not lose that gunfight because, of course, he doesn't lose his ones. Cleans up, finds his 4th, and you're going to see Cam disappear off in the back there. Heretics in a spiral, and a squad that are definitely not of the Twisted Minds. All 3 players on board, and they have company in the new icons.
Yeah, currently sitting on 7. The Twisted Minds are off to a hot start here. You can see potentially could find these new icons. Aiden making the play up above, trying to get a little bit aggressive. Semtex go through the window. That could be a beautifully placed grenade. It is, brings them on down. Knight's there to help with the cleanup as they look to fly on forward, find the rest of the squad. Lukinos a little bit on the up. They got to be able to hear that, though. A little bit of a stair glitch coming in from Aiden as he tries to take the fight. Z-Smith's going to be the one to fly on forward, and it's inside. Knight finds Lukinos.
Aiden does so well there to play his life, by the way, because if he gets dragged on down early, perhaps over-challenging and then giving up one of his lives, then you end up in a situation where you're trying to recover. We know how busy this area can be, but instead he stays up, allows his teammates to push, they clear out the new icons, they continue to move. And Fnatic now on our screen, and we've spoken so much about how improved they look from the World Series after that boot camp in London, and just continuing to step on up here at the Esports World Cup. They have control center control. They also have a player over in headquarters, and Noobs is going to be trailing his way over there.
Currently tied, leading eliminations in the leaderboard with Twisted Minds and Falcons in this game. Baby. So this is a hot start if you are Fnatic. I know that they really wanted to come into this tournament, prove everyone wrong from their past performances. Map 2 could be where it starts to come on up, but meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Biffle does, and that is just absolutely slam you, buddy.
Absolutely world
no se queda solo, el team lo dejó solo.
He finds Tenix. By the way, talking about the kind of pace that these boys are putting on up, they have not slowed down. They still have Soka, by the way, sat in Stronghold, still playing that anchor, but Shifty and Biffle continuing to just roam around the map and tear everything to pieces. They want Factory next. There's going to be a couple of Twisted Minds players in the vicinity, and then some Omit players as well. But Fnatic are cleaning out the prison, and they find 2 players. A Guardian will slow them down momentarily, but Skullface is on the hunt, and that will be Guild out of here. They are cleaned out, and that will be
Skullface está dando.
Well, Guild, you might have been able to hold Prison at the start of the game, but it's Fnatic's playground now as they take down Guild at the top. You still have Team Zizix not too far away, so they can potentially find some even more eliminations. Looking down towards that factory where we see Twisted Minds.
De hecho, le metieron seco a Tenus otra vez.
Just yet again, living in his living quarters, making the POI have a namesake as he is just camping on out, finding the eliminations.
Papi, lo tienen de chata, Tenus.
Shifty with 2,600 damage, and we're only through basically half of the game.
Well, one of the things as well, they're not
just
living in the living quarters, they're also living in the minds of these Omit players because they just keep farming them every time they try and
todavía queda uno vivo del team del.
Not today, and clean them on up, and we will move into the Singapore Syndicate quiet thus far. Really saw a lot of plays out of Dongi through group stages. Your man on your screen right now, he was their star performer, he was their X Factor. Usually let off on a leash while the other
papi, ahí está, pero lo tienen de chata. Before lo tiene de chata.
Gotta be careful, and I actually agree with this decision.
Bueno, está muerto ahora mismo. El pana los tiene que comprar, me imagino.
Because I'm looking at how many kills they have, and it's look, they're sitting on 8, which maybe might feel good until you look at the rest of the leaderboard. We have 4 teams that are across the double-digit threshold. So
Ahí está el team. Hacho, pero es que el team de T no está, papi, donde está uno de los teams bien duros. Se jodió Shifty. Se jodió Shifty. Le dieron seco.
Thankfully, a little bit of a trade comes on through. Doggy is able to fly on in and finds Shifty. So that is one member of the Falcons taken on down, but they need to keep this aggression going because look,
Mira, ahí está Tenus. Tenus está ahí en Factory.
Already back on the mix, Shifty is.
Yeah, the Falcons have been having such a good game that the resurgence timer is so low, and even if you were struggling at all, you've got that buy station nearby in living quarters, so you just use the cash to bring your boy back on in. By the way, Fnatic here going to be contested by Vitality. Also likely have more company soon to arrive from prison. This is the central area of this current zone. It's not a bad position to be in. And Almond and Go, we know how good they've been throughout this tournament at taking a hold of the best rotational points on the map. Noobs trying to provide coverage, trying to provide some information.
Just trying to look on hang on out here. Fnatic currently sitting on 14 eliminations, only 1 behind the Falcons. A great little aerial view.
Cabrón, ves lo que te digo. Todos los círculos siempre, papi, cerca de Biffle y Soka, cabrón.
Basically into this edge of living quarters. You got one single buy station in the zone, so we could start seeing some hero plays of people trying to get their teammates back on in, similar to like what we saw in map number 1. But Fnatic, they're doing a great job of just gatekeeping this side of zone. These players coming outside of headquarters as Noobs is just laying down the damage with this Holger 26. Almond, you might be able to kind of fly on up and maybe find the final member of Vitality.
Yeah, that setup there, just Noobs looking to provide that coverage, saves Almond essentially from being pushed off this point, and which will provide you potentially a bit of safety into the next zone. I know that safety when Falcons exist within their Skullface will actually find Ziggs.
Tenu, papi, tiene un campeo exótico.
And as we get a look on out over things, it's going to be Team Ziggs pushing up against the Team Falcons. And we know that Almond was split off, so he's decided to regroup with his 2 teammates to try and play this on out together. They're going to try and make a rotation at some point. Hamoud just about survives by the skin of his teeth, and he's going to have to play on through this building. Fnatic all around him, a member of Vitality not very far away. The plates will go in, he has a second to breathe, and then he's got to fly.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot to try and play if you are Hamoud.
Lo mataron casi el team de Aiden completo.
They don't really need to get hyper aggressive. The smokes come on out, that will give them the wrap to push on in.
Está Tenus está.
Nearby alongside Intex and
Diablo, esta zona está fea, cabrón.
Maybe you found one. A little bit of a standoff between these 2 teams across the building. The remaining teams, as you can look at the mini-map here, everybody trying to vie for some sort of building, including Fnatic, who are just hanging out in headquarters right now. And that might be the play of them, because as this zone starts
yo creo que este va a ser de Biffle y Soka.
Yeah, the zone pull benefits Fnatic massively. We do have the Falcons trying to rotate, but just what you have here is Fnatic hoping to stay alive. Maybe some PDSs come on out, burn through those gases, use the stim, stay alive, give yourself the best positioning, and look at our Falcons trying to claim it as they move on up with the smoke coverage.
Falcons looking to rotate early. Omit not too far behind though, but you do have SGP Syndicate kind of playing from behind. So if you're not careful, you could start getting shot in your back as everybody is trying to vie for this headquarters. Falcons flying up through. Soka flies on in, finds all 3 members of Fnatic.
Dios, y Soka, papi.
Le dieron seco. He's not going to be able to find them as they are below. Hisoka fully eliminated. We know that this team likes to make gas plays, though. Will they be able to go back on in, find another buy to get their teammate in the mix? Fnatic doing a great job with their positioning. Looks like Doggy has been able to make their way to the roof, just kind of sitting there looking down below. He sees Omit, but no shots taken.
Biffle will take bullets though. He has 9, hoping for 10, but he's going to have to play his life. And actually Biffle and Shifty here are somehow finding a way onto the
Metieron seco a Tenu. Lo tienen de chata, papi, a Tenu.
Shifty's taking the top here. Dongy's cleaned on out, and we find Elolan picking up Skullface elsewhere, and this is down to our top 4
Sí, papi,
teams.
si no campean, no llegan lejos, no.
Did have all their players. They suddenly are struggling. Noobs falls. Almond manages to trade it on out. Almond trying to provide a little bit of coverage. Doesn't realize that J6 just around the corner, and that will finally be a mid wipe from the board here. But Biffle and Shifty are somehow in the best position in
Cabrón, vete pa'l
What is that
cara.
thermite? What is that throw? Top 3, here we go, baby.
Listen, I know Biffle might not look like the most muscular person, but he's got an arm on him. Fnatic, they
Papi.
opt to go to the low ground. Maybe can catch the Falcons, trying to push on out as the zone
Ellos
is
se
coming
tienen que
to the
tirar.
final moments. Look at your mini-map, though. Our third player, it's a member from SGP Syndicate who's just in the gas on the low, maybe just trying to hope that the rest of the lobby does go on down. Noob's going to opt to try and stay in the gas for as long
¿qué
as
hiciste?
possible. Falcons on the roof, trying to shoot from below. This is a little
¿Qué
bit tough for Fnatic.
hiciste?
Skullface tries to make the play up through the ladder. He gets taken out. That's a full. Comes down to a 2v2. Almond is down. Noobs is pushing up the ladder. Can he manage to
¿Qué
get up there? He cannot.
hiciste?
It's going to be Biffle who's able to bring them on down. But Biffle and Shifty, they're both down. We still have one more player up. And it's going to be a member from Fnatic. It's going to come down to a heal off. Can Biffle stay alive? Who's it going to be? What is going on? What's going on?
¿Qué es esto, cabrón?
Number 2?
What? It comes down to who lives out in the
Vete
gas
pa'l
the longest.
carajo.
And of course, the Falcons, undeniable. Second place in the first game, but clean it up here in the most unconventional manner I think I have ever seen a Warzone game be finished. And not just that, Dandro, 23 kills, a 46-point banger for the side that are looking to claim a Dynasty title.
They had 25 in game 1 with a second place. They say that's not good enough. They answer it back in map number 2 with 23 eliminations and the dub, a 46-point game. I got to imagine that Fnatic was not too far away behind them, though, as they, I believe, had 22 eliminations with that 1.7. So the thing to note from me here, Enigma, is that, great, we have a couple other teams that seems like they're able to contest with the Falcons, but you end map number 1 in second with double-digit eliminations, over 20. You take map number 2 with over 20. We need the same teams doing the same thing as Falcons. We cannot have all of these separate teams starting to match their pace, because this is how we start to see leads form.
No, absolutely. This is where you see the Falcons historically, traditionally, build those gaps. It's in their consistency. You know, you get Twisted Minds winning in map 1. Where were they in map 2? I mean, they're just not going to be able to pick up anywhere near the same amount of points. That lead's been completely eviscerated. Fnatic go big in map 2, but they were just kind of like in there when it comes to map 1. But Falcons continue to just be a brick in the wall every step of the way.
Wow, I mean, we saw a great game 1 from them. Game number 2, they come on back, and it's not all about the slays for that team. It's about the brains as well, showing that when you get into these unconventional scenarios, like you said, maybe one of the most awkward sort of end games we've ever seen in competitive Warzone, they're still able to clutch it on up. So friends, we are through our first 2 games here of Grand Finals of the Esports World Cup, Call of Duty Warzone. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be hopping in to drop number 3.
adventures bring new challenges. Even as the heat rises, dandruff and grease won't stand a chance. With new Clear Men, powered by triple formula technology. To eliminate dandruff, itch, and grease, gives you 8 hours of freshness and 100% dandruff-free hair. New Clear Men, 0% dandruff, 100% confidence.
Welcome back, but goddamn, what an end to it. I'm joined here by Hisoka from Falcons. We were counting our breaths, and so were you and the entire team sitting through it. What happened there?
You know, we were just in the moment. We hit flow state. The comms were there, and these boys iced up, man, and I'm proud of my teammates.
I mean, at some point you ran into the entire opposite team just in front of you on the second floor. What happened in that moment of complications?
Trying to clear a second. I thought they were on the roof. I scammed. But our team takes accountability. That one's on me. But these boys saved my scam and they clutched up. So,
how were the calls like to know? Okay, now we need to take high ground. Now we have the opportunity for it.
Yeah. So while I'm dead, I just try to help them out. You know, still try to be part of the game, even though I'm dead. And as their IGL, I think me seeing both their pavs, it's easier to help them out.
And now here, obviously, you got the crowd, the Falcons fans right in front of you. Is that something that pumps you up in the game?
Fuck yeah. We're the home team here. We feel the energy. We feed off the passion, baby. Back at home, come on now. We're here, baby.
All right, not too bad. Number 2 in the first game, number 1 in the second. You got 6 more to go. What are we looking at here?
Pure domination. We're going to outscore everybody by plus 100, baby. Mark my words.
You heard it right here. Hisoka and Falcons victorious. What an end to match number 2. We'll give it back to our studio.
Wow, what an ending to that game. Game number 2 did not disappoint. Game number 1 was already incredible, but the big narrative is from game 1 to 2, the Falcons are looking strong from second to first. Talk to me about that end game and some of the great plays.
Look, game 1 might have escaped them. Hisoka almost made it happen. Game number 2 did not. We talk about that massive heal off that happened right towards the end of the game. You're thinking, who's going to win this one? Is it going to be Armin? Is it going to be Biffle? Which of those players is going to come out on top? And I think Biffle had, like, I want to say 5% of his HP left.
Just a little bit
It was not a lot at all. Like a second more, he would have been done, and Fnatic would have got their first win on the board.
You know, heal-offs, I've seen them take place, right? I mean, we've all seen they're very rare, but they do happen. But I've never seen a double down heal-off happening, right? Which is just absolutely insane. And let's not forget that beautiful thermite that was thrown from Biffle onto SGP down low. He gets a double down from one thermite. Falcons, they're firing on all cylinders, and it's absolutely insane. We take a look at the highlights, and through these, you start to see some teams changing up their play styles.
Yeah, we were looking at some of the squads, right? Like Headquarters, Omit, they were talking about, you know what, we're feeling confident, we're going to change up our strategies. And drop number 1, we didn't really see them. You know, we were kind of like, who was that 4th team that dropped? But right here at the end game, seemed like they were that 4th team that placed, right? One of those teams that was kind of playing Disruptor that we saw hanging outside of that window was Elolam and J-Tech alive in those final moments. So kind of like Disruption, right? We think of Fnatic, Guild, right? Guild was really the dominant top prison, but forcing Fnatic off, switching their strategies. We saw them in those endgame moments.
Yeah, we did, and I think Omit creating that disruption onto Fnatic is a real reason why, you know, Falcons really come away with that win, because Fnatic were dominating from building to building, just forcing Falcons into a bad spot. Falcons had to make that quick decision to go up, but it leaves Fnatic in a spot where they don't really know where to go. They're stuck on the second floor. They can't go to the first floor. They can't go towards the roof, and Omit do a good job at keeping them in that building, and that kind of battle of resources between the end bleeds Fnatic dry towards that last little bit, and you know, you really see that it comes down to Biffle and Almin in that heal off, and I think that realistically Fnatic, they could have won that if not for Omit.
Yeah, that was the double down with the thermite, which was just nutty. That ladder play, by the way, could have been the heroic play there, Infinity. It doesn't work out, though. And fact is, one other player went up that ladder, and I think he forgot to shoot his gun, because I'm like, just shoot your gunman. You got a player down. Maybe he connects on the second. I still don't think he cleans up the last Falcons member, but still, those are plays that are just magical to see whenever they're happening live. And overall, Falcons looking great. Twisted Minds, I was like, oh, well, they're a little bit more quiet than they were in game number 1. They do secure like a top 7 around there, but not as dominant as game 1. Did they have to change up their play style? Are they being challenged, I believe, by the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken?
Right, yeah, we saw this massive change of play
Está
style
buena,
that Ella was
tuvo
talking
buena
about
esta.
already, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is, Falcons back in game number 1, I think we were kind of theorizing they were pushing towards that left side, towards control. For Abwiz, this time around, they pushed for Twisted Mind. Didn't have to go all the way, though.
Didn't have to go all the way. Well, some teams are trying to go all the way, and in fact, game number 3 is ready to go. Casters, let's kick it off and keep the action going.
Woo! We are going to keep it rolling indeed, my friend. Oh, my gosh. Let's take a little bit of a look at the standings, Enigma, for where we are currently sitting, because I got to imagine after that game, it's looking a little bit closer, and by closer, I mean one team has a 22-point lead. What is that? Oh, what are you seeing here, my man?
I mean, of course, I'm seeing the Falcons run away with things, but let's pivot away from that conversation for just a moment because we knew that that wasn't going to be a surprise.
Diablo, ya se fueron por 20 puntos, vete pa'l carajo.
They're the two other teams that are trying to contest the Falcons in the end stages of games. And just to remind you guys that, yes, first place breaks home $200,000, but second will do 150K, third takes home 100K as well. So it's a lot of bread if you are still contesting the big dogs and the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, 50K per player, even if you're coming in second. I mean, I know we're all about the first place, but that is nothing to look at. I do want to kind of focus a little bit, though, because, you know, we said the Falcons are on top, and I want to take just a hot moment as we drop in to game number 3, but maybe why that is, because Milos brought up a great point in that interview that, you know, it says, Hisoka, how are you guys able to make those comms? That is a classic Hisoka trait that really, all the way back in Caldera, that he's brought with him through his career, and that is even when he's dead, that guy does not shut up. He is continuously calming, he is helping his team to maneuver on through, and in a weird end game like that, you got to imagine it was helpful.
Oh yeah, 100%. The fact that he says that he scams, by the way, and that the Falcons still come out on top is just ridiculous at this point. But oh my lord, look at this. His Team Destroy trying full send Team 6. Ziggs gets damage on absolutely everybody, and then his two teammates help with the trade out. And who's going to actually fall here? Because Raul goes massive and pulls down 2 of the Team 6 players. A huge trade that keeps the Team Destroy in it and leaves Team 6 absolutely scrambling.
And look at that! Off of the first drop out of the plane, we're getting mixed heat. We're seeing contest. Game number 3, Team 6, I believe, is fully eliminated.
They are indeed. I mean, I'll be honest, I thought Team 6 had Team Destroy there. I thought that they pushed a little bit too aggressively. Nate Dogg in particular gets caught, gets damaged. Zix picks up quite a bit of damage himself, but then the fact that that's all traded out by Raul just puts Team 6 in the blender, and they are out of here, ladies and gentlemen, in map 3. We move on over Chemical Engineering, our next spot, as we've got the new Icons looking to contest the Singapore Syndicate.
New Icons sitting there, but hey, Team Falcons coming back off of that win, feeling great. They spot Miami Heretics over at these tents area. Some very solid shots. Over in the prison, though, it's Guild. We saw them kind of hold down this area until Fnatic usurped the throne, looking to continue that, but I don't know, you got Izun not too far away. Rodrigo finds 2 and the confirmation, being able to fly on in, but it looks like maybe for now, Guild is still alive. Actually, no, I'm mistaken. Guild has been eliminated.
I'm not sure what goes in there, but it is a complete breakdown. The 2 players from Guild that we get to see on our screens get dropped. AJ's in the back.
Tenus lo tienen de chata.
Even though he's on the deck.
Lo tienen, papi, pero todo el tiempo es, nada más veo el nombre de él. Los panas los están cargando a él.
The pace at which we are moving in these finals is absolutely unprecedented, seeing these sides be ruthless across the board.
Man, we saw some contests in those first 2 games, but I feel like it took game number 3. People are winning these contests now.
Yeah.
We're seeing them completely wipe teams, not just put 2 of them into the dirt. As we see yet again, Squad 8, that's Team Destroy. They started off hot. They were feeling good. They are also eliminated out of the map. Blink of an eye here to start map number 3, and we are already losing teams left and right. The Falcons have moved on up from Stronghold to that living quarters. We know they like to stay here. Fnatic on the other side at Factory, and a little bit of a tussle.
They are indeed. Here's the Twisted Mind, second against third, fighting for control here over this Factory landmark and just trying to anti-air gun Smith out of the sky. He will get himself down, and Aiden's actually going to provide coverage over the back, because I was worried for a second there. Noobs manages to land some shots. Aiden actually find Skullface and Noobs as well. So Omen trying to just play his anchor, but also trying to clean on up. And this is exactly why, ladies and gentlemen, your anchor role is so important. We've already seen 3 squads wiped off the map, and it's just because of Omen sitting off there towards the tower, over by headquarters, that Fnatic stay in this one.
And you even see it in those player cams. Skullface gets ripped. Aiden just is able to line it on up with that Holger, and just rips the bullets on through. He's a little bit in disbelief that that happens.
Oh, yeah.
And Almond, yeah, is left alone up here. You have to wait for the 2 players to get back on in. Thankfully, Resurgence very much still active as we're in zone 1, but still a little bit of a regain for 2/3 of Fnatic.
Oh, and Omen, though, hits a beauty. Skullface will trade that out. Essentially a 3-2-1 if you've ever seen one. Can you get the elbow? Yes, you can. Limax out of here. Feels like Na'Vi have been in a bit of a blender every single time we see them. And Omen proving his worth up on the top. And Twisted Minds continuing to move. Aiden finds his 3rd. Actually takes a bit of damage, so he's just going to have to take a moment here. But Go Knight looking to get aggressive in Factory.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the kills across the board, Twisted Mind currently sitting on 6, Fnatic on 7, so maybe even it's been aggro, you're going down. You're still finding those early eliminations, and I know that's what they love to have. Still over here at Industry, though, it is AB Wiz. They are known for holding down this area, and so far it's looking maybe like they're able to stay alive, but you got a team underneath you in the Icons that are trying to maybe create some space. A little bit of a moment right now if you are AB Wiz.
Well, the thing is, the Icons have decided to hold Bio because Stuo's up there by himself. Vitality continue to be in just a complete blender, and Icons actually don't want to leave this to chance. Icons want to get very aggressive. They find Stuo, they remove him from the board, and as Vitality members try and come back on in, landing around Industry, they are in a shambles right now, trying to find their way into this finals. But new Icons, another squad that continue to impress. By the way, kill feed, I'm seeing Falcons picking up kills on Fnatic.
Wow,
Sí, pa, trabaja con el municipio tirando cemento.
Revenge there from that last game coming online. We lose another squad into the mix.
Mira, otra vez, seco le dieron a Teno.
On out. So, man,
Ay, Teno, cabrón.
Into the top 10, Enigma, and it is looking so
Ya
spicy
sabe.
to kick us on out. We are looking for number 8. That's the next place we would like to get to. That is our 1.2 multiplier. That's where finally some of your eliminations start to kind of mean a little bit more.
Yeah, it's where it becomes everything a bit more valuable. Intex looking to push on through Chem here. You will have the new Icons underneath him, and those loadouts might well be baited out if he so wishes. And Skullface, by the way, in the kill feed, picking up Hisoka. Believe here fighting with Trevs. Believe loses that. Donkey and Intex trying to look on out over this. And although you do have a moment of reprieve, a moment to reset, you're trying to bring your teammate back on in, you're worried about potentially getting pushed by the new Icons, and honestly, I think you fly, you find yourself a new position to base yourself from.
Yeah, I think it's that ability to read that we need to quickly get away from here. We need to rotate out that is leading to some of these team success. So I like when we have a team like the new Icons, they're coming here together, they make that type of read. Now let's take a look at an event that we had happen on earlier in the map, because it was really intense. As we see Hard Trevs finding Intex, we see Believe get taken up by another. Yeah, here's this replay that we're going to talk about. Yeah, that was Guild down in the showers, trying to fly on through to find Vitality. A really crucial moment in the game.
Yeah, seeing exactly why Vitality are struggling. Guild doing a better job of holding on to the prison, something that they've struggled with in earlier rounds. We saw them go out very early last map, in fact, so it's a better start from them. And, well, they need to pop off, quite frankly, because we're seeing 3 teams in particular run away with this one. You don't want to be chasing the pack too long. You don't want to be making it a situation where you're under a lot of pressure to pick up the pace. Knight takes a sniper bullet from somewhere. You've got to assume that's Almond still sat in his tower away in headquarters. But now, a moment to breathe, and that's nice for once, Dandro.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we've been non-stop action. I spoke way too soon. Biffle lurking down in the bottom of Factory, but you got 2 members of Twisted Minds who fly on through, take the 2v1, make it a nice clean elimination. A-okay, though, we still have Resurgence
Le
up
metieron
for just
seco
a
ahí a
moment here.
Biffle.
Biffle will be able to get back on in.
Teno es el cabrón. Por un
We
lado,
have this map, but as I say that, they have 6 eliminations, so it's not
ahí,
too
cabrón,
bad. You know, it's
dale.
not like they're having a stinker map. They're definitely
tienes
trying to
3.
set themselves up for that end game.
That's exactly what they do. We'll come back to that in just a moment, because JTech here has company in the name of Team Ice.
pues mira, Teno en la puñeta, el pana en la puñeta.
potentially have some support here. JTech looking to look on over this. Eisen, they'll both crack each other.
Bien,
JTech,
nice.
the fact that he stays alive and makes that play is huge because it will give them control of Harbor, and they also have a massive region here to loot on out, set themselves for the coming end game, because the next team anywhere near them is actually going to be Factory, and that is Twisted Minds.
And one kind of little low-key thing to note about that fight, you're able to win that. You saw that other player from Omit flying back on in. We kind of talk about the regain sometimes.
Poco le meten seco a Teno otra
and
vez.
being able to immediately grab their loot to get that third teammate right back into the game to let you keep moving around the map is so crucial, especially when you have teams like Twisted Minds who are looking to start getting aggressive. Aiden opens the door, was looking through that. Knight playing on the outside. Good armor break.
Teno, no sé por qué carajo estás por allá. Papi, tienen de chata, Teno. Papi, le dicen la chata.
I mean, we spoke a little bit before the show, Dandro, about Omit talking about how they feel confident about the game plan. I love the decision-making after that. They lose their player, they back on off towards the Harbor side, making themselves safe, giving themselves an opportunity to reset before Twisted Minds come again. Na'Vi, who it feels like every time we see them are in trouble, lose Levi and Limax. They're two superstars through this tournament thus far. They're getting squeezed by the Falcons, and just as Levi and Limax get themselves back up, Biffle and Soka clean things out. And yes, it feels like it's been like a not big pop-off performance thus far in this map from the Falcons. They're on 9 kills, Dandro. They're just behind our leaders.
Yeah, they are one elimination behind Fnatic and Twisted Mind, who are currently at 10 and 11 respectively. I thought we were about to see some really solid team fight there between Na'Vi and the Falcons, and the Falcons just come on through and well.
No, diablo, cabrón. Shifty, esos tipos no fallan, cabrón.
Straight out of map 3. We will see you in 4, gentlemen. As we continue our Stronghold isn't available to them anymore, so they've decided they
Chief, Teno lo que está tienen, no sé, cabrón. De verdad, cabrón.
I believe that we are going to get to watch a little replay here of Biffle going absolutely massive in control.
Yeah, Biffle's been a real key player today, and yeah, you can see that Levi was trying to go for the self. He's able to pop it off, but just Biffle
Mira, queda vivo él. Y Aidan lo va a coger, papi. Mira ese, toma. Oh, Dios. Teno, mira, para el lobby.
Twisted Minds, they'll get gifted elimination and take another squad out of the line.
Cabrón.
And we're into our top 8, so
Otra vez.
1.2 multiplier.
Cabrón, le metió con, no sé, cabrón. Con el popo javioso le dio.
A little bit more. Ace brick in your path to success. Oki trying to pick up
Toma.
Captain Team Abwiz. Finally seeing a bit of success here, trying to control that dock region, but now they've got to figure out their rotation towards
Cacho, mira dónde está el
and they might well have a window, but look who's not very far
cabrón
away.
de Teno, bro.
We'll have to get through the Singapore Syndicate first, though, and they actually have Team Fnatic shooting at them from top prison.
This is just wild, some of the positioning we're seeing from some of our top teams. You know, sometimes we won't see them have to go at it till the end game, but for right now, it could be a clash of the Titans. Falcons, the smokes are out, trying to be able to give them the opportunity to go through the rotation, but they're taking a lot of damage while it's happening. Have to back on it up. Team AB Wiz, they're in prime position to really gatekeep right now. We see the mobile buy station get flown on in. Might be able to give them an opportunity to kind of grab some of that gear that they need.
Cabrón, mataron a Hisoka, Shifty. Y falta Biffle.
We see a lot of the members of the Falcons go down.
Diablo.
Only one player from the Falcons
Se jodió el team de Teno.
trying to stay there,
Daron
trying to
pa'l
hang
lobby.
on hope. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we have Twisted Minds going huge.
Queda más que Biffle.
Yeah, and Biffle here just wants to play for top 5. He wants to get themselves that next multiplier onto the 1.4, but he has Team Abwiz looking back at him, and they know that they can get him off the board here. Biffle makes a play for the gas.
Cacho, si los matan, se joden.
So many gas plays, but you have got a lot to do at this point. But you do have the cash if you can make the
Mira esto, mira. Aprendan este truco. Siempre, mira.
This is just such a classic Falcon.
Está arriba.
They know this map. They know where the buy stations are. And you can see Biffle.
Checa pop, puedes abrir el buy station.
The buy station on the boat. So he'll be able to have enough cash to, looks like he invests in a gas mask potentially, and only one player. He did have the 7400. Could got both teammates back, but it seems like, hey, he wanted to kind of get some gear, wanted to be able to at least get one player back on in. Zone does go ahead and pull, and it is going to see
Sí,
a
es
lot
por
of players
kill.
try and fight for this
Dale
game.
para allá. Mataron a Hisoka. Nice.
And we will
Diablo, eliminaron a Falcon. Hacho, el team de Aiden tiene chance de ganar.
Fnatic looking to claim themselves closer to that top spot. Zone's actually pulling off favorably for Fnatic, who have prison rooftop control. Everyone else is going to have to fight in the layer cake, the quagmire as we called it, of prison.
Twisted Minds, they did fantastic game number 1. Fnatic in game number 2, and it feels like it's going to be up to either one of them to clutch this one on out, but it's not over yet because you got AB Wiz, you got Izun, and SGP Syndicate to get through before you can get to that end game. A little bit of a top team on top team violence as Twisted Mind tries to rotate on out. Skullface will find Smith, and actually also AB Wiz, as we're starting to see a flurry of eliminations come on through as SGP Syndicate will be able to take down Aiden on
Lo mataron a Aiden.
Fnatic have been able to move themselves into zone. They are waiting here. They are going to
¿Ves,
be
papi?
the
Mira,
gatekeepers
dos más.
of this final circle.
I actually love this play. I think this is absolutely massive from Team AB Wiz. They've managed to find themselves the rooftop. It will give them a lookout over everyone else as the rest of the lobby bleeds. We're into our top 5, and Prodigy picks himself up a kill. Knight gets the confirm on another, and we are just seeing Fnatic try and hold the low ground. The PDS is coming on out there up at top.
Aquel,
However,
el de Aiden,
Zone
papi,
continuing to shrink.
partiendo.
We have Team Ryzen still fighting
Sabe lo que
goodness.
está haciendo.
Fnatic holding on just about, and Twisted Minds
Nice.
have one player.
Ah.
All 3 of Team Abwiz fall. Prodigy and Abwiz
Qué
just
leche.
about staying up, and they
Mira,
have
Pop.
another PDS to play out from.
Oh, but unfortunately, Prodigy did fly back on down below, so he will go down. Only one player remaining from Team AB Wiz. As Seasmith tries to make the play into the gas, and Noobs and Almond, they're kind of reaping the rest of this lobby. Rodrigo will go down to the gas, as we're starting to see AB Wiz start to try and get the self-off on the roof. I don't know if it matters. I don't think it
Nice.
does. And wow, we see Falcons go down early, and yeah, it's Fnatic.
Papi, pues porque no andan con trampita. Tú sabes.
I mean, we get a glance at them there. They might be a muted response from these 3, but they're just trying to stay locked in. They know
Ahora no están jugando desde casita, que tienen todos los Power Rangers.
continue to hunt down the tails of the Falcons. But it's a great play for top prison that gives them that win.
Tú sabes. Y los cabrones le meten. Y pues matan y qué sé yo, pero no es lo mismo jugar desde casita que desde ahí. Desde casita puedes usar trampa.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons, you did a great job. You found the eliminations. They go a little bit early, and that's going to really open up the rest of the map for some of these other top teams to really come out clutch. Coach mentioned at the top of the show, sometimes this Team Falcons can be a basically point sponge where they're getting so many eliminations.
Cabrón, Tenun no ha hecho un bicho.
Disculpa. Them going down early. Fnatic, they're like, hey, we're going to play positioning. We are
Culpa
going
por la
to
palabra.
fly through the rest of this lobby.
Pero él no ha hecho nada. Papi, él solamente jala gatillo desde la casa. Y pues, no. Le llegó lejos el cabrón porque está aquí en la final. Pero no ha hecho nada. No ha hecho nada. Literal, no ha hecho nada.
It's insane to me how much better this Fnatic lineup looked than in the World Series. And we spoke about how they joined this Fnatic org and they've...
Chacho, papi, para que se tire 40 con estas bestias aquí está difícil, papi. Papi, Tenus trabaja ahora mismo con el municipio. Tirando concreto. El J-Tech ese y el otro han sacado cara por él.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that we've been due a Fnatic win so far in the past few days of competition, and now we got it. Skullface, I'm gonna come to you first. We're almost at the midpoint of the finals day. How are you feeling? Talk me through that, the final kind of moments of that map.
First 3 games so far, I thought we played pretty well. First game, not that as good placement, but hopefully just keep the momentum going and just keep on playing strong.
We've been checking out the stats. Armand, I'm going to come to you. We've been checking out the stats throughout the past few days. You guys have been possibly the most consistent team, putting up numbers every single round. What do you think's been preventing you from capitalizing, though, and getting that first place each time?
It's just, you know, it comes down to me as the IGL. I just got to call those end games better, and I think today I'm doing that.
I like that. Taking responsibility, but at the same time, you guys are playing absolutely incredibly, and I'm sure your teammates will agree. Noobs, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to crouch walk. Come on, what am I doing? I think I need to speak to you a little bit about what happened in map 2. Climbing the ladder, it kind of felt a little bit like the wrong decision. I don't know, but like, talk me through what was going on, because that was a tough pill to swallow, I can imagine.
Yeah, no, I made the mistake. I thought there were some people below, and I called them to just follow me up down low, and it just ended up costing us the game, but that one was on me.
you know what? Map 3 is all yours. Congratulations to Fnatic. For now, we're going to go back to the studio so that we can continue Finals Day.
Sí, papi. Y como él vive en Puerto Rico, está tirando hasta brea también.
My own horn or maybe Infinity, but we did say Fnatic was going to win this entire thing, and well, they have played a solid 3 games and finally getting a W.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, second place last game or getting close to the end, and then obviously today, this game, they finally get that
Criminal
dub that they wanted
no puede jugar hasta que tenga 18.
from them, right? They make a gamble ultimately. They're going up against teams that have PDSs to work with, namely AB, Wiz. And I thought for a second there, I was like, oh my god, they've rotated a little bit early here. Abwiz, do they have enough PDSs? We weren't on board with their POV. Turns out they did not. They were forced off of that prison roof. And then, of course, I mean, again, that advanced positioning coming out from Fnatic, they're able to get it done. But it wasn't just the end that gave them the win in that game.
No, it wasn't. It was the build-up to that as well.
Yes, I mean, and the casters had said it. Wow, this game is going by so
Hey,
fast.
papi.
All of these teams are dropping so early, right?
Cada jato se está partiendo el tobillo.
Guild was the key team that was pushed by Ezund, that they were able to take him down, and I believe it was Abwiz that had to push up, right? We're looking at teams and, like, no one landed living quarters, which, again, then forced Falcons, right? They couldn't find any eliminations, so it forced
Indio,
Falcons to
es
have to
por
push
kill y
over
por,
to the side.
por si quedas primero, segundo, tercero, también eso te da puntito.
Being out allowed Fnatic to have the high ground of prison and control through and through.
Yeah, Fnatic has been a team that's been really pushing for the prison control, right? Leaving Almond up top to be that anchor on top of Watchtower overlooking prison. He has been pushed off before. I know TenX has been one of them.
Está buena esta porque el team de Aiden ganó uno, el de Hisoka ganó uno y ahora otro team ganó otro juego.
Consistency is key here, right? Falcons by far have been the most consistent. I want to say this was probably their lowest placement, but they still finished close to the top.
José Pacheco es indio, Jerome.
Yeah, again, so you can see the positioning here from Abwiz, and I think this is that PDS play from Abwiz that keeps them alive up top for long enough. However, Prodigy goes a little bit early there. Maybe a miscommunication. Maybe he just wanted to get some kills.
Sí, te puedes meter en ranque solo y vas a encontrar gente buena, ¿me entiendes? No bueno en sentido de que te pueden ayudar.
The streak to take down Ezund, right? With that wipe, the repositioning, and we had questioned it like, oh my gosh,
Pero
no,
los primeros hangos son súper fácil. Te lo prometo que vas a matar la liga.
I mean, high ground definitely wasn't needed there.
Not at all, which typically it is. You would have to assume, right? High ground is what wins you gunfights and everything, but in this case, it wasn't needed. We looked through
Pues
our
papi,
highlights.
tienes que subir por lo menos a oro.
Seymour, the thing about it is we're now in game 3 about the
Si
transition.
subes a oro, puedes jugar con nosotros.
A plethora of teams get eliminated. In fact, within the first 5 minutes, within the first zone 1, we saw 5 teams completely wiped off the map. It comes to show you the pacing is starting to increase.
Papi, la WSP 9 está azotando.
We're kind of encroaching on our halfway point. You can see teams struggling. One team in particular, Team Vitality, who over the whole tournament has been struggling in kind of reality of what's going on here at EWC. But I mean, this Vitality team, it shows that they're struggling from going from big map in towards the resurgence. The pacing is just not all there. Their coordination, it seems to be all scattered. And
Ay,
this going to
Tenu,
continue heading into the
cabrón.
last couple of games, especially considering this.
Mira, el JTech y el Lolan, esos son los, mira,
Especially Vitality can't pick things up into the halfway mark.
son los que han jalado gatillo. Ahí, por Tenu.
And the thing is as well, if you're Vitality, you'd have imagined that
Cabrón, mira,
than the last couple of days. Obviously, the competition is more difficult, but when you're talking just pure
le mete, esa gente le mete, porque viste como la Holger 26 no le brincaba para nada. Esa gente juega.
Right now, they don't have Alula to worry about anymore, but that next step of the phase,
Mira,
right, that
JT,
next step of the
cabrón,
game,
6 kills.
moving out of bio in towards docks, in towards prison. They
Ah,
are
sí,
still
mira, por
struggling,
tumbar
they
te dan
still can't
puntos,
win
por
those
matar,
next
por
engagements.
revivir.
And we are in game 3 right now. If Vitality do not figure this out now, their chances of winning the Esports World Cup might well be done pretty early.
You know, Resurgence.
Acho, papi, te mandaste ayer.
You come back in, you've got to play your life a second time, a third time, 10 times if that's what it takes you. hopefully Vitality can hit that regain, right? These games are going so fast, so it's hard to get that mental
Sí, ya
reset
está ahí. Yo creo
game
que
to
ahí
game
en
to
esa
game. Look at
última
our
partida
standings, and I must say, for Team
quedaba
Falcons,
más
they
que
should
uno.
be leading the charge, and they will be just by 11 points this time, but it's still a decent lead.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Twisted Minds is still
Fíjate, nos subió a
continuing
9.
their pace, and you know what? After drop number
Papi, ellos
1,
están
the
subiendo poco a
Falcons
poco,
and
pero es
Twisted Minds, we're tied in
por los
eliminations
panas.
at 25.
And also Fnatic from 3 to 4. Look at that gap, 34 points, and then 20 from there. There's a huge gap for the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely there is. Now you're starting to see those teams that have consistently played very, very well in the first 3 games coming to the fore. You know what's funny as well? These are all of our predictions right here. You've got Team Falcons, you've got Twisted Minds, you've got Fnatic, of course, the best pick of them all. Top 3, these are the teams that we expected. We talked a lot about Skullface for Fnatic. We talked a lot about Knight for Twisted Minds. These are the teams that specifically look like they're built for resurgence. They're coming into play extremely well. Not a surprise, they're top 3.
Not a surprise indeed. Those are the top 3. Again, that gap is severe, and that gap is going to continue to grow. But the good thing when it comes to Resurgence Stream, all it takes is one good game to elevate you up the leaderboard.
One good game and some type of consistency.
Right.
But for these
Creo que
teams too, I gotta give a
son...
shout out to SGP.
Faltan 2 juegos más, creo.
Dongi is still slaying. I mean, Seymour, you already know your team. You're rooting. I know you had your pin on somewhere, but I know, Taylor, this game is, it could be anyone's game. And these
Indio, te voy a enseñar algo que me hizo este bestiólogo ayer.
Well, we're about to hop into game 4, our halfway point of the day. Only 4 more games after that. It's going to be intense. You better believe the players are ready to go. Casters, I hope you are. Let's get it started.
Let's get it started. Daily Reflections, Noble. Also, our beautiful analyst, because I think it perfectly encapsulates and tells us the storyline right before our halfway point enigma.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Por qué le diste para atrás?
We took a look at that leaderboard. Of course, we got the Falcons on top, sitting around 100.6, but only 11 points behind them.
Yes.
Twisted Mind, only 16 points behind them. Fnatic, this is not as much of a dominating performance as we expected.
No, it is not. And what I will say is our leaderboard.
Lo voy a poner ahora.
We have the Falcons just running away with 100, we thought, and then Twisted Minds
Espérate,
and say, well, not so
mierda.
quickly, son. It's not happening again. We are going to try and keep pace here. So
Espérate.
we do indeed have those 3 just chasing up the pack, running through
Espérate,
the
lo pongo
leaderboard
ahora.
here. But SGP Syndicate not far away. Big fan of the point made there by Ellen as well.
me deja
How Fnatic saw that end game.
frisó.
Use their streaks to isolate off various teams and see out their end situation to keep themselves in the hunt. And we start with Skullface, Almond, and Noobs, and we...
Ay, espérate, que esta mierda se está frizando. Chequéate esto que me hizo el bestiólogo ayer. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Por qué le diste para atrás? Yo estaba vivo. estaba enfocado, ya tú sabes, para darle seco a medio mundo. Estaba como jugo de China, se frizó esta mierda. Diablo, esta mierda se frizó.
Of here nice and early, and Na'Vi are in big trouble as well. Feels like they're just in a constant spiral. Limax and Levi will be cleaned up by Twisted Minds. Shifty wants to get aggressive here on Matty. Doesn't find his fish in the water, takes a bit of damage from elsewhere. Eventually will clean this up. Goes on hunting, will clean that. Thank you very much. Shifty onto 3, and this push on out.
Y papi, maté 3 ahí cogidos, uno detrás del otro.
Over and over again. Vision here spots a couple of players in front of him, and actually Skullface returns fire. Uses the loadout to snap and send the Dutchman packing.
A little turn and burn from Skullface to keep it alive. Vision is eliminated. 10 seconds on the resurgence, though. A-OK. One thing I gotta note here, though, Enigma Falcons currently sitting on 9.
Mira, Jayted, nada más ves a Jayted matando, el del team de Tenu.
Getting into the second zone. Falcons, where elsewhere on the map, it's maybe seemed a little bit of ebb and flow. Falcons, they've just kind of been doing a classic rotate, find a bunch of eliminations, rotate, find a bunch of eliminations, and it's working out for them here in match number 4.
It is indeed. They swapped up that route, sorry. They were originally playing out through living quarters, and although they were finding some success, it was relatively mixed. It seems to have been much better for them. Instead of playing through control center, they just keep hunting down teams that are trying to regain. Both Shifty and Biffle finding the Spaniard on his way down to the ground. Rodrigo nearly snaps onto Drake, and that will actually be Team Eisen out of here. Their struggles continue.
Yeah, really tough first 4 maps. If you are Team Eisen, you're getting contested. Fight Team Guild here at the prison. It just seems like you can't
no sale del
Maybe
piso,
when we get ready to
cabrón.
move to the back half, you change up the drop location, you
Vete
do something
pa'l
different.
carajo,
'Cause
bro.
what you did here in the first 4 maps is not really cooking. So we'll get them into that next lobby as the rest of the squads are looking to move their way around. One thing I'm noting here, Enigma, as I kind of look at our map view, we have a lot of squads kind of sitting around prison, and on the outside, only a few of them actually playing down towards that living quarters, the southwest area of the map, where the zone is pulling. We could lose a number of squads on this transition.
Yeah, I don't know if too many of the teams just went
Mira,
for
otra
their
vez
normal
Tenu,
landing spot
me
and
metieron
just didn't
seco.
assess where the zone's going, because you've got a long
Ay,
rotation
Tenu,
to make here. It looks like
cabrón.
it could well finally be Ahsoka who's seeing some company come towards him, because it's a very southwesternly circle. J-Tech will be brought back in a second to provide Elo Lamb with a moment of respite, but the Omit squad struggling, and we're actually going to see Vision, and he will not win that fight against Skullface, taken down yet again by the Fnatic man. Guild continuing to try and reset themselves as they struggle here around prison. Hardtrev's up next. He wants to find Noobs. We'll clean that on up. Fnatic do have Skullface still alive, but Drev nearly cleans him on up, and will his teammates arrive in time? Drake, what were you trying to do there, son? What did you have your weapon set to and trying to clean that up? How is Skullface still alive? Just about gets found, just about gets cleaned up, but might have well given Fnatic a moment of reprieve to burn down that countdown timer, but also they still have Allman, thankfully, playing that anchor roll up in his tower.
I love that you bring that up, because it's totally right. Sometimes in Resurgence, it's just that extra 3 to 5 seconds is all you need to get the teammates back in. But on the other side, Vitality, Stuo, the only one left alive. They're kicked on out. Not a great day for them, but I'll tell you who it is a good day for. Twisted Minds. This is their area. They are hanging on. 12 eliminations so far as we are getting down to the final of the second zone here. Already feeling themselves, and they're looking to keep cooking as they find Daga on the outside here at the bottom of Factory. Z-Smith pushing on forward, the slide on out. Z-Smith with the patience, the young gunner himself.
El otro le dicen buzo, papi, en el agua.
Damage, so he backs himself off, tucks into a corner, knows Gorgonite can provide the cover. Gorgonite
Mira, jodió el team de Tenu, creo.
Fight as well and pull the Heretics team apart. Beautiful stuff from them yet again. By the way, elsewhere, we actually have Team AB Wiz finding kills on the Falcons, as they have now taken complete control of the northern side of the map and looking to rotate on in.
Papi, tienen un aim los cabrones exóticos.
Knight has got cover in Wars. And Smith is trying to chase after this as well and finds Wars. wars, and wars will be sent to the ground, and wars will get interrogated. Where are your teammates, son? We want every part of this. We're hunting down the Falcons on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I love the Twisted Minds is doing right now. They're kind of just doing the same thing the Falcons were doing.
No, por lo menos te estaban matando ayer.
On the other side of the zone from Team AB Wiz, but it's Hisoka just sitting in that satellite tower at Stronghold, just hanging on out. And quite frankly, when you look at the minimap, you can see a flurry of teams on your screen right now. I'm going to let you know, there is a chasm of land between where they are and where Hisoka is. Literally nobody is playing on this low ground towards the Stronghold side. You have this third of the map that is up here from living quarters up to prison that has every single team in it.
We find a moment here where we can breathe as Biffle and Shifty assess how to move forward.
Papi, mira Tenus otra vez en el piso y los teams de él cargándolo, cabrón. El team de Tenus lo está cargando, cabrón, a fuego. Nada más ver los nombres de ellos y nada más ver el nombre de Tenus en el piso. No gana una ni relajando. Sí, el que dice 13 es Tenus.
You're feeling pretty good about this with Soka just giving you that information. Boys, don't worry about it. You're feeling pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of crazy. I would assume that they know that they have this entire area to kind of play with, right? And I was going to say that Shifty is able to find Zix. So yeah, I mean, if I'm making that call, I'm saying, hey, just go out, go kind of be able to find all these kills. Because here's the thing, even if they don't get hyper aggro, they can manage to hold a lot of these teams. Shifty will move on forward, find Hamoud, and they are down. And I believe that is a full elimination as well with that kill. So you're being able to play a little bit Falcons right now. You're finding these 1 or 2 eliminations at a time.
Tenus,
You're eliminating 4 squads from the lobby.
Diablo, 10 kills tiene ese cabrón. Diablo, el equipo de Tenus está en un mal lugar, cabrón.
Fnatic will have their full trio available to them. Noobs is on 10 kills by himself. Fnatic with a trio on 19, so it's been pretty good from them thus far. However, you do probably want some of those kills to become the Falcons soon, because Resurgence is disabled, and you're chasing after them just now. However, they're looking to hold that new icons on their prison rotation.
Fnatic currently sitting on 19, 10 of those coming from Noobs himself. Twisted Minds on 17. I believe the Falcons currently sitting on 10, a little bit away. Only a couple squads. I gotta mention, hey, Guild, you're currently on 13. Icons are on 12. Omit's on 10. This is a high elimination game here, Enigma. Seems like players have been able to stay alive using that Resurgence, but we're also seeing some of these other squads being able to reap the lobby. So maybe while the Falcons have been playing towards this Stronghold side, the rest of the teams have been able to fly on through and find their eliminations.
Well, Guild get wiped throughout all of this, and then Luminas trying to rotate. New Icons will just about stay in this for a moment because Hardtrav has managed to find himself a route through the water, but now it starts to become a lot of our big hitters. Every single team still remaining has crossed double digits in terms of kills. They're all absolutely frying. Twisted Minds have the best location in the next zone, but they're being contested by the Falcons. The Falcons refuse to just let this lie. They want all of this
esto va a ser una
Smith
partida
has 9,
dura, cabrón.
Soka on to 4, and how do they play this out? Because this is one of the things you always think, okay, they're in the worst position, surely they get cut on down, but it would be true Falcon prowess to just open up this entire area.
Yeah, that's a huge fight between Twisted Minds and Falcons. It'll look like a little bit of respect between the two squads in kind of these separate but connected buildings. We do start to see Omit try and move on up, but what has me worried, if you are the Twisted Minds and you commit to this fight, you have the Falcons at your back who can fly on forward in third party and end your map. We are into our top 6. That means the multipliers are active, ready to go, waiting for top 5 to hit that 1.4. AB Wiz is starting to move on over, but Fnatic, they've been able to find them. Only one player left alive. Almond does go down, but it looks like maybe a little bit of a reset from Fnatic here as they start to play this edge of zone.
Honestly, the fact that Team Abwiz stay up is only because Prodigy drops a bunker buster straight onto his own head. So when he jumps off the rooftop, it actually connects with Almond, so he can't look out over and pick him up. So that if you see Abwiz later on, then we've got a huge play to talk about. However, let's change on over to Hisoka as he looks to put himself in through this stronghold window. Biffle's up high, throwing out thermites. And Twisted Minds continue to hold what is surely the best land here. But
there will be a huge rotation next, Andrew. We're going back towards the living quarters, and Fnatic have high ground.
What's scary about this, though, this is not just a simple
Toma.
rotation. You have to try and make your way up to the high ground, and that's exactly what Falcons are trying to do. Not realizing you have the gatekeepers of Fnatic looking to spoil your rotation and spoil your game. Aiden's going to be able to find Shifty on that movement as they are just kind of laying in wait. But Fnatic is looking down on over the Twisted Minds. Skullface will be able to bring down Knight. There's no confirmation there at all. But you're at least able to start burning some of that. Oki will get taken out by Aiden. That is AB Wiz eliminated out of the lobby. We are into our top 4 now here, folks. And as I say that, top 3, 1.4 multiplier is here. You're trying to stay alive if you're any of these teams. Z-Spec gets taken on out. Fnatic with the ultimate height right now. Aiden is trying to do his best to laser the remaining members of Fnatic to try and stay alive.
There's still an Omit player alive in the background of all this, by the way. Just not giving Aiden the extra multiplier that he so desperately wants, that he probably so desperately deserves. Knight's involved in the thick of this, and we are actually still having Fnatic just hold this whole next circle. Aiden will fall. Knight is out of here, and surely whoever is left for Omit doesn't have a chance in hell, because it's gonna be a 1v3.
I mean, Fnatic doing insane. They do find J-Tech, so that'll mean Twisted Minds on 18. They'll at least be in second. Aiden somehow a sliver of health.
No le va a dar el kill. No le va a dar el kill duro.
Jugó bien. Fnatic take game number 4. They go back to back here, Enigma.
They go absolutely huge. I'm just trying to quick 30 kills. 30 kills.
30 kills.
Oh my god. 60 points for the boys. We finally see them get animated on main stage, and I can understand why. They were trailing by what? About 16 points, something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we can safely assume that as we hit the halfway point here,
Falcon bajó. El team de Falcon va a bajar como a tercero, vas a ver.
About the Falcons coming in today, Enigma. We were all saying, yeah, I mean, maybe after 4 games, we might already know who wins. We might already have an idea of who's taking home the prize. Nah. We have some of the best players in the world here at the Esports World Cup. We know that some of these guys love playing underneath the lights. They love playing underneath the pressure. I know that Fnatic is one of those squads. These are some 3 Warzone veterans. They are feeling good, especially in these first 4 matches.
Oh, yeah, well, you've got 2 of your previous dynasty sat right there looking to defend their throne, and Skullface, who had so much say last year, wants another bite at it again here, and to prove exactly what he's worth, showing every bit of quality that they have in that line.
Parece que los kills que haga los multiplican por 2.
Warzone Esports World Cup Finals. We got 4 more games to go, so that's enough from Enigma and I. We are going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on our back 4 as we march towards crowning our champion.
What your favorite drop point on the map is?
See, we've been scrimming a little bit. I guess when I play, public matches, I'll land prison. That's just because it's super hectic there, and like a lot of people like to land in prison. But when we go into scrims and all that, our team likes to go stronghold. So we'll take control of that area, get our loadouts, because there is a wall above stronghold next to living quarters that people can hold us out from.
Yeah.
So we'll try to move as quick as we can and get past that wall. But there's a lot of people that go dock and control. So this tournament's usually kill multipliers and all that stuff. So there's a lot of
Papi, Stronghold, el área de nosotros, el mejor lugar. Siempre que caigo Stronghold, papi, eso es top 10 obligado. Sí, subió bastante porque Tenun no hizo un bicho, pero los panos del mataron. Ese Tenun no vale verga. Más que cuando juega en la casa.
لحظات البداية عاشت معنا. كنا نحسبها وقت للتسلية بس. نحسبها بس ذكريات.
عبود أعطي أختك اليد يا ولد.
ابتكرنا فيها ابتكارات، وإذا بغينا قلبناها خرافات. كنا نحسبها بس لمة وصحبة وسهرات.
انتبه نوب ترى نوب.
لكن كنا نشوف عالم ما حد يشوفه.
لا تعيش الوقت بشيء يفيده.
الله عليك على اليد صوت.
عالم كبر وعاش فينا. عالم الحماس فيه يوصلك كل مرة لحلم أصعب بس ما يصعب عليك. بارد معك وين ما تروح.
Okay, so we've got our threat-o-meter. All right, now we're going to talk about some of these teams because you've already been yapping about them. So let's put them on, like, literally a scale. Is this a cold 0 team, or is this a hot, like, no questions asked, they're going to be one of the best teams out here? Okay. Pretty much on any given day is a 10. Anywhere in between, you guys ready? To start, you're actually going to work together on this.
Okay.
Now, if you disagree, we can kind of take an average if that works for you. Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're going to start out with Twisted Minds. This is Aiden, Knight, and Z-Smith. We talked already about Resurgence, Knight being brought into this roster. What do you guys think about this trio? We down here, we up here.
I'll let Skull, like,
You're gonna start us off, Skull? What do you
Yeah,
think?
no, I would say we give that a 6.
A 6. Lynn, what do you think?
I was gonna go a bit higher.
Bit higher?
I was gonna go about like 7 or 8.
7, 8, so maybe a 7 is where we'll land?
Yeah, around a 7.
Well, quick explanation. What do we think? I mean, do you guys think? I think the big question is Knight going to be a difference maker?
Yeah,
Yes. You think
I think
so?
he'll be a difference maker, but I don't think it's gonna be a massive difference maker.
Yeah, just like knowledge. And
he just plays a lot of Rebirth, but who were they playing with before? DJ Mouse?
Yeah,
They dropped DJ Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Value add?
So yeah,
I think
it's
Rebirth,
6.
yeah, but not for the big one.
Yeah,
I think it's 6.
6, 7, 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. I'd say.
Yeah, 6.5.
Okay, all right.
I think.
I can see it in your eyes, but you just want to put everybody below 5. I can just see it. Okay, let's keep going. We're gonna go to just had him in here. We're gonna go to Guild. All right, now this was another controversial one. This is Wars' team with AJ. What do you think, Visions? What do you think about this squad? Because they've had some controversy, but
I mean, I think they're better than Knight, Aiden, Smith.
You think they're better than Aiden's team? You think they're better than that squad, the Twisted Minds team?
Sí, papi, este no es lo que está regalando puntos. No, ellos no han llegado a top 3.
Where do you put them?
I play against them a lot, so I know they're good. Yeah. I'd put them like 7.5.
7.5.
A little bit better.
Okay. Skull?
I was going to say a 5.
A 5.
Really?
What's your reasoning? You think they just can't play Resurgence?
We don't fight with them a lot, but when we do, I usually make the play on them and do get the kills. That's
fair enough.
That's the only reason. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I think some teams are just
A la
better
chata de
against some teams
Tenu.
based on playstyle. So maybe that's your team thing, or maybe they're just not good. Who knows? All right, let's keep going. We're gonna go to the Gaming Gladiators, GG. This is Husker Squad, Brolic, Jackal. This is a team that frankly, a lot of people in the scene just didn't expect to be that good, but they have been doing really well in Big Map. What do you think about a resurgence for that squad, though, especially on land?
I think. I mean, I don't think I'd put them quite low. Not low, but quite low.
Like a 1?
Nah, not that low. Like maybe like a 3 or a 4, like lowish, but not low.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
Because like
Really?
it's Rebirth.
Yeah, okay. Huskers is on Mouse and Key.
Huskers on it. Yeah.
He's on Mouse and Key and Rebirth. Here's the question: 3-4. Does that mean they're not qualifying for finals? I mean, we got 21 teams, 14 making it.
I think they're just about qualified. That's in
Sí, tú te fuiste y después, papi.
I see them qualifying for sure, but it's just the Mouse and
Abuelo,
Key and Rebirth.
Bestiólogo y otro chamaco que yo tengo, papi. Estábamos partiendo duro. Tal el Bestiólogo.
You see GG, you're pushing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Estábamos on fire.
on the main stage here at the Esports World Cup. Continuing on with Warzone, and joining us are SGP Syndicate. We're taking this little break between games 4 and 5. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on here. You're still in the top 5 in the competition. We'll see how things go out. But, Dongyu, I mean, you've been popping off even before getting here and on here. What's the game plan for today throughout these first matches?
We knew coming into today that a couple teams were going to switch things up. Currently, there are a lot of teams switching things up, so we are currently adjusting. I feel like we kind of know what we need to do. We just got to execute, to be honest.
Fair enough. And now, Tex, it seems like this is, maybe you would agree with it or not, but a lot of people have been seeing SGP Syndicate as like a sleeper pick. Nobody expects you to kind of come in from below and do damage to top teams, but you've been doing it. I mean, you're placing incredibly through these games. What do you have to say to that?
Honestly, yeah, we knew going in that we were a sleeper pick going into it, but we're kind of, the stats are showing for themselves. There's kids running around just frying, so yeah, we're just going to keep trying to keep up the pace and lock in at least top, try to win the tourney, so.
Fair enough. And now moving on, of course, down the line to now, you guys placed at first, or sorry, we'll see. Maybe you'll get to place first throughout the games. But top 5 in games 1 and 3, third in game 2, 10th, fortunately, in game 4. Now you have some time to kind of rest up, relax, reset. How do you feel yourself going?
4 ganamos ayer, Indio.
Like Dongy said,
Bestiólogo se fue ayer como con 10 wins. No sé cuántas ganó contigo. Con nosotros ganó como 4.
At the start of the game, get our loadout, get our kills up, and then keep playing placement like we did the first 3 maps. I think we could boost our score a lot.
Is there a team you fear at this point?
Nobody.
You got that face of death on you. I love to see it. There you go. Give it up for SGP Syndicate. They're fighting their way, and maybe we'll seeing them deeper and deeper into the next 4 games.
Oh, sí, ellos quedaron top 3, pero en el torneo normal, lo dudo que estén top 3.
Champions already, especially after 2 back-to-back wins, a second place in game number 2. They only finish outside of top 3 in game 1. Fnatic are on fire.
Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it? The Fnatic yesterday, they had one of the highest average placings of the entire day, and of course, including the day before that as well. They were one of the most consistent teams coming out of group play, but they weren't able to take a single win away. Today, now we're here in finals day. They show up with 2 back-to-back victories, and it is worth saying, to be fair, maybe the only reason they didn't win the first couple of maps of the day is because those struggles against Guild were still there in those first 2.
And it's not even like they're just coming out with back-to-back wins. That's 4 games in a row where they're in the top 4 topics, or at least in the final circle of every single game that we've seen. So Fnatic, they're not only coming out with wins, but it's the placement, it's the kills, it's just being involved with this game. It is night and day from Fnatic that we saw yesterday.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights and see some teams that maybe had an early exit, as well as those who made it to the top. There were some early exits, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Team Destroy was one of them.
Y debería darle arranque con Lechon para que vayan subiendo. Me imagino que el Lechon está bajito.
Their play styles, their strategies, and I mean, let's talk about Skullface though, real quick.
Yes,
winning your ones. He literally, Guild being one of those teams, he knocked them out of prison again because he turned on visions. He's literally destroying everything, Brody.
Yeah, Skullface is just that guy right now. Again, we talk about Fnatic as a composition of players, right? I mean, Skullface, technically speaking, hasn't been with Fnatic for that long in the grand scheme of things. Like, all those roster changes to the back of Hisoka joining the Falcons, but it feels like this Fnatic roster in its
Papi, un tercero te entra. Entra te dan uno. Lo importante es que hagas puntos, no importa si gana o no. Si gana, pues más puntos, obvio, pero si llegas bastante lejos, por lo menos top 10, ahí pues hace... Y matarles bien rápido en level bajito. Cuando están en ranking en level bajito es bien fácil, claro.
Yeah, Twisted Minds in the topic right now for winning the whole tournament. I feel like we're all right now having a great day because of all of our predictions are involved. I think the only person who's really not involved right now, today at least, is Dandro with that C9 pick. So, really losing that NA battle, not only on stage today, but when it
Taking
comes down
L's
to his
all the way.
predictions. So it's nice to see Twisted Minds coming out swinging too, because yesterday inside of the groups, I don't think they were showing too much promise when it came down to those final placements. They started to fall behind from that success we saw early on. So I think that's to see Twisted Minds turn it around today on the final day. This is the day that it matters, so it's good to see.
Yeah, well, let's talk about something that was good to see, and that was game number 1. A dominant start from the Falcons. Even though they take second place, they had some of the most tremendous plays we have seen yet. We've got Dream Crazy here with the telestration ready to break it all down. I hope you're ready to go, because I think we're breaking down Hisoka, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, see, you guys, first of all, I'm not as good as Brody on the telestrator. I had a couple seconds, but we're going to talk about this. We have to talk about it. How important it was. First, let's just pause it right here, because you see on top, Hisoka, multiplier, right? We're thinking about the multiplier. Him staying alive here at Chem was so key, and you see as teams are fighting in the distance, he's going to wait. And what he's waiting for is exactly that, to resurrect his teammates, because, again, placement, you may have picked up a lot of kills in the early game, but placement is key. So for Hisoka, he gets a couple of shots on, maybe try to play spoiler alert onto Guild, onto, as you see, Twisted Minds, and what's crazy is he was able to pick up a couple of that. But, excuse me, at this point, Biffle is still and Co are still in fact alive, because I actually did rewind further back than I realized. But yes, right here in this confuffle, in this mix of things, there are still teams alive, but Hisoka staying alive up there and his teammates down below, which that was when the streaks came out, right? We're talking about this huge heal off, but Wiz in the distance over here, as you see. And Brody, see what I'm saying?
You had it, mate.
Yeah, I had it. There it is. Yeah, Wiz in the distance, as you see, is Biffle doing everything they can to rotate in, but staying alive for that multiplier was key. Absolutely. And now, even being in top 4 now, playing Disruptor, you do see, in fact, Intex and Co go down. So SPG's down, and of course, Heretics on this side still trying to do something. But the thing that was key, that was important, yes, this was a huge Twisted Minds win, but kind of like Danjo said, a little bit of respect between the two teams.
Absolutely.
Which kind of see them back away from each other. But Hisoka throwing the C4 was key there, as you see, able to take down one. And this is where the streaks go down. Everything was chaos. I mean, Seymour, you were even saying, what is happening here? Everyone's going down, and you see everyone does fall, except... who is that right there in the distance? It is Hisoka. So Hisoka backing away from the streaks, staying alive, and Z-Smith wasn't able to push either. So him staying alive right here is just so key, you guys. And that disengagement from him was important. But this was the play. This was the play where everyone was screaming. You have Heretics up top, and you think, oh no, Hisoka might go down. But no, Heretics do get eyes on him, and see Hisoka somehow, you guys, as we're going to let this play through, I don't know how he does it every single time.
So he stays alive, right? That's the big thing. He stays alive, goes through gas, and then gets the revive, I believe, onto Shifty, if I'm not mistaken, who comes back into play. He's coming down. The important thing about that is they secure second place, right? That was kind of what all that was about. I will say, though, before all that, Hisoka was cooking over in control through the window. Remember, the car was out. He was sniping bodies, and he even took down Team Zix as well, his rival counterparts, right, representing Falcons in the World Series of Warzone Global Finals.
Yeah, I mean, this is the key thing for me, right? I think, inarguably to me, Falcons should have won that game. And I think it's the starting position. I think it's even before the clip plays, right? Where Falcons, Hisoka is sniping out towards the teams coming out from prison. I believe SGP and Twisted Minds were 2 of those teams. Hisoka's applying so much pressure before this clip even begins that Falcons, I mean, with the positioning alone, should have won it. And I will say as well, I'll add this on very quickly, Heretics are another team that should have won. I mean, the fact that they get taken down, despite having that water tower positioning, Hisoka's stupid route be damned.
But
I mean, it's just insane.
What was hard, though, was both streaks coming down. For Heretics, they can't do anything. It's very hard to take control, obviously, as you know. But for Shifty, obviously not having anywhere to land, being very difficult, that was just an easy for Z-Smith to clean up. But for Twisted Minds to stay alive, you got to give credit to Z-Smith, even getting that resurrection off. Because if he falls right there, that might have been a different story for the Falcons.
It could have really been. And I think that for the Heretics, one thing that you really have to show some respect to is that they really made it a matter of luck for the Falcons, because Heretics made a huge play during that whole thing where you're starting at the bottom, you're kind of in the not in the topic of winning really at that whole fight until you saw Method Sick and his teammate make the play to take top water tower. They went from the bottom of the hill to the top of the water tower, avoiding those streaks and really kind of setting themselves up. They might not come away with the win, but they made it really difficult for Falcons to really find that placement. And I think that really comes down to what Warzone kind of is at the end of the day. It is a little bit of luck mixed in towards it, and I think the fact that Hisoka stayed alive, he's making that luck into his own wins there. So it's cool.
It is cool, and it comes to show you how far, you know, the Falcons are willing to go to get their teammates back in. They really value teamwork, and what it shows in just about every play they make and their rotation when it comes down to the shops as well. We take a look at our standings. Fnatic will take the lead over Team Falcons. Twisted Minds just below them. Those are your top three at the moment.
Te lo dije que Falcon iba a bajar. ¡Diablo! Se le fueron por 20, cabrón. Y Twisted Mind le puede pasar. Mira, el team de T en un 8, cabrón, gracias a los panas.
SGP Syndicate in 4th place, 119.8 compared to 54. You're starting to get an idea here of 3 teams that could well walk away as the Esports World Cup champions.
And it's really confusing, too, to think that SGP, Abwiz, Guild, and Na'Vi are really falling behind after the days that we saw yesterday. And prior to that, I think that you still can't really count these teams out because you still have 4 more games. You saw how many points those 3 were able to get in the last 4. So if they can turn it around, we know that those 4 still have what it takes. But for Na'Vi, I mean, you're looking at this team to really get things going like we saw yesterday. Their zone placement hasn't been the same today. Yesterday when they found themselves in 2nd place twice in a row, it was really because of the priority of getting into that final circle. We haven't seen them in that final circle yet today. The same thing is to be said about Abwiz, who were destroying on docks. They're not destroying on docks. They're forced to push into somewhere else, and that is just completely changing their route, completely changing the topic of this team. And SGP Syndicate as well, another team that is struggling when it comes down to who they are, their identity yesterday. It was down to the slaying of Dongi. It was down to the way that they let him off the leash and he gets going. Dongi isn't in that conversation today, and in the back half, he has to be for SGP.
All right, well, it seems like there's a lot going on, and we have Puckett at the STC Arena in the backstage to give us an update. What's happening, Puckett?
What's up, everybody? It's Puckett backstage at the half, checking in on the players. Now, the players don't have a ton of time before we got to turn around and drop for map number 5. But so far, you can see the confidence from the Falcons. They're feeling great about their performance. Caught up with the members of Twisted Mind. They said, no interviews, please. We are locked in right now. So many contenders for the top spot, but my eyes are on Fnatic, Twisted Minds, and of course, the Falcons moving forward. Back to you guys.
The Falcons moving forward. And by the way, Puckett is looking sharp in that suit. I just want to say that, by the way. He showed up today in a had a suit bag. I'm like, brother, you about to break that out. Hey, you looking good. He even offered to have me wear it. I said, dude, you're too tall for me, man. I look like a little kid wearing that draped over me. But good stuff coming out so far for the top 3. That gap, though, 60 points. That means one massive game, even bigger than the games we were seeing from Falcons during group stage yesterday. What, 50 plus? They weren't even able to reach 60. So SGP, countless others are having to have those big moments, but it's so hard to shut them down. The only caveat, again, going from games 1 through 4 was incredibly quick. Very, very fast pace. Now we've had this bit of a break for the halftime, right? About to hop into game 5. Teams, hopefully, they're going to now, reassess what they have to do, what they have to change, and some changes need to be made, whether it be landing spots, whether it be adjustments on your teams, who's anchoring. I don't know. They're going to have to figure that out. But right now, it seems like Fnatic, they've got everybody's number. And let's actually talk about what they're playing for. Not only are they playing for the money, not only to be the Warzone World Cup champion, the first ever, by the way, in history, they're also playing for the trophies. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let's get you caught up.
The Esports World Cup is a unique tournament and will have a very unique trophy system, consisting of keys, game trophies, the Club Championship trophy, and the totem. Introducing the key. This symbolizes a participant's right to compete in Riyadh. Each team or player will receive a personalized key consisting of the inner key and the outer frame. Winning a competition earns you a game trophy. A champion's key will be inserted inside. The frame will be placed into the totem. A physical block on display in Riyadh, serving as a progress bar of the Esports World Cup. The totem will remain in Riyadh as a chronicle of the Esports World Cup history. Those who get eliminated throughout the competition must give up their keys and see them crushed. Their broken keys will be tossed into the totem and encased in resin. symbolizing those that tried to win but fell short. However, as an additional privilege for winning, each game's champion gets to select 3 opponents' keys to be encased in the base of their trophy as an additional, more personal prize. Losers will go home with their keys replaced with a token that marks where they ended their journey. Witness history unfold at the Esports World Cup.
Such a cool concept. You get those keys, they get shattered, you can use them, right? Dip them in resin, put them around your trophy. It's absolutely brutal, to be quite honest with you, but I love it. I mean, it increases the stakes, and it really comes to show you how personal it can be for some of these competitors and clubs out there. But let's start talking about something we're giving out today. That's going to be the Sony MVP. Not just yet, that's going to be at the very end, and we have an additional prize for that, right? MVP is great as it is, but now you're also earning an additional $50,000 with that, right? So we're already talking about $1 million prize pool. Now we're adding MVP. Now, how does that go to you first and foremost? Well, it goes to the winning team and then the player that is decided from the winning team. And we obviously have 3 that are in contention right now, right? Fnatic, we got Team Falcons, and Twisted Minds. They're the front runners at the moment. As far as individuals go, though, who are we looking at who could be securing MVP?
It definitely has to be one of the Slayers, first and foremost, because it does come down to the kills of these teams. For Twisted Minds, you're looking at Aiden Z-Smith. Those 2 have been fantastic at getting those high-octane plays towards the end circle.
Absolutely.
So mount them, especially that win all the way back in game number 1. But then you look over towards Fnatic, who's been the game changer. Skullface has really turned up on the day. Longside Noobs, they're making really big plays, kind of punching things forward for this Fnatic team. And then for Falcons, I don't think it's more obvious to say it's Biffle and Shifty. It's Biffle and Shifty that you're
I need to argue this a little bit.
Sure,
I need to argue this a little bit because, you know, we got to give a shout out for the support kings. You met Z-Smith.
I was going to say,
you met Gorgo Knight, right?
Right.
This duality that some of these players have that they're baiting and trading, what about the support kings that may not pick up the eliminations but set their teammate up for success?
I was going to give it to any of the anchors. You have to throw it to Hisoka. That play that he made in the first one, that is game-changing when you're looking at the placements. I'm glad you're bringing that up. It's unfortunate that it's not down to the literal most valuable player who's making all those plays. It's down to the kill leader because there's so many plays from them that is just pushing them into that situation. Even Knight, he's been stepping up for the team. And Almond, he was talking about in the end game, in those circles, he's the one that's been making the calls for Fnatic, and that's what's getting them to that position. It's what's putting them in that conversation. So you do have to show some love to them.
Got to show some love to the Slayers, the support kings, and obviously who ends up winning it all. And what are they playing for, right? We've been talking about the club championship trophy. Let's talk about the money. $1 million to be earned. And hey, look, all 21 are going to be getting it, but regardless, though, number 1 gets $200,000 plus that MVP for $50,000. Put it up to $250,000. That is absolutely nutty, life-changing, and there's a couple looking to overtake the top earners when it comes to Warzone.
Yeah, absolutely. There are. We already talked about it. Tommy, the fact that he's sitting on that Olula roster, the current #1 earner across Warzone
Yo
history,
pensaba que era
will
$1
not have a
millón
chance to
para...
earn any more
Pero
money
está bien,
this
el primero.
week. But Biffle, Shifty again,
Se lleva
two of those
200,000.
players from Team Falcons that could well overtake. And Falcons, I mean, they looked hot yesterday. Surely they're going to do it here.
Well, you would think so. You would hope so anyways, but it's going to be intense. Who will be the top earner? And that's a great question to ask, I think, everybody out there, but also when it comes down to our casters. What's going on? We got Goj, we got Shift looking fresh to death. Shift actually didn't see the top earlier, so it's nice to see it now, man. I'm liking the red.
Thanks, man. You know, just want to keep you on your toes down there, Taylor. That's all I'm looking to do.
Mira, bestiólogo.
Taylor, thanks. I appreciate it. Shift, it's our time to shine here in the final 4 maps, and frankly, it's the team's time to shine. We got 3 teams at the top. We had a chance to look at the leaderboard. Des broke it all down, and frankly, it's not close. 3 teams at the top, and then a massive drop-off down in 4th and beyond.
The thing about it is I
Mira,
don't
Jeremy.
rule out any team that finds themselves above kind of like the top 8 right now, just due to the fact that we've seen some massive point totals be tallied in a single game. It doesn't even have to be a win. We've seen teams pull together 20-plus points by just finishing in the top 3. So there's definitely are opportunities for those squads, but it does feel like we have some of our favorites right off the get-go.
I got a lot we can talk about here. The game's about to get started shortly, and I gotta say, Fnatic going wild on the map right now. Something has clicked for this team. I'm excited to see what they do in this next drop here shortly. We're gonna head back to the STC Arena to reintroduce our players.
Welcome back to the STC Arena, where we have hit the midway point in our Call of Duty Warzone Finals at the Esports World Cup. Today,
te voy a enseñar algo, no sé si ya te lo enseñé.
to go ahead. However, Milos, what's happened now?
You know what? Fnatic
Voy a
were
prender
hot
la
on their
camarita.
tails of Falcons and Twisted Minds also in those first 2 games. And then Fnatic, what did they do? Back-to-back wins, baby. And now they are #1 on top. Oh, we're going to have to see how the rest of the games go, because this means we have no idea who's going to take it at this point in time. We're going to have to go through our next 4 maps. Speaking of which, Barney, can you tell what time it is?
It's game time!
Yes, indeed it is! Let's then toss it to our casters and get game number 4 on the road.
Wow, I love our stage host, Shift. What a great introduction. So excited to get into the latter half of this event. I broke it down at the very beginning of kind of the match of the week. No, this is Grand Finals. Every map counts. We are in the mid-game right now, and a lot of ground to make up to end up building your foundation for the end game of this tournament, which is the final 2 maps. We still have 2 to go before we get to the end game.
Absolutely, and I think the thing about this is a lot of time for our players to either say, hey, I know things aren't going well, but trust the process, or, whoa, things aren't going well, we got to change things up. So my eyes are on Na'Vi off the opening drop. They have been battling in the opening first couple of circles because they love to try to get that top prison control. We saw it all day yesterday. They have not been able to find that same success. So, will
¿Lo
they
viste o no lo viste,
process
Jeren?
or will they bail? On the other side, Team AB Wiz, they have gotten in the top 5 every single game save essentially won, but they have not been able to put together a lot of kills. So can they figure out how they can get more points with these good placements they put together?
It's such a great call out. Na'Vi is the squad I'm watching as well. They're down in
Santorio.
7th place right now. And we got to remind everybody, you saw the prizing delineation. It is a massive spread, of course, favoring the top 3 teams. But even just 4th, winning $80,000 versus 8th of $40,000. That's doubling your money. And that spread from 4th to 8th is only like 8 points. Very, very tight race. Omit is even in that still if things can go their way this time around. But Na'Vi focusing on placement now, they really got to find kills, and it's all about that early engagement.
They got to survive. That's been the biggest thing, and that has been kind of the moniker across all of the teams that we found dropping out, even before the Resurgence respawn timer closes out. So there are a lot of things that are going to add some extra conversation fuel to what these guys have been talking about over the course of the last 20 minutes. So it'll be really curious, I think, again, do they trust the process? Do they change it up? We're about to find out.
Well, Falcons, they're not on top right now. It is Fnatic. The biggest game of the entire tournament has been logged. 60 points, now the new metric. A ridiculous statistic. 30 kills in their last map on a victory.
Mira, dímelo, abuelo.
Points and up by 19 on the second. You've got to win to take home the grand prize. $200,000 on the line at the top, plus that 50K top fragger. This can only be an incredible finish to this tournament.
Absolutely the case, and I'll just be now curious to see who's going to be able to contest against the pace that Fnatic have now established in these last 2 games. High kills, great placement, everything going their way. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Match 5 is here, and our players are dropping into Rebirth Island. The battle for prison, the battle for the glory, the battle for your, I guess, your enemy's keys as well. So a lot on the line for a lot of our players. But here it is, top of prison. Almond's here first, and it looks like maybe free and clear this time around.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Na'Vi in the mix at all. You got to keep an eye out for them. They're number 10. They're actually defaulting to playing down a little bit closer to the control center. So there could be an early battle here. Again, great placements for them, but not a lot of kills. So both these 2 teams really need to find a win in this opening duel.
And this is the change of strategy we've seen from Amit. Reminder, they dropped HQ during group stage.
Hey, papi, durito.
The whole time, so no one wants to fight them, and we've got
Tengo a
across the screen, but it's an early encounter here from Levi.
Tengo a Zorro, tengo a Lo, Naruto, Sasuke, tengo a Tanjiro, pero Tanjiro es chiquito, la Nezuko, tengo a Nezuko bien grande.
Both these 2 teams very desperate to find one another. Other battles going on. Keep an eye just in the kill feed off of what Guild and Team Ryzen are doing, because they've also been landing on each other.
Papi, mira, papi, el Elon ese está matando, papi.
5 out of 5 as we see mascots of Twisted Minds in the stadium.
Usted no está escondido allá.
Our crowd today, they've been
¿Qué está?
so loud for a number of different different teams. Excited to see how loud they can get near the end of this event. But we got
Tiene todo abajo. Vale, píllenlo. Va subiendo uno. Ahí va Teno a coger belgazo.
As you can see, like you said, Destroy way over there, just hanging out by themselves. Things have not been going their way today. They're way down at the bottom of the leaderboard.
And there is a lot of this air of caution right now kind of coming through as we now take a look at a kill feed once again. Aiden and co starting to get into a little bit of trouble, so that's going to completely push them off their drop position. And now as we looked over towards the rest of the map, Fnatic looking to finish them off. Fit might be the last player left in this position, yeah. So he's going to get finished, and that's going to be Fnatic dominating over one of the drop points for Twisted Minds.
This is a huge take reminder. Your top three teams, Twisted Minds, Fnatic, Falcons,
Le metieron seco a Biffle.
them engage with each other. You'll watch these players back out and move around the map. We've got a wide spread of players all around the map. The new circle favoring the north side, which means Stronghold. Falcons, they've got to move, and they are going to start moving now.
Yeah, and HyperX is the only team that's really going to be able to contest them over towards that bottom side at Factory, so really they should feel pretty comfortable to get themselves fully looted up. The only other team nearby is Zizik's team, who really have not played all that well compared to what they were able to put together yesterday. So keep an eye on that as we get further into it. But again, this battle for Prison has been where a lot of our kind of marquee squads in terms of club championship potentially have been playing, and Ryzen squad much better this time through. They're essentially going to cut through the entire
Rodrigo partiendo Cherry Brown.
so they're going to win Prison here.
That's the first time we've seen Team Ryzen finally come out on top. I'm not sure they changed any strategy. They just finally won it. Now, 1 out of every 5 times, not going to be enough. We'll see if they can continue to do it as Crims does cut down Shifty. Now Biffle trying to get into the action. Hamoud making a flank play here. Biffle on the stairs, though. Hamoud can't connect with anything. Biffle makes it look easy. It's going to clean up Hamoud here if Crims doesn't make a play. Crims is there in time. Hamoud should be able to self-revive. This is looking dire for the Falcons, and all of a sudden, they're readdressing this fight from a different angle. They know if they fall here, it could prove difficult. Now their teammate respawns. There's the take and the PA to help out. That right there is a team play.
That was sick, dude. Whoever was on the parachute was just acting as a manned UAV. So not a UAV, just an aerial vehicle, completely manned out, and it's like, hey, they're still above you on the guns. That's enough for a full revive to come out. Plus, of course, like you mentioned, the airstrike. Huge recovery from Falcons.
El team ese de Falcon está jugando, uno campea por si acaso los matan a los otros dos, los otros salen. Y como Shifty y Biffle son unas bestias, papi, se van por ahí a matar gente. Mira, al fin Teno, he visto que Teno mata a alguien. Al fin.
Putting some more points on the board. Shifty, Hisoka playing slow, but they do have to rotate. This is an unfavorable zone for the Falcons. You could see them fall a bit earlier if they're not careful. They know that, though. They're going to play pretty slow. They're going to play
Pues papi, te voy a decir que Teno es la chata de aquí. El otro team, GT, como se llame, y el OM, están sacando la cara por él. Están número 8.
This could get really nasty. Skullface just the pistol dropping in. Will not be able to catch Wars by surprise. Noobs was trying to get isolated for another pick, but not going to work out. So again, 3 of our top squads battling for position bottom side Prison.
Heretics out immediately. First team gone. Heretics have not been playing the same game.
GTEC y el Olam están sacando la cara por Tenu, cabrón. En todo lo que he visto, todas las partidas que he visto, Tenu yo creo que se ha ido en coca. Y por lo menos mató uno en esta. No, los Boris yo creo que no van para ningún lado, hablando claro. Tienen que hacer, papi, en todos los juegos matar bastante, por lo menos como 20 o más.
You want to rotate too, because going through Prison is not an easy task, especially with squads like Amit that are fully formed and ready to go. And you can see that's kind of the issue now for Zig's team. They're trying to make their way kind of around the outside through the bottom side of the circle, but this is just being contested by so many different squads. I mean, you've got legitimately 5 different full teams that are looking to play for this spot on the buy station.
The Zig's team making a nice rotation here. They are one of the top slayers in this map, but they're way down in 11th place right now. They need a banger and a win to even be in the conversation. We head back to Fnatic on top of Prison, where they love to live. They've been living here since scrims, into solos, into group stages.
Sí, papi, Tenu trabaja con el municipio. Tiene un contrato con el piso, pero feo. Le metieron seco a Piffle. rifle.
Possibly find a way to fight, but not gonna happen. Biffle, Shifty, both
Me
taken down.
metieron.
Who do you know it? It's the local and Hamoud and Zik
Buena.
to take them out of the picture. So now it's just down to Biffle. Last one, or probably Hisoka, last one left, and he just has to hold this corner away for his teammates to jump on in. While all of a sudden you look at the kill feed.
Mira, papi, el Olan.
Patsuka coming to life.
Nada más ve el nombre de Olan y de G-Tech. El nombre de Tenus lo ves más que cuando lo matan. Sí, pero no sé por qué se mete tanta presión, porque cuando él juega en su casa es una bestia, más está... Cuando tú lo ves en la casa del papi, mata 60, 50... ¿Entiendes? Si así como tú juegas en tu casa, coño, también enseña que juegas así en un torneito, ¿me entiendes? Ve, ellos están número 8, el team de Tenu.
Yeah, if you're wondering who's gone, by the way, Singapore Syndicate out. They're your second team fully eliminated. That means there's only 12 still on the map as a resurgence timer slowly ticking by. Still plenty of players alive, still plenty of teams. King Matty trying to get some sort of momentum in this map, but over and over again getting pushed by multiple teams. Finally gets the better of one, but it's all in the back. Rodrigo is all by himself. He could lose his life here. 1 second remaining, gets his teammate back. They are still alive. Barely breathing.
Just barely, and it's not going to feel good for Rodrigo. You know that your teammate coming down is not going to be able to really help you too much because it's just so messy on the top of the prison, which, by the way, Falcons have gotten high ground control. You can see Almond off to Shifty's left. He is sniping right now, by the way, so you have to be careful if your Falcons try to come across, as it's Guild, who did get kind of pushed off that angle inside. They have to take the water landing and stay outside the picture, try to get themselves bit.
Papi, para yo poder ir al mundial eso, tengo que estar jugando, mami, por lo menos un año todos los días, 8 horas. Y ponerme, ya tú sabes, bien pillo.
Going into closing of Resurgence. This is where you can pick up a ton of eliminations here. We've got 52 seconds until the Resurgence timer.
Quizá para el 2027.
People will breathe for a second, and then teams will be fully eliminated in a blink of an eye. We still have 12. Everyone holding on to their lives is destroyed, trying to fly back in.
This prison area is just not going to go to any one team, it feels like. Everyone keeps finding a way to get themselves back into full groups of 3. Msi and the rest of the crew try to make their way over, but at the moment, you really got to take a look to see if Twisted Minds can get themselves back into fighting form. I mean, they are a little bit safer towards the back side. They can rotate a little bit late, but they have to get this buy out. They are near a buy station, so they should get a full loadout here soon as we head back on board with Falcons, still trying to win out the high ground, but Aizen's team back as a full 3 as well, looking to get some action with Team Zix, and they're winning out the day.
That's a huge win down below. Zix was one of the top ranking teams.
Rodrigo, papi, el Rodrigo ese juega bien. ¿Quién carajo será ese?
Holding on by the hair of their chin, and now finally all back alive. They're finding some success. Barely every time, but it's working. Look at the rest of our squad. Our resurgent timer fully closed. Everybody at risk of being fully eliminated from this lobby, and we do lose another.
Yeah, AB was, we talked about them. They've been placing well. They have not been able to find kills. They're setting themselves up for placement at the top side of the circle you saw for a moment. But as we, again, look at the rotation, a lot of the pressure is going to come about who gets through Industries next. That's the next hot spot as it finds itself center circle. Falcons still looking to win the high ground out. And
Mira, están usando la Holger 26.
At least a couple of the members from Fnatic, keeping them at bay just a little while longer.
That third team eliminated is Na'Vi. They cannot get the placements they had during group stages. Something is not working, whether it's just team fights or maybe groups was just that much easier. Teams are playing different. You heard the players talk about this. Teams are playing different. What they're doing is they're playing together, making these hard, aggressive, high-risk, high-reward playstyle plays where you're pushing as a full team of 3. It's a huge boon. Also a huge boon when Biffle just shoots straight and finds eliminations right up under the nose of AB Wiz & Co. And they're going to swing on this fight. They believe they can win this. They have a nice position on edge of zone, and the only team contesting them is AB Wiz.
This is a brilliant freaking macro decision from Falcons.
Papi, está más
escondido. The high ground at prison, you know that you can rotate low and long because no one's guarding you from the high ground. So they get involved, they get a couple of knocks, but still AB Wiz stays strong. They have to bunker up. The circle is just on the outside, so this is going to be an inevitable battle here between between Falcons and AB Wiz.
Off screen, Guild is on 13 eliminations on the all far right-hand side, but right now, the battle on screen, the battle for the best spot on the map currently, and it's not close. They do lose Hisoka. They are low in health, and AB Wiz is still alive somehow. Throwing shots down does drop Shifty, but Biffle makes it look easy. Answers, wiped. See you later, AB Wiz. You might have been second in groups, but today, you're not even close.
And no matter actually here through the smoke for the buy station, which is what the Falcons actually want. Squad wipe on to team number 7. That's going to be Eisen's team, who did well through prison, but outside of any major multiplier. So the rotation for Falcons still going to get
buena, Tenu los pudo comprar los
the
dos.
circle to keep your eye on. Guild, like you mentioned, on a bit of a burner. They find themselves right in the mix of all this action you're seeing in the kill feed right now. Twisted Minds playing through the gas, not looking all that healthy. That they're being gate kept by Fnatic. So a couple of our heavy-hitting squads still in position to try to take a couple of the key fights.
The mood wiped above. I'm looking at Team Vitality on 17 eliminations, bottom prison, fighting for their lives. They're down way down in 10th place on the leaderboard. This is the game they needed. They make top 8 as well off screen as Skullface is getting his resources up, and Fnatic continues to hold the high ground position. They've got power position. Finally, Twisted Minds answer and do find Skull.
Duro.
Right now, they're hanging out and by getting resources
Está
from
muy
in-game.
shifty.
We are here in-game.
Tumbaron a Biffle, duro.
Teams looking for top 5 next multiplier.
Difficult battle right here between Falcons and Amit. Lots of damage starting to get tallied, but it looks like they're still waiting to get Biffle fully revived and up into the action. Damage traded from both hands. This is an aggressive game of tag, but it finally has to make a move. Falcons trying to make play over towards the high ground. They get the read down low on Elolam. He'll drop. Shifty around the back, going to get a little bit more safety. No. He gets the shot for
Ah, buena, Tenus, cabrón. Buena.
Who can now reset as the late
Tenus partió. Partió ahí, cabrón.
They're going to fall on this leaderboard a little bit, especially with Fnatic still alive and Twisted Minds. Watch out for both of those two teams. There are top 2 squads.
Papi, el Team Falcon va a bajar ahora en esta partida.
They've made top 6. They have a crazy amount of eliminations, staring down the barrel of 20 kills as a team.
Sí, papi, Tenus partió ahí, cabrón. La mataron.
The other part about this, though, is that Guild are also putting together a bit of a heater, and they are right below them. So it's who wins out, the team up top or the team down low. And there's going to be contest. Vitality in trouble as Smitten Aiden make the play forward. Msi and last one left alive. There is explosions all over. Looks like a Michael Bay film out here. And Vitality will survive and wipe the ground. Now it's just down to our final couple of squads.
A massive mortar falls. Aiden gets the elimination. Vitality is gone. They achieve their multiplier. Here we go. Destroy, welcome to the party, my friend. Not a ton of eliminations to boot. It's all about Guild. Right now, Guild making a move. They need to make a move.
El team de Tenus.
Finally doing it 5. We've got the zone closing. The final zone is going to shrink down on these
Diablo,
teams now, folks at home.
cabrón.
We've got multipliers galore. It is all about the win.
Papi, esta gente está apretando, papi. Team Falcon.
Need it bad. Destroy's team is on 4 kills. Guild is on 15. This could be a 30-plus point game if they can get the full wipe. And right now, it's just about who makes the first move.
It's going to be a heal. It's going to be a heal off. There's no way that they want to get rid of the high ground. There are mines all over.
No, ¿qué tú haces?
We'll try to check to see where are they. So he gets the information. Wait a second, Guild. Where are we going right now? They have to leave the building. That seems to be the case. A little bit of an opportunity for Vision to possibly sneak on forward, but he's super low. He can't quite get into the circle, and Team Destroy will steal away a win. But second place with a lot of kills. Guild won't feel too terribly about that.
Yeah, you can see the look on Destroyed's team.
Tenus partió ahí eliminando al team de Hisoka. Partieron. Por lo menos hicieron algo ahí por la IWA.
They don't have enough. I think they had a total of 6 kills, which would be 12 points. Guild, though, thwarted from a massive game that they desperately needed. Reminder, Guild down in 6th place, only 41.2 points after 4. Chip, that was a 30-point game staring at them, and it will fall to somewhere around about 25.
Yeah, and Guild right now is finding themselves in the position of teams like SGP Syndicate, where they're placing better than they did yesterday. They're kind of getting rid of the ultimate outliers, which are those 14th and 13th place finishes. But
ahí Tenus subió como a todo.
So
Top 6. Puede ser.
They're going to overall think that this is going to be a success, but still some more to be done.
Well, let's hear from Destroy in the SDC Arena with Banks.
SDC Arena, where I'm joined by Team Destroy, who it seems was getting like points that you really needed. What was the intermission like? You had 20 minutes to kind of gather your thoughts. What did you guys talk about?
Yeah, during the intermission, we kind of just had to get a strategy down just because our first 4 games, we were very uncoordinated. We didn't really have an anchor set on who was going to play the anchor. This game, my boy Nate was playing the anchor. He allowed me and Raul to go a little bit of rogue. We didn't get as many kills as we wanted, but that's the start to the flow change that we wanted right there. So look forward to not only another dub next game, but more kills in the future coming up right here. So that's a good turn of events to get our flow from last place, obviously, to bring us up a little bit there.
Speaking of flow, it kind of seems like the pace of play has slowed down a little bit.
Sí, papi, obligado.
Do you feel like people are kind of a bit more precautious?
Papi, porque el team ese de Falcon está bien pillo, cabrón. Hisoka, Default y el otro. Diablo, papi.
And teams don't want to get wiped early and stuff like that. But I think as long as we just rotate and get to a nice spot and pick up a couple of kills on the rotation, that we should continue to be fine and get some more points as well as another dub or 2.
Destroy, you've been absolutely amazing. Congratulations so far, Team Destroy. Let's hope you bring home some more dubs in the second half of this day. Also, your brother's going crazy backstage.
Thank you. Shout out to you guys back at home. Just give me my money. Let's go.
Ooh, okay. With that being said, we're going to head back into our next map of the day to continue the finals.
All right, we are back, man. Hey, check it out. What a good game, and a game for those who needed a regain. We talked about halftime. Those first 4 games blazingly fast, right? Teams needed to settle down a bit, reconvene, figure out what's going on. It's Resurgence after all. It's all about recovering, and I think a couple of teams definitely did. Team Destroy is wonderful. They take the victory.
Yeah, my team, baby, Raul. But some of those plays, yeah, I know. We were like, wait, what's going on in those endgame moments? But for Team Destroy, making those adjustments, and they were landing a little bit around living quarters and control, not winning those engagements, falling early. I believe in one of those drops, I believe the very first game. They were the very first team to fall. So talking amongst each other's and like, okay, what do we need to do to adjust? They were able to step it up.
Step it up and step it up they did, but also Guild, a team that's looking to come up from the depths of the bottom of the leaderboard. That is a tremendous win.
Yeah, you asked me before we went to the break and starting into the second half of the games, what teams kind of we were looking at to maybe break into that top 3, and Guild were in that conversation. They were not too far away. Well, they were far away when it comes down to points, but they were not far down the leaderboard when it comes down to trying to work their way up. In a second place finish with a good amount of kills, that is 1 step out of 4 steps taken to try to move back up to contest these teams for a win. It's not going to be easy at all, but it's more of that from Guild that you hope to see going into the next 3 games.
Well, let's take a look at the final blow, the final moments, that final zone really in general, and there was maybe some wasted opportunities, Infinity.
Yeah, so I want to see this again, because I noticed there was a bit of bad timing, I think. there was a player that went deep into the gas, and I think it was Vision. But either way here, I think just timing was not great for Guild on this push. I think they kind of felt forced. They split up to try and make this hit at the same time, and unfortunately just get pushed out there. Wars gets overwhelmed by Destroy, and the players inside the gas just not much of a chance.
But can we talk about how Team Destroy was able to get up there? Because for the longest time, it was Team Vitality that had control. They were in 8th place going into that drop, and they were able to pick up so many eliminations to hopefully skyrocket them. But that 1v1 between Z-Smith and Exian, that was key right there, because I don't know if you guys saw it, Noobs was actually coming up from the scaffolding and actually got, I believe it was Exian in the back. So with the streak that was used by Aiden, beautiful plays to be able to take down Vitality to let Destroy and them have control over top Prison.
It's big for Twisted Minds, who were playing for placement at the end there. You saw them towards the bottom of Prison, wrapping in towards the Industries. They knew they wanted the height. They knew it was going to be tough to kind of move into a high-populated final circle. So it was the right call for Twisted Minds to make. The only thing is, I don't think you expected for Vitality to have a game like that. And, to talk about Fnatic and Twisted Minds again finding themselves into the end game, that is good placement for both of those teams who are still finding kills. It's going to keep them ahead of the Falcons, or just in and around the Falcons today.
Yeah, taking a look at our highlights, you start to see some teams start to challenge themselves, specifically top 3, okay? Who are we talking about? Falcons, Fnatic, Twisted Minds, I think in that order, if I'm not mistaken. This, though, starting off was a big save. Biffle saving the day.
Yeah, Biffle saves the day, but can we talk about Team Zix, though, how their strategies have changed Reflections, because they were also on drop number 2, the first team to fall, landing between Control and Living, but deciding to make that play. Biffle did play spoiler, even on that rotation that you liked this play right here.
This rotation was brilliant. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes down to the Team Falcons, they understand if they go forward off of Prison Roof, they are going to run into about 3 or 4 different players that are sitting on top of the water tower. That's not a good option, and it gets really scrappy going from there, either over towards control or even a little bit further. It's not easy, so they take the best course of action. They go left, they use the side of the hill as cover, and eventually come to the backside of Abwiz and his crew, who's already in a fight, mind you, I believe with Omit, who's just above them. So for me, that was a great rotation. Seymour, you do see it a bit different, though.
I mean, you had top Prison in your control. Nobody was going to be contesting you. You had Fnatic a little bit ahead of you, and you had underneath you as Ryzen, but there was so much time to make that rotation. I don't think it was the wrong call to drop off of Prison over and towards that zone. I think it was a little bit too early. I think Falcons got a little bit too hungry seeing those teams fighting. They wanted to jump in on that opportunity. They thought they could take that control, but instead they kind of put themselves in a path where they had to move through so many teams just to get to that final circle. And I didn't think I agreed with it. It didn't really pay off for them.
Yeah, and I will say, to be fair, I think their immediate thought was, we have to deal with Abwiz. You knew Abwiz was going to be by the docks. You knew they were going to be a constant problem, because if they do push to Prison at that point from the low ground, you know that Abwiz are going to try and take you down. So getting rid of Abwiz, I think that was just their priority in the moment.
Well, Abwiz is actually one of the most perfect at least segues. Abwiz, we had a chance to actually speak to him. Here what he had to say is he's tearing it up on the battlefield. What did Abwiz say?
Hey guys, it's Puckett backstage. AB Wiz just came off the stage, and I wanted to ask you about, so far, your team's performance. Through 4 drops, you seem to be right in the middle of the heap. We almost saw you win a round. How do you feel the team's playing?
A little frantic, a bit uncoordinated. It's just, we have 2 really slow games, so we're trying to make up for it, and it's just...
Papi, no sé cuánta gente se llevó.
Still not over, so...
I was going to say, you still have a second half coming up here, and the comeback is always alive with that multiplier being a 2.0 for first place. What is it going to take for you guys to take that spot?
First place, I don't know if it's even possible anymore, but of course, every single placement is a big gap in the money, so we're still going to go out there and take every point we can.
And who's been your toughest opponent so far on your drop spot?
No, nobody's fighting us, that's the thing. We cleared it out the past 2 days in the group stages, and nobody fights us anymore, so now we're having to row, which we didn't do yesterday. We just took the kills as they came, and then we rotated with the loot that we got from those kills, but now we're having to rotate into kills, and it's just a different ballgame.
Well, just so you know, the fans are going wild for you guys when you're on the screen in the chat. Best of luck moving forward. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Sí, Jeremy, lo más seguro lo de ahorita.
There it is, Abwiz saying nobody's challenging them. They want to fight, but nobody wants to fight them. And can you blame the competition? They're on fire. And speaking of which, so are we. Game 4 is done. Let's get into game number 5 and keep the tournament going.
Thanks, Taylor Reflections Noble. Hey, I love that we had a great breakdown there of some of the teams, and frankly, I think the best word for it was frantic. You heard it from AB Wiz. I think that's the case for most of the teams. Everybody looks so frantic on the map besides our top 3 teams.
I was going to say, and maybe there's some lack of experience, veterancy that's being missed right now. But the good news for the teams that had a great map is the jump that both Guild and Vitality just put together, able to snap up above not just AB Wiz, but also SGP Syndicate. They're still kind of in shouting distance, maybe not touching distance of the
Diablo,
top 3,
Team
but
Falcon.
at least in the picture now with those good maps.
Well, reminder,
Es por los kills que hacen los hijos de puta. Ellos matan mucha gente. No vi en
Abwiz even just said, like, I don't even know if first is possible anymore. Don't love the mentality, but maybe mathematically could be somewhat correct. But we got to talk about the top as we're about to hop into this map. A 20-point gap, which means that gap was not lessened, gained, nothing. It's the exact same as it was
No vi dónde estaba el team de Tenux.
Number 6 is here. Ladies and gentlemen, the crowd's going wild. Keep that energy up. Cheer for your favorite teams. I'm sure it's either Twisted Minds or maybe it is the Falcons. Here we go. Fnatic on top, though. We'll see if maybe one of our oldest orgs in the game can grab a victory here in Warzone.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about, the conversation around our teams in the middle is, again, what landing spots do you want to keep going to? Because we've seen it. This battle for Prison has been pretty huge, and once again, we've got Na'Vi fighting up against Amit. This time, Amit are prepared for it. 10X able to get the high ground, so the pistol works out. A little battle up close and personal, gets the crack, and a little bit of a help for, I believe, what was a knock. So again, Na'Vi in trouble. No, Zeppa just hits the dirt, so he's just trying to play a little bit of survival tactics right now.
Yeah, what's crazy about this hot drop, this is just 8th versus 9th, just chalking each other's tournaments. I mean,
Correct.
over and over again, destabilized, trading each other's kills. It looks like Na'Vi getting the short end of the stick on this fight. They were trying to hunt Limax down here just to wipe him off the map and get rid of him, but player has gotten right back into it. So these are great kills for Omit if they can grab all of them, which it looks like they likely will.
Yep.
They've got a nice early lead over most of the competition, winning their early drop with, I think, a total of 3 eliminations. Only the Zix team doing that off screen.
Na'Vi has got to be, well, saying words in Australian that are very appropriate, but not for this broadcast. They have to be frustrated. 10th, 11th, and 12th have been their placements so far, which is so different from yesterday. But that's what happens. When you got teams like Guild, teams like Fnatic that want to put a lot of presence topside prison, they're just not comfortable on these drops.
Twisted Minds, a top team, a frustrating last map, slowly falling down the leaderboard, about 9 points behind the Falcons. They need another good one, they need it now. Again, we're playing for a lot of money at the top.
Papi, Temos otra vez en el piso.
Plus the 50K bounty, plus just the title of an Esports World Cup champion.
Yeah, just a lot of things on the line there, brother. It's a whole laundry list of things you could check through.
El Skullface ese es una bestia ahí, tío.
Who's around them? This is the Heretic squad who often stay very safe and get last circle
Ves que el cabrón ese de Shifty mata con cojones. Mira, otra vez Temu, para el piso, papi. Se le partieron el tobillo.
But you know, one team that's not changing up their strategy is the Falcons. They're sending 2 out. They're leaving Hisoka in Stronghold by himself. There's not anyone close to Hisoka in a country mile as Twisted Minds do clean up a couple kills here on screen here in Factory. Again, these top teams, they're kind of farming some of the squads that are really struggling today, adding insult to injury. If you can mental boom a team, I mean, you're going to catch all of them for free and maybe even more.
Well, here's the thing. Keep an eye on this fight because Heretics think they may be able to find this remote building to get themselves looted up again. That's not the case. Aiden does pre-fire the corner. Trust that Knight can follow up. Good bait and switch coming through. And yeah, Heretics have no drop spot right now. You can see the other member, number 12, is just floating through the backside of the gas, just trying to find something for them to land on.
Yeah, and lurking in the corner, the Falcons are here.
Papi, Tenus trabaja con las Cemex en Ponce.
Aiden right now, Shifty and Biffle up on high ground with a nice angle. Couple teams in this area. It looks like Na'Vi trying to regain in Factory as well, which certainly isn't going to go well. You can see Limax over by Shifty, but back to Prison we go. We see Fnatic on top. They've got a nice 4 to 5 kills in total as a team, and seemingly all is clear on the Western front.
Yeah, and they've cleared the Western front. Now they're going to the Eastern front. They know that, hey,
literal, cabrón,
area, there must be someone on the opposite as, once again, here is that little revive trying to come through for Na'Vi, completely denied. They're running into full squads wherever they try to land. Other teams that are doing the same thing right now, Heretics we talked about, but also New Icons. Neither of these teams can find any stable ground to get any loot.
Off screen, Omit knows the script. Hisoka by himself, they know if we go Stronghold, we saw Shifty and Biffle way up into living quarters. We know we can drop on Hisoka as a team of 3 and win that, striking away at their anchor and taking Stronghold for ourselves. So now Omit is the only team in Stronghold, as it looks like, well, unfortunately, Fnatic is continuing their tear through this map, taking out Zix and fully eliminating them from the lobby.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like, you may be able to isolate our anchor, but when our front line is that far forward, winning so many gunfights, the anchor just moves. You just pass the baton and say, okay, now we're going to anchor ourselves around living quarters. And again,
papi, no ves, Shifty es el
their boots on the ground, man. They're getting
Shifty, papi, está destruyendo a todo el mundo, cabrón. Shifty los está matando bien fácil.
Literally, this looks like ranked. You're taking out 2, you're leaving 1 alive, and then you're farming them as they fall back in because they don't have their loadout. It's just as simple as that. Now Omit having to rotate in. They're going to run back into the Falcons. The Falcons want their position back, and unfortunately falling, but should be totally fine here. No real angles from Omit, not yet. But that's what Elo's going for. Has some loadout weapons, has the angles. The high ground here is huge because the only way up here is via a ladder, or of course flying back in after you die. So should be feeling pretty comfortable here unless a C4 hits him in the face.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those moments where it's breach and clear. There's the C4, there's the smoke, there's the play. I mean, Exhibit A of how to break a ladder setup, showcased by the Falcons. They will, again, anchor up this living quarters position. Omit will have to drop over towards strongholds.
Papi, ellos saben lo que tienen que hacer. C4 y subimos. Subimos toda la vez.
Which is where the circle's starting to pull towards.
Well, we got to go check in on Guild in the middle of the map in Prison. Again, a fight for Prison. It looks like it's likely Fnatic on top, Guild down below. Guild has won the low ground. Fnatic has won the high ground. Off the offhand side here over by Kim, it looks like, again, Heretics cannot get anything going.
Yeah, the other thing about this is not only our new icons.
El Los S, papi, ha cogido tiros como el diantre.
kind of salmon color.
Tiene un
That's
contrato con el
SGP
piso.
Syndicate. So again, there's no free ground to land on anywhere.
Well, it looks like off screen we've got Skullface fighting Knight. Looks like Squad 7's out of here, by the way. Our second squad to fall yet again. Aizen can't get anything going with Guild in the way. Bottom prison is all Guild's territory right now, especially the last two maps. It looks like Twisted Mind's in a bit of a blender as well. It was actually Fnatic that pushed over and cleared them off that POI. But now, back here to Twisted Minds, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this restabilization. They're in a blender, which could open a window of opportunity. And here comes it. You can see it, Team 2, lurking in the shadows. Fnatic want to take down Twisted Minds. That's their main competition right now.
The problem is Twisted Minds have a very free and safe loadout drop, plus the ammo drop to get themselves essentially right back to where they finished from when they dropped. So even though it may not feel comfortable in terms of the positions they hold, they do have the full weapons that they want. Also, another scope over towards that Spec side of ship. They are going to be able to find number 10. That is Na'Vi again, who continues
Mira, papi, Shifty, 8 kills.
every squad bottom side of the
Papi,
map.
está pillo el cabrón.
Free for Falcons. I mean, they're getting free kill after free kill. Na'Vi will not be fully eliminated. They're still alive. The Falcons are on 11 already, and it's almost entirely on the backs of Na'Vi, who's handed them kills. And unfortunate for them, Navi's doing what they can. There's nothing wrong about what they're trying to do. They just can't stabilize. They're getting killed everywhere they try to land. And we're going to head back to last map winners. Raul on 4, still fighting over here with Control, and it's Omit back on Control, taking this position, especially with new zone coming.
Yeah, Amit decided they didn't want to fight Falcons anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, so you rotate up to try to get some positioning around the top side of the circle where Control Center is, and like you said, it is
cogieron a ese y le dieron
area. But still, Falcons is spreading the map. I mean, they have, and you can see it on this expanded mini-map right now, they have got the entire
Ya lo tienen tique como el diantre.
just because they're playing.
No sé si te estás dando cuenta, ellos no compran loro, o ellos compran pistola y vamos a dar tiro por ahí. Y mira todos los chavos que tienen. Con todos esos chavos al final, papi, compran que si Precision, que si Cluster, todo. ¿Me entiendes? Y si tú matas a alguien con Lora, pues papi, le quitamos los perks y ya, tienes perks. Eso es una jugada dura también.
But the Falcons run 14 right now. It's not close, and we still have a few more seconds, about a minute and a half or so until that resurgence timer closes.
Guild and Fnatic are fighting right now. If we can get either squad 11 or 2 right, this would be pivotal because whoever wins that battle out.
Papi, el Elolan ese juega bien.
And kind of looking at it, at least on our expanded map, it looks like Guild have pushed off Fnatic almost completely. So Guild in a great spot to try to come from the north side of the map and possibly one up their performance from last game.
Look at this Almond all by himself. Does have a portable buy station if he needs it. Is going to go ahead and just re-buy back his teammates. Not going to take any risks here. We still have 55 seconds on Resurgence. But if you wait 20 seconds, look who's lurking. Look who's coming. The Falcons know they are flying in. They are soaring for power position. And right now, it is HQ.
Yeah, they see Almond's buyback and they say, okay, do you want to buy someone up here? We'll just head right on over. Again, they've controlled this bottom third of the map for free. Now all the streaks start to rain on in. Skullface on the way back, trying to get himself some safety. He's got to go all the way to the bottom floor. So once again, Falcons in a position to try to swoop in on this, but also the same way, AB Wiz, top side of the high ground, has got to look at this as well.
Well, this is a brand new AB Wiz team. They're playing a totally different strategy. Let's get top prison. Why not? Yeah. We haven't seen them top prison since, I think, game 1 of group stages, finally making a move to the inner parts of the map rather than the outer parts, and seemingly finding some success, finding Ahsoka, as we see in
bueno, es bueno ver estos torneitos porque uno aprende estrategia y pues,
but right now, the only teams near prison that have any sort of semblance of stabilization. Quick look at the map here as Luganis is trying to find the Syndicate team, and our Resurgence closes.
Así era que yo aprendí en Talco, me ponía a ver cualquier, me ponía a ver la Pestil y a Lammer, aprendía cosas nuevas.
Side of the circle is through prison. So teams like Guild, teams like AB Wiz, teams like Amit that we've all talked about being on the north side will have to rotate down towards Fnatic and Falcons. Things are going to get really, really messy as the circle starts to close here in the next 20 seconds on that top side of the map. Definitely keep your eye to see what AB Wiz and Guild can do from prison.
Fanatics getting torn apart. Resurgence timer down. They're also out of cash. I mean, we've already just spent about $7 grand getting our teammates back just a moment ago. All of a sudden, you're last alive. You're Almond. You only have 1,700. That might have been an error. He's got a buy station up with him. He just doesn't have the cash. Yeah. He could have saved a little bit of time, but it's just high risk, high reward playstyle. You had to risk it, and right now they are in a blender, which is good for just about every other team. But the Falcons are on 16, and they are lurking, waiting, looking for Almond, trying to get that team wiped.
Almond's screwed. He's out of the picture. he's just hoping he can find some sort of a play to get to the top 8. But again, watch the rotation on your minimap. Kill the team number 13, team number 11. That's what we're looking at. That's Omit and Guild that are going to be in absolute battles with one another. Vision able to drop himself back in. Behind this play, the late rotators will be AB Wiz. It's going to get messy here at headquarters.
Yeah, Guild is getting real dirty down below as we lose Pat Zuka. Not going to repeat that success this time around, falling in about 12th or 11th now. We have 11 teams remaining. We're not even close to the multiplier yet, and we're moving in towards 5th circle. Crazy to see this situation with Almond still last alive, yet AB Wiz holding on, 9 eliminations in total, and they're just trying to throw a hope and a prayer with a grenade to maybe get a knock to try to send, because they have the long side of the zone. Look at where it pulls. All the way to Twisted Minds. They are ready to take this game.
Yeah, I'll just make a bold prediction here, Coach. We got 11 teams alive right now. By the time this circle closes, we're going to have 3. Everyone is going to be in a blender, trying to rotate down in, like you mentioned, Twisted Minds and Syndicate, without question, in the best current positions. It just comes down to, do they forfeit those and try to third party with all these actions coming on?
You need kills, 16 still for Falcons. They haven't found any in the last 2.5 minutes. AB Wiz says, why not the gondola? Let's try it. Well, the problem with the gondola, there's like no cover. They go prone. They do make it with a little bit of visual cams. Heretics somehow restabilize, trying to find some sort of success. Problem is, you got to open up your shoulder to another team, and there are so many in the area. Still 11, but you're right, it's about to get real mixy. We're about to go down to 5 here shortly, as Almond does win his ones. Always wins his ones. The problem is, you've got no resources. All you have is a self-revive. I don't know if he's going to make it in. This could be a opportunity. It looks like Guild with white teams left, right, and center. Off to the other side. Fnatic is out of here.
Nice.
Opportunity open for some of our bottom teams, with the Falcons still alive.
Se jodió el team de Aidan.
Falcons in the high ground, safe side of the corner, destroys deep in one of the buildings that's going to have to be pushed out, and then Guild other side, playing through the gas. Those are your 3 healthiest teams right now. It's just down to who finds who first.
All of a sudden, Guild is in contention to slowly creep towards this top 3. Guild is about to make a move up this leaderboard. They can stay together. They're losing one. It looks like Visions is pushing out. Omit's going big off screen. That's actually Syndicate falling. Not a full wipe, but dang close. 8. We found our multiplier, but the question is, where do we go from here when this circle is this small?
Amit has got himself
Coño, el team de Ten un cojonado.
going to continue to force them to have to move very rapidly, though. Guild also being shredded by every single squad because the Falcons are up top, and they force Guild down to the low ground. Destroyed from the other side.
Mataron a Hisoka.
Squad of 3, and here we go. Final circle moves towards destroy.
Syndicate out.
Diablo.
Continuing to find a tear. They're also a full team of 3. They have the short end of the zone. All they have to move through is somehow Navi, who's still in this game, likely only a couple kills to boot. I can't imagine it's going to be a huge point value, but they are extra bodies in the way. You lose resources, you might lose. The Falcons do not lose gunfights. Team Destroy can't do anything. Biffle on 1 single HP, but it doesn't matter. You've got resources, you've got position. The Falcons are in position to win this with 2.
That was a stupid rotation from Falcons. Up and over behind Destroy, catches them completely by surprise. Still fully healthy though. Amit, they're looking to get the wrap. They may surprise Falcons here from behind.
Guild is out. They get 6th. Navi gets 5th. No multipliers for Guild. They desperately needed it. Unfortunately, 1.2.
Uy, el team de Ten, 2-3.
You're never going to leave them out. That's what their name means. Destroys out of here in 4. 3 teams remaining. Omit might have a small advantage, but the problem is positioning. Look at where the Falcons are. It is a Falcon range way up in their nest, just firing down on the teams below. The problem is, look at the zone shift resources. We're out on gas mask. This is going to get real mixy.
And the thing about it is, Amit just may be the healthiest team. They're playing very passive, but it may work out because eventually Falcons will have to try to make a move. And it looks like Biffle may be the one to call it. Here comes the fight, though, down low. Amit able to take care of new icons. Everyone's low.
No.
Here would be the time for the Falcons to swoop in and try to clean up. Amit down to their last member. Falcons able to come through, find the kill, and take the win. High ground superiority continues to be the name of the game.
High ground superiority, third-party superiority. You needed those teams to fight each other, and Omit needed to take the fight.
Diablo.
Down on the leaderboard, 2nd place gives you a 1.7x. Unfortunately for them, Drake says, how about a 1v3? Like, Drake goes massive. That's a 1.7 for that squad. I don't know how much it's going to really influence the overall leaderboard, but shout out to the Falcons. They do grab a victory. Massive win. great positioning, and great patience for a team that loves to slay out.
Yeah, and to be honest, you know, in terms of the overall tournament expectations, it's been Falcons.
Juegan con control de play.
We needed to see a little bit of a bounce back from them. Not to sit there and say that they've played poorly, but coming off of a 4th place and an 8th place in their last 2 games, it does feel like, okay, let's just not forget that these guys still are very much the heavy favorites for the tournament.
Yeah, a massive win. They feel good about that one. The celebration wasn't nearly as excessive as it was before. I think they're noticing this competition's really, really tight. We only have a couple more games to go. But reminder, Fnatic, the top team going into this, a 20-point margin, they fell in about 10th place. So a lot of ground was just made up by the Falcons. Really excited to see where that leaderboard falls. We're going to head to a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We're into the end game. 2 more maps to go.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are here with Aiden from Twisted Minds for a little pre-EWC interview.
Sí, quedaron segundos.
I'm good. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, are you?
I am. The travel was a little bit, but honestly, it was all worth it. It's cool to see a different side of the world and just be here to compete and do something that I love.
Quick question. You've been a top-tier competitor across multiple titles, right? Like, you've been at the top of a couple of them. What is something invaluable that you have learned along the way through competing?
I think one thing that I've learned, like, since I've, throughout my career is, like, patience. Honestly, it's, like, one of the biggest things. I feel like at the start, looking back at the start of my career, I'm like, wow, if I was just more patient, like, I would have done so much better. And I feel like as I've gone on, maybe it's just like as a human, I've learned more patience.
Older?
Yeah, it could have been because I've gotten older, but I think patience has been like the biggest thing for me, like growing as a competitor.
I feel like I've seen that even just in like Warzone alone. Like,
yeah.
Since your early days to like now, like,
yeah.
You're still like, you're this aggressive player, but like you're still like, you're like very patient.
Yeah,
you
so I try to find the
in.
right times, and even I'm still learning now, but like, yeah, I think my patience has definitely gone up a little bit.
All right, awesome. So obviously Resurgence is very different from Big Map, right? And you're one of the few teams who...
Sí, ahora están jugando como que más aguantadito, que sé yo. Eso es lo que tienen que hacer, mano, porque la comera de pinga esa que tienen de estar jugando por allá por la puñeta.
Our teammate for World Series and on the Big Map is DJ. We've actually only been teaming with him for like maybe a month or 2 now, so I don't think our chemistry is like, we haven't been playing with him for like years, and with Knight, we actually played a lot of Resurgence with him in the past. We won a ton of money with him on Resurgence, and I know that Knight himself is very knowledgeable about the map, so I knew it would be a good pickup. Obviously, like switching from our World Series teammate might be a little bit awkward because we've already been playing with him a ton, but like I said, Knight has a lot of experience on the map. I think he's definitely going to be able to help us stuff with that maybe we, haven't been up to date on. And yeah, like we just have experience with him. I think that's the main reason.
I love that. When you look at the rest of the competition this week, who is a player you actually like really respect when it comes to, playing in a high stakes environment? Like this?
I feel like I gotta say Biffle. Like he just.
Oh, okay, come on.
I feel like it's such a default answer, but he's been around for. Was that like the question? Like just I mean.
No, it's however you want to answer.
I mean,
whoever you respect, like you're like, hey, like this guy's about to fry out, and like I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, I mean. I feel like Biffle's just so consistent, and like. He's been doing it for so long. Like he's just been there since the start of Warzone, and he's here now, and he's still placing like probably the best,
Yeah.
So I gotta give him credit where it's due, man. I'm going Biffle.
All right. Hey, Team Falcons is everybody's favorite. This
yeah,
event,
yeah, they're looking good, but
hey, I'm hoping that maybe we got someone who can hold a candle there.
Yeah,
Maybe you might be that team. This is a fun one. So your dad's a very vocal supporter of you. You're able to bring your girlfriend with you on this trip as well. How important has like their kind of support been in your success over the years?
I think it's been huge for me. A lot of times if I'm ever like stressed out about a tournament or whatever the issue may be, especially my girlfriend, she's very comforting, very like always giving me solutions on how to fix things. So she's definitely very, very comforting for me and helpful off the scene that people don't really see.
Yeah.
And same thing with my family support. I mean, like they just push me and drive me to want to be a better version of myself. Even my grandpa watches all my tournaments.
Heck
like
yeah.
he already messaged me. He's like, "Is this being live streamed? Like, can you send me the Twitch link?" Like, They're super supportive, and they definitely like give me that motivation I need.
That's awesome. It's super cool. I know that's like kind of like a theme with a couple of the players who like when they have family like that who are like asking them to watch the streams and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like people forget, like, you know, you're a large content creator, right?
Yeah.
I think people forget that sometimes that like you still got to be a little bit humble, and that you still also need those people to be in your corner to
100%.
doing things like this to help drive you.
It pushes you, man. It does.
I love that. So you've played underneath a few orgs in your day, you know, across your career. But for this event, you're going to be underneath the Twisted Minds banner. You know, playing in their home country at that. What does it mean to you to represent them in, you know, a very prestigious event like this?
Yeah, no, it's an honor, especially because they're based in Saudi. You know, I had a talk with them, and you know, they're super excited to pick us up, and we're excited to work with them, and just bring Twisted Minds a chip, and you know, play at EWC and rep them.
I think that's awesome. I was really, really excited when people started getting picked up by orgs. When I saw that your org was picked up, you know, obviously being able to be here, like you're probably actually going to have some fans. Like one of the few teams who has fans in the crowd.
Yeah, no, that's
rooting for them and
that's going to be super
them.
exciting for sure.
Yeah, because I know obviously at past tournaments you haven't always had that. So nice change of pace.
For sure.
Awesome, cool. All right, well, thanks, Aiden, for talking to us. Do you have anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say to your fans?
Yes, I definitely want to give a shout out to my community that's going to be watching at home. Shout out to the Alliance. Shout out to my family, my dad, my mom, my grandpa. I know you guys are all going to be watching at home. Thank you guys. Shout out to my girlfriend for being my support system. She's going to be here rooting for me as well. And shout out to all the fans in Saudi and everyone from Twisted Minds. That's it.
Awesome.
You ever wondered how a Hollywood movie is shot? On a Sony. You review it on a Sony. And how do you make that sound epic? You record it on a Sony. Lunch break on a Sony. So why wouldn't you watch it on a Bravia by Sony?
Where is your favorite place to drop on Rebirth Island?
I gotta go Prison. Prison's just like the center. It's like the highest elevated point.
Sure.
You can go anywhere you want after. Only problem I have, every time I land there, I don't know what it is. There's like no money there when I try to get like buy a gun off the buy station.
Sure.
Besides that, I love the action. I love just getting involved right away. I'm going Prison.
Okay, now here's the second part too to that.
Okay.
Are we going fat side, small side, showers, kitchen, lobby?
I'm usually landing. Can I point here?
You can absolutely point here.
I am usually landing on top of one of these right here.
Top of the
and
doors.
just going rogue. Usually, you know, I'm playing solo quads and I'm just dead right away. And then I land somewhere else or just land in the bottom. So if I had to pick a safe spot, I like right in here on the bottom.
Yeah. The
That's like the
that
showers.
door on the side.
Yep. That's safe. That's usually pretty safe. There's like chests and stuff down there. That's a little bit more of a calm drop.
That makes me feel good because that is my drop spot.
Yeah.
So
come on, we're a duo, man.
Let's go. Next duos, maybe we'll have duos next year.
Well, folks, welcome back. We're in the end game. 2 more maps to go, Shift, and the Falcons just capped off a nice 21-kill victory for, I think, a total of 42 points overall. That 2x multiplier. Where did Amit climb to? Where did some of our other teams climb to? Where was Guild?
Yeah.
Still a lot of big question marks, but the Falcons likely have retaken the top spot. It's going to be very, very close. Quick look at the leaderboard. Ooh, not as close as I thought. Fnatic did fall very early. The crowd goes wild as they see Falcons on top, 185.7.
Fnatic, a 10th place finish, but 11 kills. So again, they kind of mitigate the damage done right there and at least some affiliation towards what the Falcons are putting together. But I will tell you, there's a meatball out in the arena, and it's a spicy one from the Falcons. Looking super solid. I mean, again, their ability to put together points is unrivaled to this release stage at the moment. But some teams cooking with a little bit more heat all of a sudden. Amit, Guild getting themselves in the picture. 2 more drops to see if they can keep it up.
Here we go. The crowd's getting excited because we're in the end game. Match number 7. Only 2 maps to go to crown your champion. The very first champion of the Esports World Cup. Here with Warzone, and well, back to Guild we go as they win this gunfight yet again. I feel like they're trying to send a message to Ryzen. Unfortunately, it's not being received.
But that one clean as all get out. So now you can essentially sit here and say, let's let them respawn back in and see if we can farm them a little bit. Madi also seen from the top side. He will drop. Navi, other part of the map, over towards Control Center. They continue to battle over the top of usually what is a mid. So now we've got a couple of these squads who need points starting to actually win out in their preferred zones.
Yeah, history continues to repeat itself, map after map. Nobody changing up strategies, at least not the maps we can see.
Duro, son par de pesos, un par de pesitos que se van a llevar.
You've got Guild
si se
finding
quedan
each
ahí.
other, and the same team's mostly winning. Omit coming out on top on this one, at least for a moment here. They had a pretty solid last map. They did just barely fall in third, which is heartbreaking if you're an Omit fan. They did have around 14-15 eliminations, so looking stronger. They got to make a move now, though. They cannot hang out here in this fight for too long. This is the quagmire we talked about.
Correct, but both teams don't want to give this up. Amit off their respawn, able to put themselves in a fighting condition, but there again, the mortar strike being called in. It forces everyone onto the interior. Limax trying to chase down what could be one of the final kills, but again, it's just not as clean as what we saw from yesterday from Navi. They're not able to find the kills to get Amit completely to bounce out of Control Center. As we head over towards Syndicate, this is the other side of the map towards Chem. They've done well to find most of new icons who are stuck now at Harbor.
Yeah, Syndicate's really got a bit quiet for me, at least.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been waiting on Dongi to kind of wake up, and you heard it in the interview. He actually talked about it. People are changing up the strategies, and apparently it's coming back to bite them. Believe does get taken out
Bifo, el cabrón, Bifo está muy pillo, el cabrón ese.
Try to make a late game push up this leaderboard. Folks, reminder, tons of money on the line,
$1 million,
and it's all delineated through all of these teams, so every position you climb means more cash to your name.
Se jodió.
All of a sudden, Omit is wiped. Navi,
Se jodió el team de Temu.
You've taken out a team. It's time to make a move now.
Problem is Falcons is right here. So Navi is just
Los
not getting a
eliminaron.
chance to sit there and take a breath. Falcons, who were clean, uncontested on strongholds as they often are now saying, let's get involved. We got our loadouts. Let's see if we can bully out some teams. And not only are they going to find Navi, they may have an idea that Destroy's team is nearby.
Yeah, Zix here as well. Yeah, that's that #1 team right around the corner. They're red. And
Es que a ellos le pagaron los pasajes, papi. Ellos no pagaron nada. Ellos le pagaron pasajes, hospedaje, ellos le pagaron todo. Todos esos teams, ninguno me pagaron por nada.
Some on top, some below, some people floating. But right now, Fnatic in trouble. Breaking cameras, breaking ankles, working together as a team. Cam does finally fall.
But AB Wiz is here. You've got Guild still in pieces. Izund has been able to farm up
Papi,
a little
tú
bit
sabes
more.
todos los chavos que esa gente gasta.
Over towards the yard. Skullface down. Whoa! Whoa! King AJ puts him on his face. Oh my goodness, it looked like Skullface had him dead to rights, but King AJ with a little turn and burn.
We gotta go to Guild. They're on 11? Shit, we haven't even started closing this first circle. Are you kidding me? We're just now about to get to second, and they're on 11 kills, double digits from Prison. Guild is taking over Prison right now, opening up the bottom of this leaderboard and wiping them all out.
Pushed off
Y Warzone no es el único. Ellos hacen torneos de Apex, de Fortnite, de todos esos juegos, papi. Esa gente gasta billetes como el diantre.
And so far, that has worked out for their last consecutive drop. So now on the reset, SGP Syndicate have to find a spot to land. Guild not going to be able to see too much. They do see a lot of loadout drops right towards the backside of Prison, so expect them to kind of keep their eye on that.
Yeah, and it also means you can see why. Look at that. Prodigy down below with Believe, Maddie, Skullface still there. All these teams trying to regain. You put Fnatic on your back foot. That's exactly what Falcons want.
Yeah.
This is ideal. They might be just saying, hey, Guild, you keep doing your thing. We're going to clean up the other side, and they're going to hang out here in Stronghold for a moment, get their loadout, and then move on their merry way and clean up a couple more players.
And keep an eye on Zix, though. They might be feeling a little froggy here. They're dropping in right to the front side of Stronghold, and they may be forced to have to take a fight. But onto the other side of the map. Again, there's going to be a lot of contact over towards this backside of Prison. AB Wiz is on the regain, so don't expect him to be looking for a fight anytime soon. Falcons do get the alert that, yep, Zix is nearby. Hisoka able to deal with Hamoud, and then Shifty with the smoke will make sure that Biffle can get back into the action.
It's just a perfect team fight. You're never going to beat the Falcons in a true 3v3, and let alone a 2v3 where it's in their favor. They send 2 out usually and win those, so when you're down in numbers against Falcons, good luck, my friends. But again, yeah, you're right. We saw AB Wiz run out of Prison. It was because of Guild. Guild got back into the bottom of Showers and pushed everybody back out. Guild is on fire right now, looking for more, as it looks like finally Maddie able to drop one of the Guild members off screen, as again, the Falcons playing around with this Zix squad, trying to eliminate them and then move up into living quarters.
Yeah, this fight here is a little bit inconsequential. They're going to sit here and have this battle for a while. The ones that we really need to keep our eye on are what's happening topside at Prison once again. AB Wiz has gotten themselves into fighting form. You've got SGP, Syndicate, and Guild that are in the area, but Syndicate are on the bounce back. Guild, not as much. A couple of staggers, but they have full weapons for the last 2 members, but they're still standing strong.
Yeah, and we actually see a couple of Vitality trying to make a move into Prison as they're trying to regain. AJ does take Water Tower after a regain, and well, PAs galore. Nobody's going to wipe him off. So several teams off screen, not able to make a move onto Prison. And again, War says, hey, we got bottom Prison. Why not top as well? Yep. Almond with an angle here. Watch out the snipe. It does not matter. War's great tracking and the cleanup, and no bullets fired. It does not look like Fnatic can get anything going this map entirely because of this Guild team.
Yeah, the Guild strategy hasn't necessarily been radically changed, but they are getting more aggressive early and saying, we'll take our battles from the moment we hit the ground. And with them winning them, they can hold on to that bottom side Prison way better than they had previously. Over towards Na'Vi, the game has been for them reset, regain, reset, regain. Can we find a spot to land? And now they may have a small window here. Destroy has largely been dropping over towards the docks, but Na'Vi could potentially fight this with a couple of members from Vitality also staggeredly trying to work their way in through dock.
Quick nod to that leaderboard, by the way. Guild is still in 4th, but they jumped all the way up to 94.5 points, so about a 50-point spread as Na'Vi tries to jump about 50 points is what they need, and unfortunately, Destroy's team playing perfectly together to find 2 and leave Limax trying to regain.
Yeah, this pretty much throws Na'Vi out of the conversation for top 5 in my mind. They just have not been able to get any ground to work with. Nothing towards control, nothing towards headquarters, and nothing towards the docks. Really unfortunate scenes after what was a very strong group stage for them. On the regain over towards Falcons, though, trying to find some ground with the Heretics members. Again, this was a battle that happened early on in towards this initial drop, and it looks like for Hisoka, they have an idea that someone else is here, but we'll take a look as we look at the rest of the map. A lot of open space through headquarters at the moment as team number 2 and Fnatic have used that as their staging ground to try to get aggressive.
Yeah, look at this map view. The only people even in the zone are what? Fnatic, Guild, barely, and a couple people lurking on the outskirts, and then that Zix team who actually hit a redeploy drone, swung all the way over, flying in because they saw a wide open living quarters station. The problem with this Zix squad is that if the Falcons come out of this alive, that's where they're going next. So here we go, still back to the Falcons. Want to make sure they win this. It is a full team of 3 versus 3, and well, it's looking like Heretics can't get anything going as expected.
Yeah, Heretics are still trying to float in. That's the big thing. So it's one of those situations that as much as there was a member there to contest them, the rest of the Heretics were hoping there was more ground for them to get loot. Not the case. So they have to reset. Back towards Guild. They continue to find stray members of Team Izund, but keep an eye on number 5 in green on your minimap. That's AB Wiz & Co. Fully healthy, hearing all these shots. They've turned their attention over towards Prison. They may try to third-party this.
Yeah, I think it's a great shout. I think they need to. They're charging in through the bottom right now. Watch out. They're about to come busting through the doors. But King AJ is ready, checking all the corners, and actually going to play a little bit of a high ground position here. Goes back up to the mid-range, finds an angle. I think they know that some of these teams are going to try to push to them, especially with the zone pull right now. King Madi's team continuing to try to regain on the outskirts. That's that yellow 7 we've been seeing all day. And then back to the Falcons we go, as guess what? They're moving up not towards living quarters this time, but back to control, where they've farmed teams in the past. The question is, will Navi put up a fight this time around? It's not looking like it, as Fnatic back to Almond again in a tower. They are in trouble. They are on their back foot.
Yeah, the members Sir Guild continue to just win out the bottom spots over towards Prison. But again, AB Wiz's team has now fully rotated with all 3 members. They've been able to catch Vision, but there's also Team Izund in the way. So with only a couple more moments here before we start to lose respawn, Guild need to take a breath. You cannot force this gunfight. King AJ is going to get some control here over towards headquarters. That's where the rest of Guild are going to land and try to get themselves back in the fight. We see the battle between Izund and AB Wiz play out in the kill feed, and it was clean for team number 7 in yellow.
It took a while for AB Wiz to get there, and unfortunately that delay means see you later. You are out of here. Circle closing, the siren sounding. It sounds like Resurgence is about to close, my friends, which means it's about to get real mixy as Biffle continues to find kills in the kill feed. Not as fast of a start as we've seen in the past. There's a little bit of a slow play here because of this Heretics team just being a thorn in their side. It's not a problem. It just means they're not going to drop maybe 30 kills like Fnatic did earlier. Quick look at the map. You saw the circle. You still have 6 team on the edge and a ton of squads having to rotate through Prison and Factory, where Twisted Minds might start getting mixy. Team 3, look at them, orange, light orange over there fighting Team 14. That's a big fight.
Yeah, it's going to be really important one for Twisted Minds because Icons are on a bit of a burner, but Guild, like you mentioned, over here at headquarters, this is where they had to reset towards, and it has not gone particularly well for them. War's down, likely about to be out. AJ as well, also dealt with right as soon as the respawns closed. So now you're just looking at Vision to try to hold on a little while longer to see what he could do, maybe find himself a buy later into this map.
Yeah, he's got to get some resources. Guild's on a barn burner. They're on 16 right now, but only 1 alive. Back to the Falcons. We're in a fight yet again, and we're fighting Zix. Zix will not relent. Crims finds an angle, but again, Biffle always has the trades. Nice play from Ahsoka and Biffle. They have every angle to secure at least one of elimination and take a 2v2. Now they're going to readdress this fight from a different angle and hold on and stay patient. Again, they cannot fall right here if they want to protect their lead.
The other thing about this is there's a couple of squads nearby that could try to third party. I'm looking at new Icons, number 14 and number 6 in Vitality. They have not been in a lot of action lately, so the assumption would be that they could absolutely fight in where they currently stand utility-wise. But largely speaking, everyone is fine right now. Everyone's been able to get back into the map, but you've got a huge collection of players right here outside of headquarters, which is again where Guild were trying to land on, but it's now being heavily contested by teams like SGP, Izund, and as well Fnatic, who are also on 14 kills.
Here comes Twisted Minds sneaking through the edge of the zone. Where are the players? They're about to peekaboo on somebody. Somebody's going to get a jump scare here shortly. All going to move together. They are having a little bit of a slow game. Not a lot of people rotated through them. They've just been waiting. They're making a wide wrap through the outside. Look how many teams are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, all on the outside of the zone and all having to move all the way around. Everybody's going to skate this south side of the zone and creep up. Guess to who? The Falcons, all the way on the stronghold side.
This is a convoy of 3 different squads trying to make their way from house to house. I mean, this is apartment shopping at its finest right now between these 3 squads. But the problem is, Twisted Minds, who are behind this whole play, are also being looked at from above. But now the circle, going to force action all the way across the board. Plates are in, smokes are out. Twisted Minds trying to find the follow-up on where Team Zix is.
Yeah, this is what Danger likes to call the death ball. Run all 3 together and just run through everybody in your way, especially when you have player advantage. Fnatic don't have player advantage, but they're going to push the equation anyways. They drop 1. We see Zix fall. We saw Heretics fall. Several teams falling quickly. No more resurgence. I mean, teams are going to get cut down quickly.
Mataron
on the rotation. Everyone hiding in tents. These tents only provide visual cover. You can wallbang all of them, and Vision knows it. Has been hanging out here for the last like 3-4 minutes, and by himself finally finds a weapon. Somehow still alive. Fnatic is out of here. 9th place. They get no multiplier. Nothing to write home about. They're going to fall, and so does Destroy.
Falcons once again on the high ground. Not as comfortable as we'd seen them previously, but still well within the bounds of being able to look down towards these tents, no worries. Obviously, number 11, That's going to be Vision, down and out. Heretics making a long wrap around the back. We're able to find him. Oh, pardon me, that's Navi. It's part of my French there, so to speak. As now there's an opportunity for the rest of the squads to possibly work their way in. But again, that high ground position from Falcons, currently possibly the power spot.
Twisted Mind's in a really good position here to win it all. They only have 6 eliminations, very uncharacteristic of them, because usually teams have been rotating to them and they're just farming. This time around, no one came their way. They only have 6 kills to boot, and they're in 6 right now, 6 teams on the board. Multipliers aren't going to help you at all, gentlemen. You got to wipe all of these teams if you want a sizable jump up this leaderboard. But right now, you're playing spoiler to the Falcons. You cannot let them get a 2x multiplier. It's about to be out of reach for a couple teams. If they do, we only have 1 more map after this, and Twisted Minds are being patient because they got 2 teams above them, and finally Ixion falls.
Yeah, any stray kill is a good kill right now for the side of Twisted Minds, but this does look like it's going to be a matchup between Twisted Mind and Falcons. This could be eventually who we see our championship determined between. Circle is going to put them right in the middle of the street. Here we go.
Right in the middle. No more zones to work with. It's all going to close wide out into the open. No cover, no boons. Use your PDSs. Gas mask resources are going to come in clutch here. Who shoots first? It looks like Knights get a free kill. That means top 3. That means nothing for your multipliers. It's all about top 2. Twisted Minds and Falcons are on the same side. Knight knows it. Biffle knows it. They're all fighting each other. Knight trying to chase down Hisoka. Hisoka in a tear up above. Doesn't cut down. Knight cuts him down. Out of here. Falcons fall. Twisted Minds have the game in their hands, but the question is, Team 14, are they going to be able to pull this out? New Icons out of nowhere. It is entirely on the back of Z-Smith, deep into the gas.
They have 15 kills, Coach. Secretly and very quietly, New Icons are putting together a burner couple of maps. It just comes down to, can they actually find the kills to collect? Not going to happen. They're going to die out.
Z-Smith's not going to give this kill away. That's 2 points to the side of New Icons. Just going to try to heal and survive as long as he can. A New Icons victory here, that's a 30-point game with a 2x multiplier, unless something crazy happens. There's the kill coming through. Drake gets it. New Icons on top. You hear crowd cheering. The New Icons needed that, and they needed it bad. They might just jump up from about 8th place to about 4th, where Guild is at. That's a $40,000 spread going into the last game.
And they are putting together a couple of burners. I mean, they started the day really
Se jodió el team de Tenu, papi, va a bajar par de puntos.
Just 3 total kills, but then a 12-kill finish in 9th, followed then since our break with a 5th place, a 7th place, a 3rd place, and now a win. So they are trending in the right direction, and they may not be in terms of fighting for a top 3 spot, but wow, the money boost is going to be very comfortable.
Yeah, you saw the reactions from the players. I believe their hashtag on Twitter, by the way, Vamos Icons. Go shout them out. They're playing fantastic. Came in at about 11th through groups, and slowly but surely increasing upon that breaking seed, as it were, at least for now. Still 1 more map to go, and frankly, I think everybody else was cheering that Twisted Minds didn't win, right?
Yeah.
You heard the crowd go crazy for him. Definitely not a local team, and it was because Twisted Minds with a 2x multiplier, even with only about 10 kills, jump up the leaderboard and catch up to the Falcons.
Yeah, it's going to lead for what will likely be a battle between our top 3 squads for the championship. I don't think there's going to be anyone who's going to look at it and say this is going to be a victory lap for us. We're going to have a photo finish, mark my words.
Definitely going to be the case. Top 3 teams starting to pull away, and there's a couple there for 4th. Desk, take it away. We got to hear your thoughts on this one.
Wow, my thoughts. Where do I even start? First off, New Icons taking that win puts them up now into top 4 conversation. Potentially, they might be a little bit lower, but that is incredible given the fact that they've been silently coming up the leaderboards, a 30-plus point game. That is incredible from their perspective. But also some other teams taking some massive Fnatic. 2 games in a row, not performing well. What does that mean? Well, they were in contention and at one point even in 1st place over that Team Falcons, and now one more game remains, and they might potentially not be able to overtake Falcons. A scary prospect to say the least, and I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, Dream, how incredible would it be for New Icons, though, to come out of nowhere and then take over 1st place?
I don't know about 1st place. maybe, you never know. But jumping from 8th to 4th, that's an extra 40K in their pocket. Just depending too.
Pana, necesitas como que ir al dentista, ¿viste?
Right, troublesome for them because of Guild, you guys. Guild really stepped it up that last game. King AJ slaying out of his mind, but the player that I want to point out was Wars. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the disengagement, Allman sniping in that tower right there when he tried to push, waited for Skullface, backed down. You love to see that from Guild, so that third, fourth place spot really in contention right now.
Not to mention, these are two teams coming out of our groups.
Tiene que llegar mínimo como top 5.
New icons, we counted them out, and for them to make a play like this, literally out of nowhere.
It's insane. It's incredible to say the least. I like that point. First place may be out of reach, but come on, $40,000 more because of that performance potentially. That's not life-changing, but at least incredible, all right? It pay off my car payment, which is what I'm looking to do, hopefully very soon anyways. So somebody help me out. But no, incredible stuff. Let's talk about, though, Twisted Minds and the potential that they have in this moment, right? They go in, they get second place. Talk to me about Twisted Minds and where they could be by the end of Game 8.
I mean, it's still not enough, I think, for Twisted Minds. They just barely miss out on that 2x multiplier. They died to new icons in that moment, and they were kind of setting themselves there for a really good end game, but Falcons played spoiler to it. They were both residing in the same building, coexisting for a moment. They had to make the rotation, and I think Falcons just caught them at the wrong time, and new icons, they really, really punished that. That is a difference for Twisted Minds having a shot at that first place and still trailing by like 30, 40 points.
Yeah, if anything, it was new icons that played spoiler there towards the end, right? Because the fact of the matter is it was Falcons that ended up going down in third place. It's a huge stock coming through from Twisted Minds, and it does keep them in the conversation at least. We saw a 50-point game, I think it was, from Falcons the other day, and I'm not too sure what the gap looks like right now. It is within the realm of possibility. Probability
stretching.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, but the thing is, it's one good game, right? And you get the multiplier. Right. The thing is, anything can happen at this point, but a lot needs to happen in order for certain teams to take over first place, and that means early drops for some of the most dominant teams who have made it consistently to the top 3 or even top 5 going in. When we talk about top slayers too, right? Because we also have the conversation about MVP for the top team out there, $50,000 to be earned. Who's in contention?
Yeah, well, we were talking about like teams playing differently, spreading out for those power positions, and we were looking at Fnatic, right? Noobs. At the start of drop 5, I believe Noobs and Biffle were at the top of the leaderboard, and even under that, it was Shifty, right? Shifty was at 31, but with that map 5 win, you got to wonder, okay, that just boosted them severely, but with those Slayers, you guys, and those teams just fighting for those positions, it's just really making it difficult for those lower half of the teams to even catch up.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, not even just that, right? The last 2 maps, you know, you talk about Noobs being on top before the last 2 maps. After 2 maps of placing, what was it, 10th and 9th respectively, that has to hurt their chances of getting that 50 grand.
Maybe so.
Yeah, and they even had a chance in that last game to almost wipe the Falcons. You have to think about how narrow these margins are, and if Fnatic actually were able to take down the Falcons, it could be a totally different story, but they're not able to do so. 2 very punishing losses from Fnatic, and it opens the gates, not for Twisted Minds, but for Falcons to take flight.
This is the thing. Falcons at this point, they should be in first place. Not guaranteed, I don't know until we see the standings. But now we start talking about Falcons and what they've been doing, right? They have been challenging the likes of Fnatic, Twisted Minds, because they knew we have to shut them down because they were just getting a little bit too ahead of them, right, when it came to the standings. The question is, though, do you risk it all if you're Fnatic or Twisted Minds going into the final game? Do you challenge the big dogs of the Falcons to try and shut them down early? Is it worth the risk?
Yeah, see, and I don't think so either, because that's kind of the debate we were having a little bit. Like, if you are one of those top teams, do you give out your positions, play overly aggressive? No, you can just play for placement. You don't need to go out of sorts, go to crazy. But if you know Twisted Minds, they're always together. They're still landing factory together and playing for late game. We always see them there.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to jump right on top of that one because it's the same thing that you're talking about for these teams. If you take that high risk, maybe you get it, but you might also not get it, and that takes you completely out of the conversation for this last map. You go into this last game thinking what you're doing has put you in this conversation of top 3. Keep doing what's working. Make it into the placement and try to aim for the top.
Team Falcons at 203.9, Fnatic at 196.2. We take a pause there. Think about how historic that is. Team Falcons during the group play Just yesterday, right, second day of group play, they had won 5 out of their 8 games. They had a 101-point lead. They made the promise, and they delivered on it. But when it comes to the finals, Fnatic could very well dethrone the top dogs, the home team of Team Falcons, and they only need 1 game to do it. In fact, they only have 1 game to do it. Twisted Minds Guild Esports, though, they're a little bit further down. I don't know if Twisted Minds can make it. I don't know if Guild either, but there's still a lot of money in those gaps.
Yeah, absolutely there is. I mean, it is absolutely wild to me that there is still only 4-point difference between Fnatic
Te lo dije, bajaron.
after Fnatic having 2 generally not great games. 10th and 9th is a wild position still to only be 4 points behind. I mean, how many kills did they get in those games?
Dude,
to still only be 4 points behind. That is insane.
That's insane. My heart is pounding at this point because I didn't realize it would be so close going into it. $200,000 for first, second $150,000. That's a $50,000 difference, excuse me, going from Fnatic's up to where Team Falcons is currently at. Not to mention the $50,000 MVP. We're talking almost close to $100,000. Of course, third and fourth, there's a little bit of a difference there. But not only do you have the money, right, to be the first ever World Cup Warzone champion, you only get 1 chance to do that. There could only be 1 first. And, well, at this point, it looks like it's either going to be Fnatic or it's going to be Team Falcons.
It's not only history for the World Cup of esports, but it's history for Warzone as well, because this has been a tyranny in Warzone, whether it's the World Series or it's the EWC. Falcons have been on top, but what a better narrative to have than Fnatic of all teams to be the ones here. I mean, these 3 players just last week weren't in the conversation for this. So this change of Fnatic picking them up, the boot camp, and the performance coach helping them get to this moment, that is huge for Warzone in general.
And Dream, let's talk about it. Solo play, like Seymour said, they weren't even in the conversation. They were performing poorly. Skullface, I believe, was dead last, if I'm not mistaken, when it came to the solos. But then they come into group play. They look strong on day 1. Day 2, they look even stronger. They make top 14. They make it here. But also, let's not forget, this is a team that didn't even make it into global finals yet. Still has to go through LCQ, yet they're looking to take the championship here today.
Yeah, playing on land, playing in familiar territory, and we kind of made a joke about it. We're like, yo, Noobs has really, like, stepped it up. I don't know if he heard about that MVP, extra 50K slaying power just increased from them. But, you know, these guys are capable. We know that Ben and Eddie, they've been together since forever, early Verdansk days. They have the chemistry. But with Skullface, they just needed a little bit more time, right? They were having, it seemed like communication IGL issues. But now you have more practice, and they're looking good as ever.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, the thing I love about this, and I think this is absolutely an effect of that boot camp, they have a game plan. It's the same game plan they've executed every single game without fail. That has not changed the entire tournament. It is go to prison. And the only reason they failed in that endeavor a few times has been that massive problem that is Guild. That is also, to be fair, I've got to give credit Eisend as well, that team that are also there causing issues, but it has mostly been Guild. Let's be fair about it. I mean, and that seems to be the stumbling block for me, and I think that's what we should be looking for here as we go into the final game of the Esports World Cup. Whether or not they can execute that game plan, take control of prison, and brace themselves for that inevitable storm that is Falcons.
I love that you bring that up, because it comes back to the conversation we were having. It's like, what do you change your playstyle? Do you not change your playstyle? With Fnatic, it's obvious. You take down Guild, you have a chance to take down Falcons. It's your Achilles heels right now.
No, really quickly, I just wanted to point out, too, you know which team that was on the back foot that has been doing really good is Abwiz, right? They have fallen severely behind, but that's because no one's contesting them. They're having to push into prison, which at one point we did see them top prison roof, but it's very difficult for some of these teams that aren't even moving.
This is such a monumental moment. The final game of the day, a chance to make history, a chance to earn life-changing money. Not only, again, to be the first ever Warzone World Cup champion, the first to earn the club points for your club championship trophy. And let's not forget the clubs. What do they have on the line? $20 million, right? Total prize pool, $7 million for first place. This, whoever wins, is laying down the first brick for their club, for that club championship trophy run. Literally a historic moment. Now, the question is, which teams are looking to take that moment? Which players are looking to go big? Which players will crumble under the pressure? And which players will turn into diamonds and take that pressure? Hey, at the end of the day, it's up to them to decide, right? The players will make history themselves. We've gone through all the theoreticals. We've talked about all the specific moments that could happen. But now it's up to the players to decide, because when we come come back onto this stage, we will know who our champion is. We will crown the winners of the Esports World Cup Warzone Call of Duty, and that is a historic moment. Now the question is, who wants to take it, and who do you think will take it? Casters, I'm ready to get it started. Let's head into our 8th and final game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes down to this. One final game separates us and our teams from $1 million prize pool and our beautiful trophy here at the Esports World Cup Call of Duty Warzone stage. But, Barney, who's even in the lead?
Well, Milosh, we currently have Team Falcons in the lead, and hot on their tail are Fnatic by just 7 points. Sitting in 3rd place, we have Twisted Minds, so it is all to play for. So, I guess the only thing left to say is this is it. Don't get scared now. It's time for your final map of the Call of Duty Warzone tournament at the Esports World Cup. Make some noise! And over to our casters.
Just one more map to go. If that was the in-game starting last map, this is truly the final moment for every team to make a move. There's still a lot of money to be played for, and frankly, Shift, I think we have 2 different races running. We have the race for 1st, and then we have the race for 4th.
Yep, and that is so crazy because I don't think I've ever been on a broadcast before where I'm like, wow, they finished 4th! But the money that's being split is incredible. And with a couple of big moves from teams like New Icons, a team that, frankly, we didn't expect to make any waves whatsoever when we were first putting together the whole narrative around this tournament. But let's be honest, all of the eyes are going to be on our top 3 squads. Every kill is going to matter. Every placement point is going to matter. It's going to be hot.
Here we go. 7-point spread. You heard it from Barney. And where's 3rd place? They're kind of on an island. 163 points. That is 33 points behind 2nd. Could they make a move? Absolutely. What needs to happen is this. We need some of our top teams to fall for any small window. I won't even say a window, a chimney shoot for somebody to drop down on to make it into the building of opportunity. It is going to be very, very tight.
Here's the thing. Falcons on a bit of a hot streak off of their win from a couple of games ago. Top 3 finish with good kills. Fnatic, lots of kills, but they're not getting themselves into positions late circle. They're falling in 10th and 9th in their last 2, and then Twisted Minds, the 2nd place finish. They've been known to put together hot wins before. Can they do it when it matters most?
The problem with Twisted Minds is nobody's rotating to him. It's the same thing with AB Wiz. It just happens that the Twisted Minds squad is finally finding some eliminations late game. They need the kills. I expect Twisted Minds to leave Factory very early this time around. They need 33 points to catch up to Fnatic. The closest team to them, Guild, down by 60. There is nothing else they need to do besides slay out this entire lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, the final map of Warzone is here. Esports World Cup. It's going to be loud. You can already hear it. I don't need to ask for it. Here we go. Teams dropping, same spots, different spots. It doesn't matter. It's all about the kills.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like we can throw all the numbers we want in the world, but who gives a toot? Let's just get into the action, see who shoots better, flat out. As a Mitt is going to already once again kind of bother into Na'Vi. Same story we've seen time and time again.
Yeah, this fight will go back and forth. I can only expect they both get some eliminations. Maybe Omit can find some flow here and play for 4th. We want to check in on this storyline because we need to see who gets it. But at the end of the day, Guild has to make the most historic run of all time, down 60 on 3rd, all right? So this is really a protecting of 4th right now. The biggest map of the day biggest map of the tournament, 60 points. That was by Fnatic. Watch out for these teams. It does look like Omit went for the gold and unfortunately fall down to the bronze or maybe further. They're going to be way down the leaderboard, 1st team out.
Yeah, just to kind of tally where our top 3 are right now. Like you mentioned, Twisted Minds are at Factory. No one challenged them. Fnatic, backside of Headquarters Prison. No one challenged them. And of course, where did Falcons drop? Over towards Stronghold. No one challenged them. So there's going to be a moment of pause here in terms of how do we determine our champion. Both of those sets of teams looking pretty comfortable off their drops.
Fnatic may be the first of those trios to find some early engagements. Guess who it is? It's Zix. They continue to find themselves in precarious situations, sometimes come out on top. This time not as successful as usual. Looks like Guild's finding a couple eliminations on the team we expect them to find. And yep, I expected Ryzen to go big here, try to go for gold, and unfortunately 2 teams fighting you means you are out of here as well as New Icon.
Yeah, Fnatic saw or at least heard all of the action right below them, and they're trying to get involved super early to see if they can third party, but they missed their window. Zix's squad is already out and put them enough separation, or so I would have thought, for them to get out of there, but they got a knock onto one into Noobs, and that was enough for the whole team to come back. Skullface able to at least trade out one, so Fnatic going to be able to stabilize, but look at the Falcons. They're trying to hunt them down early.
Falcons coming in. This is further reach than usual for their first push. They want to take out Fnatic, and they're doing so. Find 2 with all 3 alive. Hisoka is still playing anchor way back in Stronghold, but Biffle does not care. 2v3s, 2v4s, I don't care. Multiple teams, I'm going for kills. It's fine. We've got plenty of bodies way all the way around this kind of Stronghold area for Hisoka, or rather by himself, to just get your teammates right back. A lot of action. As we take a breath, Shifty is going to hang out here and make sure his teammates get back.
It's an aggressive move from Falcons, but you're 100% right. They're trying to take Fnatic out of the picture. Same story, though, for Twisted Minds, who rotated up quickly.
Eliminaron a Temu, no vi, cabrón.
Quite a good number of kills early. They're already on 4. Zizek's team, who loves to try to get back in the middle of the circle, is going to have a hard time. They are the ones that are looking like the loot to farm right now. Between all of our major squads at the moment. So, again, everyone's collecting in towards headquarters. This is going to get hot.
Yeah, the quick notes here omit Icons, Eisen all out of the picture, which means Guild's path to 4th is, well, frankly, wide open. They're just going to play spoiler for somebody else. They might play spoiler to some of our top teams. They want to win. They have the ego. They want that. They want to make sure that nothing else could happen. But Fnatic's answering back on Biffle. Maybe a touch aggressive here. Gets cut down yet again. And now Shifty is on the run, and Noobs knows it. He wants this kill, but somebody's shooting him in the back.
That's Twisted Minds who's right behind him. So again, our top 3 squads are looking to battle each other without the drama of the final circle. Like you mentioned, this is no cause for concern for Falcons. They're going to be able to at least respawn in every single time. But Fnatic, who are
Diablo, no vi. Eliminaron a Tenu ya, cabrón.
Yeah, and this is exactly
Wow.
what I expected from Twisted Minds. Everything on the line.
No vi, cabrón.
They just want kills, so they are
Vete
well
pa'l
out of factory. This is
carajo.
the first rotation we've ever seen from this team out of factory in the first circle. They got their loadout, and they sprinted towards the action. They want as many kills as possible, and they're willing to throw their lives away for
No vi, no vi.
The other part of the conversation is Guild on number 11, team number 11, pardon me. They're up on a number of kills, already on 8. They've cleared out all of prison, but if they want to get into the top 3, they need to rotate down and join this party. We need to see our top 4 squads starting to battle it out if there's going to be any major moves at the top.
It's Team Zix fully eliminated. That's 4 teams out early. This is what we expected, which means there's less points on the board, by the way. 4 teams dead means way less players on the map going into the latter half of this circle. We got second circle halfway through. We assumed it would be highly aggressive. We assumed it would be high risk, high reward, and now we're finally seeing it with only 10 squads left.
Twisted Minds down to a single player at the moment. That
Ese cabrón de Hisoka se queda ahí el hijo de puta.
had not gone well for them. So they tried to get involved, try to take down one of those major squads, or at least shrug them off their positions. That doesn't work. So Twisted Minds are going to reset towards living quarters as Falcons will get a tally on where Abwiz is, which is right
le van a
between
puchar al
both
otro.
sets of the party.
Perfect team fight. Hisoka up on Stronghold means he has all the information, can get some first bloods, help out Shifty and Biffle. This is a free kill, a free wrap. They want to clear out Stronghold. Look who's coming, though. Team 2, that's Fnatic. They want to play spoiler. They could third party. They think this fight might last longer than it does. Now, Oki does get both of his teammates
Está bien,
back. They're able to float back in.
mató a
You can see
Biffle.
Skullface and Noobs think better of it and back up.
This is brilliant macro play from Fnatic. They know they have to keep Twisted Minds at bay, but more importantly, you
Diablo, me perdí como eliminaron a Tenu. Pero está bien. Se va a llevar un par de pesitos.
Maybe we can
Por lo menos.
out-fire them. So they're keeping them at arm's reach. Now it's down to Noobs. Rotating in, they've got Aiden right below, and they can smell blood in the water. They know this Twisted Minds team is weak.
This is a 2v3 on the side of Twisted Minds having the advantage. Twisted Minds, they stay together. They deathball. They push teams. It's actually one player hanging out way up at the top of HQ, something we saw Teenix doing from Omit all day yesterday. Noobs and Skullface playing the aggressors. It's Almond way up there, and they're trying to get an angle on this, but the comms from Almond are likely, you guys don't have the advantage, you've got to back up.
Yeah, absolutely the case, and there's no saving you at this point either. You also don't know where Falcons are. You haven't seen them in a while, so you just don't want to get too aggressive. Hisoka still sniping deep, though. Falcons are not a major threat towards either of those two squads. squads, but they are a threat to AB Wiz as Ship able to find the kill and maybe a chance for more as there's still a couple of players nearby.
Unfortunately, if you're a fan of Vitality, they are out as well, down to the final 9 squads, and we haven't even closed the second circle. High risk, high reward, got to play for it. A lot of money on the line at every stage of this competition. 5th, 6th, 7th, all the way down. Tons of cash. We want as many points as possible. We're swinging for the fences.
Keep an eye, if we can, to number 3 in Twisted Minds. They have given up on the rotation playing between Fnatic and Falcons, but they're rotating into
¿A quién
SGP
más eliminaron?
and number 11 in Guild. This could get really, really mixy for them. It's another tough battle with 2 full squads in front of them.
Yeah, especially with that Guild squad in trouble by Donkey. I believe that's Syndicate, like you called out. So you've got Guild, you've got Syndicate, and you've got that Twisted Mind squad all over there on the far right-hand side of the map, which is going to be that eastern side up towards the north side of Prison. And finding some more eliminations, this is called Hunt Down Your Opponents who are trying to restabilize. Noobs looking for some freebies. Navi going to give them a little bit of trouble, but not a lot.
I mean, when the map is this open with so little teams, expect Fnatic to continue to do this. Falcons are so far out of the picture that now all of a sudden Fnatic kind of have this little bit of a power surge to where they know they can third-party some of the weaker squads that are over towards ships and docks. So now all of a sudden Fnatic putting themselves a couple of good kills together. It's just down to making sure we don't play too risky because your solo anchor is way out in Narnia at the moment.
This is the top 3 teams hunting the map for kills. They fought each other for a bit, and now they're sweeping the edge because you're right. Way less kills to go around, which means every single point is massive, as it looks like the Falcons are making a late game surge straight up the middle with everybody up to HQ. They want this high ground position. They want it now, as on our screen, Fnatic falling to AB Wiz. They lose 2. Now Almond all by himself. He is the last alive for his team, and he is not on high ground.
And he was the last player left as the anchor, which Falcons were trying to hunt. So, moment of panic right there from the side of Fnatic.
Hey, papi, tan Fnatic.
In the picture is
Eliminaron a Aidan.
3-man squad over towards Control Center as AB Wiz and Co start to stabilize and win out this battle versus Na'Vi. But the Falcons are here. They're looking to contest. They know they've got Fnatic nearby. They want to finish them.
That AB Wiz squad could make a play for 4th here if Guild can't get a move on. They do have a sizable amount of eliminations. Everybody's slaying! Fnatic goes down at the hands of Shifty. A full team wipe. Fnatic is out of the picture. The only team that can touch the Falcons is Twisted Minds, but they need an absolute banger. Frankly, Shift, they need one of the biggest games today. 40 plus and counting as the Falcons stay alive. The crowd goes wild because they know what this means. If they can secure the kills, they can secure the win. No one can touch the Falcons.
And on top of that, if you really want to play the macro, Saudi Arabia is going nuts because they can have a 1-2 finish here. There's still a chance where even if Twisted Minds can't quite catch up to the Falcons, they may be able to surpass Fnatic. So it would be a 1-2 Saudi org finish. How incredible that would be to start off everything at EWC.
The Fnatic team took a risk. They spread out. They sent 2 out. They actually pulled what is the Falcons' cannon strategy.
Sí, ya lo vi.
It hasn't been paying off for anybody, and apparently it doesn't pay off in the final map either. They had to go for gold, and unfortunately, they will likely fall silver or bronze, but still a lot of maps to be done and should be in a bit of trouble. This team is now got a tournament to lose at their hands. They just need a mediocre performance.
Yeah, and again, just to reestablish, like you mentioned, it's kind of an island where the top 3 are just very safe. Guild is still alive. They're currently in 4th, and they put together a good map, but they would have to put together an incredible map with a win if they were to want to touch where Twisted Minds were, which, again, they're also keeping that gap pretty tight with the ability for them to pick up 8 kills, at least at this point. So, again, it's just down to what does Twisted Minds put together? Can they eliminate this Falcons team and give themselves a chance to possibly surpass Fnatic?
A lot of money exchanging hands. Resurgence closed, and we're moving into the next zone. Guild need a big one, holding off the advances of AB Wiz and other teams nearby. The Fnatic's an opportunity, and they lost it. An opportunity to take gold, and they just barely missed. And now they are just biding their time, waiting to see what this team right here, this team that could take second, this team that theoretically could take first, but they need a monster map. And they don't have a lot of kills to boot, not as much as they would like. 8 kills total right now, and this is the problem. There's only a total of 21 other people on the map.
They would essentially have to wipe Falcons right now if they wanted to have a chance at possibly surpassing them, and they would have to still rip apart pretty much the rest of the lobby. So it is starting to feel pretty darn confident for Falcons. Not a guarantee yet, but with Fnatic out of the picture, there is an opportunity for maybe some action to possibly still happen around the center of these top 3.
Yeah, this zone pull is an extremely favorable pull for both Guild and Falcons. Yet again,
Falcon tiene una leche para los
circle
putos.
everybody else has to come to them. Heretics are going to make a late game push over there to HQ on the other side. Twisted Minds don't know what to do with themselves. They look a bit lost. They look a bit frenetic. I don't know what they're trying to do right now. They need to get a move on again. They're so safe that they just need to fly at teams right now. They're not at risk of giving up their position.
Toma, odio Shifty.
70, and while Syndicate's coming out of nowhere, finally waking up in 9th place going into this, wiping everybody on the map. Twisted Minds finally answering back as the only team that wasn't struck by that PA.
Yeah, that was legitimately just Intex saying, we'll see what happens, but that was fishing with dynamite right there. Takes down a number of members, but none of the kills
Mataron
were
Shifty,
confirmed.
nice.
Everyone gets back up, so hot action right inside the central building and headquarters, but doesn't turn into too much, but you can see Twisted Minds fully healthy, looking to make their move.
An absolute cluster here at HQ. This is where we ended all. The Falcons have taken the roost. They've taken Fnatic's position, and we will end there to add insult to injury.
Beautiful.
But Aiden will not stop. Aiden will not fall. Knight with the backup gets the trade and keeps Aiden alive. A huge play by Twisted Minds to stay in this game. There was a moment there they might have fallen and given away the win, but there is still a chance for Twisted Minds.
The Falcons are making the macro play for the tournament right now. They do not want to drop. They know that if they just put themselves into a top 3, top 5 position, they likely win the $1 million lion's share. So it's just about playing safe from here on out for the Falcons.
8 kills for the Falcons, looking for the multiplier. Slowly but surely waiting for the teams to come to them. You're right, it's a macro play. There's no reason to push the equation. There's no reason to give your life away. You've got to make sure that you secure this win. Slow play, and unfortunately on the other side, Zsmith can't get the better of Guild. Guild making a huge surge. It's not going to be enough to really move them up the leaderboard too dramatically, but they could thwart Twisted Minds from making a play for second. Yeah, Fnatic would love that.
Aiden's in a lot of trouble right now. He doesn't have any ground to work with, doesn't have a tremendous amount of cash, so he's just got to try to play his life out, and, well, he will put himself in an opportunity to kind of re-kit up just a touch, but again, now the focus is all about what the Falcons could do. PDS going to get placed. Hisoka just still trying to watch from above as the rest of the group gets together as number 12 is out of the mix. That's Heretics down and dusted. Final 6 teams.
PDS is all over the place, just trying to stay alive. Everybody wants the multi. Aiden able to buy back his teammates. Twisted Mind still in this. They do have 13, but the Falcons have 11. By the way, Fnatic fallen with 10, which means the Falcons, their only competition right now is Twisted Minds. They have dramatically taken down Fnatic. Wow. There is no one that can touch them, and they are playing the macro. PDS is on buy station. This is how they started this event, and this is how they're going to end it. Twisted Mind falls. The Falcons, last team alive in the top 3. The Falcons going to take it all in style. Let's see what they're able to do. Hisoka by himself. How about a couple C4s, AB Wiz? How about a gun to the face, AB Wiz? Can't quite fall, but unfortunately, Hisoka with 3 is going to make a play. Back to the buy station we go. Has enough cash if he can find a PDS, which he does have. Can get a buyback here. Could still make a play to win it all. There are 2 players remaining. It is Oki versus Hisoka.
And Hisoka may just see this one live out in the gas. There's the rest of the team. It's going to be down to just one. AB Wiz is down to Oki. All 3 Falcons flying in for the final moment.
The final moment all together like we started. Shifty, Biffle, Hisoka, they win the final map, they win the whole tournament, there is no debate, there is no dissension. The Falcons are now the greatest Warzone trio the world has ever seen. Your Falcons are the first esports World Cup champions, $200,000 to their name. The celebration from the crowd. The Falcons unstoppable.
How appropriate. I mean, and I'll tell you, the Falcon supporters came out in flocks. Could we use that word? Is that appropriate? Because, wow, look at the concentration, knowing that this Falcons team was set up for today to do what they were bred to do. Come through and dominate. 5 wins in their last group matches, 4 in a row. They bested, you would think, in a lot of ways here today, even if the average placements may not say so. How about clutching up when it matters most, knowing that Fnatic are on their heels, knowing that Twisted Minds are looking to get involved, and Hisoka will give you everything you need to know. A simple silence of all of that action. Best team in Warzone, no question.
Home field advantage, maybe. At the end of the day, you just got to perform on land. And Shifty, you could probably read his words. He said choke, and I think, frankly, maybe. But Fnatic made a great run. Got to tip our hat to him. We'll see how the leaderboard shakes out, but there's just no question in my mind that this Falcons trio is the best Warzone trio of all time.
And you know, the thing about it is not just are we going to be able to walk away with the confidence that this Falcons team is the best, but there's going to be a lot of conversations following after this event too. What about Latin America? What about teams like Na'Vi from Australia? All of them made really good moves here to make it to finals and then do well. But Falcons, of course, the #1 team in the world.
We're going to head over to the STC Arena for a quick interview with our Falcons.
Hisoka está roncando y lo cargaron. Shifty lo cargó.
And the results are in. Give it up for your Esports World Cup Call of Duty Warzone champions, Team Falcons!
Gentlemen, Team Falcons, come over here, come over here, come on. Bring your key with you. Hand your key to the key master, please, where he will remove the inner portion of the key and give it back to you.
And now with the key given, please come on up to the trophy and place your key in its spot.
Come over here, boys, come over here. Come over here. Okay. For the final time, cement your names into the Esports World Cup history books and lift your trophy as Call of Duty Warzone champions. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Team Falcons! Come and stand between me and Milosh. Congratulations. Biffle, I'm going to come to you first, buddy. Try to put into words how you're feeling right now.
I can't. To be honest, I can't put into words. Having a crowd like this is amazing. I love all of you guys. Thank you guys for supporting us. Oh my God. I don't even know what else to say.
All right. We got to say this. I mean, we've been talking a lot throughout the tournament, obviously with all the wins, but you get to select 3 teams and their keys to get crushed and added to your trophy. Have you made your selection yet, Zoka?
I know one guaranteed. It's Fnatic, choke artist.
Oh, it's Fnatic going in the trophy, baby!
Shifty, finally, you know, you guys are here. You've got the center stage. You've won the Esports World Cup. What an incredible performance. Is there anything that you would like to say to your fans, to family who have supported you throughout this entire journey?
You guys are everything. Literally, we feel the fucking crowd, every kill. You guys kept us in it. After they had a banger game, it was you guys that kept us composed, and we did this shit for you guys.
Esa gente ganó porque Shifty los cargó.
I would like to ask you guys to come on up to our camera and sign it for us. I got a little pen for you.
You're gonna sign this camera here.
Come on in. All yours. Come on up.
Sign the lens.
Sign it up. All yours.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have our first Esports World Cup champions. One more time, make some noise for Team Falcons! And with that, we're going to hand it back over to the studio to round out today's broadcast. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, they get the job done. I said it right, transitioning from Game 7 to Game 8. Once we came back on this stage, we would know who our champions were, and it is, in fact, Falcons, a historic event. I mean, come on, the best team in Warzone history, without question. They are incredible. They have made history over and over and over again. When will they stop? Honestly, it's up to them to decide. Seymour, Falcons, they're on top.
I mean, I sat with Shifty after a really poor performance back in the solos. I was like, what's going on with the team? How you guys feeling? Is the pressure on? He said, I only have one thing that I want to do. I won for myself. I want to win for the org, win for the community, and win for the crowd of fans that are cheering for me. And he did exactly that today.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have ever wondered what it feels like to be living in history,
Bueno, muchachos, ahí, me voy para la verga ya. Ya saben que Tenu choqueó. Cuando lo vean ahí en stream y mate 40, papi, le dicen, no seas tan fequero, bro, cante jaquero, tramposo. Estás haciendo trampa en tu casa. Después de esto van a traer el trío de vuelta, va a ver. Papi, el MVP tiene que ser Shifty, obligado.
First off, look at this crowd. Look at this scene right behind us. This crowd going nuts. The Falcons, the home team. It was absolutely deafening, even from over here. You can tell how much it means for Saudi Arabia, for the Falcons to represent them, for the Falcons to take the victory, and for those three there picking up the flag, showing off the Falcons.
Bueno, muchachos, los voy dejando ya. Hablamos.
Such a historic moment for all three of these guys. And you know what? Shifty at one point told me, just like he told you, Seymour, on the bus, we're doing this for a team. We're doing it for